The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, sir. Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, beautiful people. It is Feel Good Friday, September 10th, 2021, years after zero. NFL football is back. Let's enjoy the day. Thank you for watching at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. We will have Sirius XM listeners catch up to us here in about an hour or so. I will end up leaving about 1:30 because I got to hop on a plane and fly to New Jersey and then drive to New York City, which I've been told on a Friday could be a little bit problematic for tonight's epic SmackDown that I think we are all about to enjoy the hell out of. Obviously, tomorrow is September 11th. WWE was the first public assembly post 9/11, and it's something that company, WWE, takes a lot of pride in. I believe there was families that were affected in the 9/11 catastrophes that happened. That's the right word to describe it. Yeah.
Tragedy, catastrophe,
But I don't want to undersell it. Like, I don't know if catastrophe, I just want to make sure that so the catastrophes of 9/11, there's some people in the business, I believe, that were affected. So tonight should be rather epic as we give a massive thank you to everybody and a rest in peace to those beautiful folks that lost their lives senselessly about 20 years ago tomorrow. So I can't wait for that, but let's chat the life out of the fact that NFL football is all the way back.
Yeah!
Okay, the Toxic Table at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt are sitting here beautifully. Got a nice little nameplate on your table now. Shout out to Fleetwood Mac.
There it is.
Okay, you obviously remembered his name. Okay, that's very nice of you. At Tone Diggs is here as well. Host of Hammer Down. All the boys are in the back. Hammer Down will still go live today for more bets for this weekend and everything like that. But we have to address the elephant in the room.
That's right.
Elephant, obviously, is the sophisticated way to say that big-ass animal that is, if it's standing there, you got to address it.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
The hell are you doing here?
Yeah, why is that right there? And in this particular case, it's these motherfuckers right here.
That's right.
Okay? You see that? FanDuel.
Bitches.
We were banging a drum loud early this week. Monday it started. 7.5 was the spread. 7.5. That ain't nowhere near enough. Dak Prescott hasn't played football in forever. Mike McCarthy and that defense for the Dallas Cowboys, they couldn't play football last year. How in the hell are they going to go into banner night in Tampa with the Buccaneers fans being a buzzsaw because they're getting a chance to experience Tom Brady for the first time and this team for the Gronk and Antonio Brown and Leonard Fournette and Ndamukong Suh and the bunch of players. How are they gonna go into Tampa Bay on this night of celebration on Tom's, hey, how you doing, everybody? Nice to fucking meet you. We saw each other on boat parades. I don't really forget, if you do recall, I did have to get dragged out via my tequila consumption.
Yeah, that's right.
But those Dallas Cowboys looked unbelievable last night. I hate to break it to me and many others that maybe put a parlay together on who's going to win the divisions. I had the Washington football team hammering the NFC East because I thought Ryan Fitzmagic going to that team that was already built and almost beat the Buccaneers in playoffs last year. Seems like Washington football team, great leadership. Now they're really going to have a new team name here soon. They've recycled the same eight names as breaking news twice now at this point. But I thought that was obviously, with Chase Young coming into another year and that young team, I thought that was obviously the team that was going to win that. I was wrong. What Dak Prescott was able to accomplish last night and the way he played last night, he went for 58 different passing attempts. 58 passing attempts. Mike McCarthy got pass happy. We thought there was maybe something with his arm. That ain't shit. He threw the ball all over the yard. Obviously, their weapons were incredible. And Amari Cooper said, hey, I think I'm the best wide receiver in football. I just got to prove it. He fucking entered the conversation last night. CeeDee Lamb had a couple early drops, then he got hot. Michael Gallup came in. He played well before he got hurt. Zeke wasn't really, I guess Zeke didn't have as big of a night as everybody thought because he was in his best shape. But that Dallas Cowboys defense, a couple big turnovers there, +3 in the turnover margin, so defense had to be doing something right in there. Big punch out early, then the pick, and then obviously whatever. It's just one of those things where I don't think any of us could have expected the Dallas Cowboys. So we were telling everybody, Hey, listen, Rob Gronkowski's going to score 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown's going to have over 100 yards.
Go off.
Tom Brady's going to be unfucking believable.
Yep.
Vita Vea's going to be picking people up off the ground and dumping them in front of Dak Prescott. Dak's going to be uncomfortable. We're saying all these things. We're saying the crowd is going to be electric. There's no way this isn't a double-digit game. So much so that at the beginning of the week, I actually asked for an alternate spread to boost, which was the -9.5, which is what the ended up boost being, because we watched on NBC last night on the kickoff show. Drew Brees, hey, pretty good, Drew.
Yeah. He was pretty good. That hair, however.
Okay, all right, listen. And we all talked about Wayne Rooney's hair for about a month.
Sure.
And then we just moved along and it just became the new norm because you're not going to talk about it. His hair looked fantastic.
His hair did. It looked great.
It looked
It did
great.
look good.
It looked unbelievable.
Okay.
What's your deal?
What is your deal?
What is your deal
Hey,
with Drew? This is about Drew Brees' hair? Like, what are you...
No, I'm just saying. I don't know if we can say it looked fantastic. Someone,
did
like,
look
seen his hair.
Ah,
Looks
okay.
fantastic.
Seen his hair. We agree.
You've only seen Drew with,
Top tier.
with helmet hair before. I went to the internet to find a bad picture of Drew and compare. Wasn't possible. Good hair.
Drew Brees, anyways, great debut. Congratulations last night. Same with Maria Taylor. Okay,
Yes.
Maria Taylor crushed it. Maria Taylor knows her shit, though. So I hope they, I hope that potentially becomes something. Maria, I think there was a lot of like, hey, you're smarter than me. To Sims, who I understand Sims is a full foot. Maria Taylor knows her shit, though. So I just hope that becomes a thing. I actually loved everything about it, except for the song choices of Ed Sheeran, okay? We knew this was going to potentially happen, all right? We knew that he was going to play all his new music, try to introduce. And there was a couple times I did catch myself swinging, not knowing the words. I wanted to kind of sing along with him with all his old shit. So it was just a beautiful night, except for the fact that FanDuel Sportsbook probably made fucking $300, $400 million.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
And that's our fault, okay? That's 100% our fault. For the people that hopefully you only used their free bet this weekend on Tampa last night, I did not. Okay, I used real bets last night. I lost a fair amount of cash last night because all the words that were coming through this microphone right here that were potentially, persuading others to feel the same way. Think about how much I had to be persuaded if I was doing that. That's how good I felt about what was going to happen for the Bucs. The Dallas Cowboys were absolutely surprising. Bucs still get a win, even with a -3 turnover margin, which is, I guess, you have like an 8% chance of winning since the merger. If you're -3, I think the Bucs are going to be just fucking fine. I think everything we had said about them, they are going to be. I think we must take back anything negative we said about how long it might take the Dallas Cowboys to get going on offense. They seem to be ready to go. Zach Martin's going to get on that offensive line. I just thought it was a beautiful night to kick off the game, aside from the fact that fucking FanDuel got all of our money. Go ahead, Diggs.
Here's what I'll say, and I'll put this on my tombstone. You can put it on your tombstone, too.
Okay.
We were on the right side.
Oh, yeah, you will put that on yours. I'm not going to put that on
We
mine.
had no idea that may be one of the worst banner night celebrations of all time.
Oh, my God.
Why were they in the tunnel?
Terrible.
Put all 22
Why did they
starters
play
are
that
back.
song?
Okay, song. I was kind of dancing to the song.
The banner this size.
All 22, and it wasn't a banner. The banner's signed. The guy said, great reading by the guy, by the way, especially once I saw what he looked like. I'm like, okay, a little bit older gentleman here. Is he still going to have the juice? He had the juice. But why did they have all 22 starters, okay? So you're literally celebrating this group right here. Why are they standing in the tunnel? And maybe like BA and Tom and everybody's like, hey, we should go out and watch this. Maybe it was supposed to happen before. I don't know what normal things are like. But my wife immediately said, like, shouldn't they be on the field for this thing? And then if they're just going to be standing, like if they were warming up because the thing was going to take too long and they were worried their bodies were going to slow down, okay. But if they're just going to be standing in a tunnel, couldn't they just stand on the field then? And then it's not as awkward and you have the whole thing. I don't know. You're right, but I assume you watch film on previous banner
You would
celebrations,
think.
right?
Tom's had a few.
Tom's had a few.
Yeah, you could just go ask fucking Tom, like, hey. It seemed like he was a zombie, though. He didn't even know what was going on.
Locked in. He doesn't care.
Hey, that shot, by the way, of him, fourth quarter, 1 minute, whatever left, that look of his staring absolute hate through everybody on the field at that moment, and then turning back around, it was like 22 years into his career. His 300th regular season start. How the fuck do you still have that much competitive intensity? Wow. I have no idea. You heard Saban talk about it the other day, and he put like actual words. I think he said maintaining our intensity for 4 quarters or something like that. And that is something mentally that is very difficult for people to do, okay? I have lost my competitive edge in some things. What I used to be like versus what I am at now, I think just as you grow older, some people potentially, kind of grow out
a bit. Sure.
Like, for instance, my competitive thing right now, if I'm trying to do something and win and I don't, okay, I'm going to be pissed. Back in the day, if I lost, I'm pissed. Like, what are we even doing here? And there was no even thinking like, maybe I'm trying, maybe I'm not trying. Like, hey, I am going for the fucking throat right here. Like, this is not, I'm going to be nice. Okay, hey, oh, you're doing great. But I am trying to win. I'm trying to whitewash everybody. Yeah. Like, that is what I'm trying to do in every single thing that I did. Like, that was how I was. I think it helped me, obviously, get to where I was. I think it helped me get, but at some point, I got to the point where I was like, okay, man, not everything is like that big of a fucking deal. And it's like you kind of like grow out of it, I think. And that's why you hear some ex-players say, like, to be honest, I stopped caring. Like, okay, like, it's hard for me to work myself up still. It's hard for me to still find a way to be like, yeah, man, I still got 400 things to prove. Somehow Tom Brady, 300, now granted, that's a massive night. It's opening night. But year 22 in the fourth quarter, Aaron has this same exact thing. They somehow are able to maintain that competitive juice, that intensity, that I fucking hate this group of people. I'm going to go do this. The yelling, the shit talking. Like, I love to watch it. I just have no idea how he had has that stamina. And it seems like it's not going anywhere forever. There's a lot of those guys up there. Like, everybody talks to Tiger. Peyton was the same exact way, right? Yep. Peyton was the exact same way. Vinatieri was very much this way. I think that is something that we need to start talking about a little bit more. I think Saban put a little emphasis on it there whenever he's talking about maintaining intensity for 4. But that is a trait that is not, I don't think a lot of people have. A lot of people don't give a fuck about anything, let alone like years that you get rich, you get successful, you get this, and you still have that juice that's like, I can't let somebody else beat me. And everybody, BA said it. BA said, our team's winners. Like, we're going to win. Everybody on earth knew what was going to happen. Okay, minute, whatever. Everybody on earth knew exactly what was going to happen, especially after that shot. I just wish, there was a couple other touchdown opportunities earlier.
Yeah, that's right.
A fumble, a turnover, and another one. And it's like, hey, Bradley Pinion, who's going to be joining us in about 25 minutes, and Ryan Suckup are having the game of their fucking lives. Boys, can we just not fuck this up and just keep this thing moving here? Tom Brady's like, hey, I am literally dropping dimes right now. Yeah. He's moving in the pocket, by the way, because he doesn't have that sleeve on and hindering his hamstring. But there's a couple plays out there that we're watching. Bucks could have won that thing 16, 20 points if they wanted to. Now, on the flip side, Cowboys, I guess, had some misses. The kick, Greg leg. Hey, what a fucking unfortunate timing there.
Yeah.
Okay, you hope that you get a 60-yard opportunity in your career. Doesn't happen often. All right? Cowboys seem to be very aggressive with Bones and Fossil and Mike McCarthy, and they'll do that. But with 20-some seconds left, Tom Brady on the other side, I guess Mike McCarthy will be able to tell his team, like, hey, there's no bullets left in the chamber here. Like, we're going to empty it. So if you punt that, a lot of people will say, well, that's what you should have done or whatever. But him getting a 60-yard opportunity on that night with that many people watching, after the offseason where I guess he didn't kick at all.
Had back surgery, yeah.
And these kicks are all happening within like a 4-minute period because there was a turnover. So it's worst miss that I've seen in a long time in the NFL by a very good kicker. Then, wait, by the way, you're back on a minute later. Extra point off the upright. And then turnover. Oh, you're back out there. And that thing went through. And then a couple minutes later, now you got a 60-yarder. It's like, Greg, after that first miss, like, fuck, we got a lot to figure out. Let me go over to the net. And then before he even got there, like, extra point. Okay, what the fuck happened? All right, missed that. We got some stuff to figure out. It's just like, I felt bad for him, but also, it's the NFL. You got to make those kicks, Greg. And Greg knows that. I think Cowboys know that. And I think Cowboys fans would say, well, with that happening and some other things happening, they might have got some more points. I think it was pretty apparent, though, that this Bucs team, whenever they tighten it the fuck up, they are going to be a buzzsaw. Could have been a buzzsaw last night, possibly.
Yeah, and I mean, the Cowboys, too. The Cowboys are damn good at football, and their defense looked much better. And, with Zeke and everything, I don't think many people are going to have success running against that Bucs front seven because, like you said earlier, Vita Vea was an absolute animal.
Late, too,
night.
by the way, right?
Yeah.
So that was late. Fourth quarter, Vita Vea, like back-to-back plays. One got a holding, obviously backed him up to 3rd and 16. Then the next one, he picked the guy up and he held him again, by the way. Probably could have called that again. But that's fourth quarter, and I think like fourth quarter, wear them down is kind of like a thing. And you're hoping that because defensive linemen, the way they are built is different than offensive linemen because you have to have different skills and you have to be more explosive. You have to be able to do these other things. So cardio can get like it can get a little bit late. Late in the game, you're hoping to wear those things down. That's everybody's goal. Is late in the game, you're up. We can run all over the D line because that is what we have just been pounding all. Vita Vea, fourth quarter, first game of the year, he was only heating up.
Yeah, it got better.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's, getting back into the swing of things or groove of things or whatever the case, or maybe he was just biding his time to kind of do his thing, which some D linemen do, by the way. Some D linemen, we talked to Dwight Freeney, we talked to Robert Mathis, talked to anybody else. It's a game of chess in there, so you're waiting and biding your time to do so. Massive play by Vita to pick up that holding call in that big situation late in the game. But you're right, that defense, corners need to. Old buddy, he break his, he dislocated his elbow.
3 to 4 weeks.
That's what Shannon Sharp said.
No, it came out today. It's 3 to 4 weeks.
Shannon Sharp tweeted that he said, I had the same injury, I think, 2011, I think he said. Or 2000, I forget what year he said. 2001. I think there was 2001. He said, I was back in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And then that was the tweet. And I was like, I read it, and I was like, so is this Shannon Sharp saying, like, I'm a fucking beast here? Or is this like the actual expectation? I guess that now, modern science, that's the expectation. I would assume Shannon Sharp came back a lot sooner than anybody expected him to, especially with how that looked.
Yeah, you saw his bone come out of his elbow a little bit. It was bad, but like watching that game, like you said, like we knew that was gonna happen at the end there. When the Cowboys had to settle for a field goal and they didn't go for it and they couldn't score on that and their last possession, you knew the Bucs were gonna go down and win. I don't think Cowboys fans should be mad though. I mean, I don't know what
they're not. They can't celebrate because they lost.
Right. Sure.
But I did see a lot of people tweet me, "Oh, the Dallas cover boys 9.5." I think there was a lot of people that made some money off of them last night.
But I mean, Dak looked unbelievable. And he's been good since he got into the league, but I mean, you didn't know what you were going to get with him, and I don't know if you could say he outplayed Brady, but like statistically, you look at the box score, and there's just no way that it seems like Dallas should have lost, and it seems like that's kind of like a microcosm of Dak's career. Like he balls out, he plays incredible, he has unbelievable stats, and then somehow the Cowboys still lose.
Matthew Stafford in Detroit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, Foxy couldn't wait to get his
No, my mic was muted. Sorry.
Hey, the Detroit Lions, that team this year, might.
Look out.
Watch out.
Hey, watch out.
Watch out.
Super Bowl contender, but week 1, you're in Detroit. That place is going to be rocking with MCDC running out there.
Yeah. Andre Swift.
Yep.
Running the rock.
Yeah.
Hey.
Running people
Jared
over.
Goff.
JG.
Yeah, I think JG and Swift are a little bit different humans.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just from what I've heard, just from what I've read. But I would like to let everybody know that if somebody's life is endangered, and I'm told that, hey, they did exactly what they should have done, could have done, and you would hope to do in a similar situation if you had the same things around you or whatever. But if that story about Andre Swift is real, I have no idea how we haven't heard about this.
MCDC came out like 10 minutes ago and said, that's just internet rumors. I don't feel I need to comment on that right now.
Andre Swift?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's on me. I fucked it up all day yesterday, too, because Andre Swift was trending.
Because of the
Police
apostrophe after
Yeah.
the D, so it separates the...
Philly is how I was introduced to that guy. He was a lightning rod down in Georgia.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Every time he got the ball at Georgia, the entire fan base was like, oh, here we go. They all were excited. I mean, they were barking, obviously, but he was a guy, like a guy.
Yeah.
And then yesterday on the internet, it's like, yeah, he was.
He is.
He
Still is.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy, though, to your point, with like Jared Goff's up there saying, like, listen, I don't want to swear in my press conference. And they're starting running backs like, well, if you try to rob me, I will kill you. So, that's a crazy dynamic in the locker room.
And that's why I've been saying for a long time, and I know others have said this obviously since, and it's become entire campaigns and everything like that for people, but and other people have also said it forever, whatever, you get it. The NFL locker room is the perfect depiction of what like the United States of America could look like. Because you have people, and we have no idea if any of this is true.
Right.
We have no idea. We
Internet
have
rumors.
We have no clue if any of this is true.
It does.
But this has happened before in an NFL locker room. So like the NFL locker room is just the perfect melting pot of all different everything. Everything you could think of, completely opposite, polar opposites, all coming in to one area, fighting for one goal, one cause, fucking with each other, disagreements with each other, moving along, because ultimately there's a much bigger goal here. Rather than us hating each other forever because of this one conversation, we can just say, yeah, well, I don't fucking believe you because this is how I grew up, boom, 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 boom. And the other person says, yeah, well, I don't fucking believe that's right because this is how I, boom, 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 boom. Okay, cool. Good. I'll see you in the meeting. Yeah, all right. Like, that is how life should be. Like, I think that is how the world should be. Like, hey, we are at least 50 different countries here, okay, at least, with the different parts of the world. I grew up in Pittsburgh. My life, not very similar to somebody that grew up in Miami,
right,
or somebody that grew up in Compton, or somebody that grew up in the fucking hills of West Virginia, by the way.
Yeah.
I am in a much different way. But in a locker room, everybody comes together with all their differences, all their disagreements, everything they've been told potentially about why the person you're lining up next to is a bad person or you should believe this. And instead you just kind of put, that ain't what it's about here. Let's go. And by the way, let's go shower together. We'll get in the hot tub together. We'll get in the sauna together. We'll go eat together. We'll party together. We'll work together. Everything like that. That is what I think our country should be like. The locker room's like that. And yesterday on the internet, the first thing I thought of after reading that is, Jared Goff's got a golf course in his backyard in Los Angeles, and he's handing the ball off to DeAndre. And by the way, if DeAndre needed Jared Goff to go do something, Jared Goff will go do it for him immediately. And DeAndre, probably at this point, from what we heard with TJ Hawkinson, will go do the same damn thing for fucking Jared Goff. And that is why what you say there, where Jared Goff going, we don't like the curse, but we don't care. It's like, well, you didn't curse there, and I understand that. But what if Goff would have just dropped it? We don't give a fuck. I think I would have bought a golf jersey.
I would have bet on the Lions this weekend.
Detroit would have loved him so much.
In that, I like the fact that Twitter allowed a troll tweet to get up in the top during the trends of DeAndre Swift. The troll tweet basically read that it was a quote from MCDC, basically stating, I'll tell you what, man, like, we like that people think that our team could potentially have killers on it. Because that really is something that MCDC could potentially say. Now, I'm not giving the Twitter comedian enough credit because I forget his name. I do apologize. But I would like to let that guy know that he sent me, and I think everybody else on a full did, because MCDC could have said went on a full thing.
Find this clip.
So incredible Twitter by that guy. I apologize for not doing that, but what a moment to be a Detroit Lions fan yesterday on the internet.
Well, yeah, it's pretty crazy because if we didn't have him, it'd be Jared Goff throwing it to Hawkinson the whole time, and I don't think there'd be any more yards on that offense because our wide receivers.
This guy gets
not even burying the team.
Hasn't played a game yet.
And everyone can agree with it. What do you want me to say? That these guys that haven't played very much at wideout in the NFL are really good? No, that'd be obnoxious. Kind of like saying the Lions are going to go 10-7 and win a playoff game this year.
What are they going to do this year?
They're going to go 10-7 and win a playoff game.
So you have no problem being obnoxious for some things, but you'll bury your team for others.
Yeah,
That's
you got to find a balance. It's
Okay.
kind of like Shefty's tweet about TJ Watt yesterday.
The hell are you talking about?
I mean, that was unbelievable.
Absolute
All right, let's dive into it. TJ Watt gets a deal done with the Pittsburgh Steelers. There is allegedly a potential hold-in happening between TJ and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin said, I ain't dealing with the numbers. I just managed a player in the situation however he can be. He would show up, do individual drills, will not do a team drill. I assume that was because he didn't want to get injured just days or weeks or months before a potential massive contract. Or was he potentially saying, like, hey, this team could look much different right now. Without me, we should probably get this deal done. We don't know what the motive was, why the hold-in was happening. He was obviously utilizing a little bit of leverage to try to get his deal done, let them know he's not happy. It inevitably does happen. We're getting close to a deadline that people said had happened for a long time. Then that got debunked because I guess the deadline was actually that if negotiations hadn't started before the season started, they wouldn't finish them during the season. So everybody's worried, TJ Watt is going to be upset with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're not going to take care of their own. What more does this guy have to do for the Pittsburgh Steelers to have to pay somebody finally in this ever-evolving world, especially with your division getting much better around you? I mean, is this ever going to take place? A lot of people were burying the Steelers. I think in the end, what we learned via Adam Schefter's 100% true tweet.
Wow.
Schefter's a journalist. that TJ Watt wanted to get this goddamn deal done, and Schefter reported that TJ Watt overruled his agents and believed they could get more money today, who believed they could get more money today. He marched into the office of Steelers president Art Rooney and told him, hey, you got a deal, pal. Then the NFL's new highest paid defensive player excused himself and said, I got to go work out. Now, this is very reminiscent to a story that we were told about A.J. Hawk signing his rookie contract.
That's right.
Got 5th overall. That was back when there was a lot to negotiate because there was no rules on what everybody made. The amount of money was ridiculous, especially for the top 10. Matthew Stafford got paid the day he got drafted to the Detroit Lions enough money that he could have bought Detroit at the time.
That's
the
right.
entire city of Detroit hadn't even played one down. Now, it worked out, but a lot of others did not. I mean, so that whole thing happened. So TJ Watt looks at his agents and says, how much money's enough money? And the agents go, well, we think we can get you another blah, 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 or blah, blah, blah. And allegedly, TJ said, oh, fuck off, and just walked in there and said, this is the deal. This is enough money. That is what every Yinzer wanted to hear in one clean sentence. This guy told his agents, right? Yinzers probably do not like agents if Yinzers are much like me, which I think Yinzers most are. They don't. Like me. We don't like these people representing, like I don't think there's a lot of agent love in the city of Pittsburgh just as a whole. Okay, I'm not 100% sure. Big union city, not sure it's a big agent city. Okay, I'm not 100% sure. So the fact that TJ Watt, the guy who gets introduced last when the defense gets introduced in Pittsburgh, has been for a couple years, told these people who are potentially trying to get in the way of a long-term deal between TJ to go fuck themselves, and then walks in, signs his deal, says thank you, and then says, I'm going to go to work. That is the most perfectly crafted Pittsburgh sentence of all time. Yinzers, I bet you TJ Watt's jersey's going all the way back up there. There's a guy over there somewhere in Allegheny County going, hey, I ain't going to throw that fucking Juju jersey out of here. He signed a 1-year deal. All right, he wanted more money. He was negotiating with the fucking Ravens. All right, I don't know what this TikTok is, but the only thing you need is Tic Tac, because that fucking taste in your mouth whenever you're saying Juju's name is bad. It's a TJ Watt jersey. You're wearing this every goddamn day. That is basically what Schefter's tweet did. So it has made a lot of people think.
Absolute bullshit.
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have someone on good faith.
You have a source, you're saying.
Source.
Oh, okay.
Said TJ walked into that room, said, hey, where are we sitting at? And they're saying, well, 28 million. 80-some million guaranteed. TJ goes, what's the problem?
And then the Steelers said, you tell us.
The agents go,
Oh, okay.
I think we could get more. He goes, more? 28 million a year, 80 million guaranteed. I could buy 3 or 4 steel mills with that, okay?
Okay.
Get out of my way, Suits.
Boom.
Billy Walsh, Entourage. Get out of my way, Suits.
Stupid fucking suit.
Goes into AR2's office. Hey, I want to be on that field on Sunday. I want to be the highest player, paid defensive player in the league, which you are giving me, and I thank you. I don't know how I'm going to pay my mortgage, not asking for more money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to take this. I'm going to lead this team 7 for 7.
And I'm going to go work out.
Yeah.
I don't think that happened at all because the agents aren't in the building COVID protocols.
Yes.
So is this group text happening? How is this happening?
I mean-
I don't fully understand it.
You left out a key detail. You know exactly what TJ did when he walked in there. He looked at Art right in the face, put up his hand, spit right in his hand.
We got a deal.
We got a deal.
That's old school. That's the way I try to do deals.
Yeah.
Somebody actually sent me an 18-page contract.
Yikes.
There was zero chance of me signing that.
I'm not reading that.
What did you like or not like about the contract? I'm going to be honest, I did not read it. As soon as I opened the file and it said 1 of 18, I said, okay, you're trying to fuck me in here somewhere, and that ain't happening. Okay, we'll talk about it. All right, you got it.
Sounds good. Perfect.
So I'm a bit, now granted, I'm not recommending everybody does this. Okay, be who you can afford to be.
That's right.
All right, this is a very real thing, and you have to understand that this could backfire whenever you do these types of things. But I hate the fact that old school disagreements. Hey, this is what I'm going to do. That's what you're going to do. Yep, boom, let's do it. Like they don't exist anymore. Like I hate that because it always gets muddied by previous fuckovers. Okay, so like, hey, can you not look at me and say that we're not going to end up in a situation that end up with somebody who is much different than both of us right now? Can we just not agree that that's not going to happen? Well, we have to protect ourselves. It was like, well, I have to protect myself too. How about that? Do you want to get into this game? All right, let's do it. Well, this happened in blah, blah, blah. Well, I know this happened in blah, blah, blah. So then all of a sudden that 18-page contract now, if I really want to get in this turns into a 50-page contract. Yeah. And do we hate each other by the end of this thing? Or are we just expecting each other to fuck each other over this entire time? And then are we only doing exactly what you're required to do?
Yeah.
Or are we maybe trying to, like, hey, do good business together? And I guess that's how everything in the world just gets fucked up by things that go wrong, I guess.
Yeah, it's politics, essentially, is what it sounded like you were just saying.
Hey, by the way, it's nice to be in a situation. And once again, be who you can afford to be. This is that is said in every NFL locker room. Maybe not everyone, but most NFL locker rooms. But it should also be applied to life. Mm-hmm. You know, that's not fair. It's not fair. It's like, well, you have produced nothing for anybody. So maybe you're going to be treated a little bit differently than other people. Okay, so once you, by the way, we have the utmost faith that you'll be able to blah, blah, blah. But once you do that, guess what? We're going to be at a much different time than we are right now.
Right.
But for the current moment, you do not deserve to be treated exactly how this particular situation does, because you have not proved that you are not this exact situation. That is how the NFL is. One person will miss something, nothing. Another person misses something, okay, you're cut. All right. Well, how's that fair? Well, that guy just went for 2,000 yards last year.
Yeah.
You, guess what? Fucking showed up late to a meeting. Yeah. I don't think you've ever been on. So it's not fair. Life isn't fair. We have to acknowledge that and realize that. But it is nice to be at a point where it's up. Nah? All right. Fucking see you later, dude. It took a long road to get here, though. I mean, I'm only 34. I guess it's not that fucking long.
Take the spit shake somewhere else. But you guys said it earlier in the week. Yinzers weren't going to like T.J. Watt not liking, X amount of dollars, $50 million guaranteed. So
we also said, hey, this is T.J. Watt. He's a Watt. He's going to do the right thing.
Yeah, and he's going to lie, and it's probably going to be bullshit, whatever story they make up about him, just like the fact that he is a Watt.
Pat just said it definitely wasn't a lie.
Definitely was.
That seems like potentially that was a crafted.
Are we trying to write a movie here?
It was a, hey, how can we get the Yinzers back on TJ's side?
I mean, what'd he do? He go in the weight room, solve
just because no one would do it for your organization.
I'm not fucking leaving, and then they all went.
No, they did.
Yeah,
That's probably
exactly
what
happened.
And then saying he announced he was going to go work out is awesome. That's like the. And by the way, I'm going to go earn that fucking
Hell yeah.
I'm going to work out.
Which, by the way,
that was the most believable part of it.
I believe that he signed the deal and went and worked out.
Yeah.
He is a Watt brother. He is incredibly explosive. Like, that is what they are known for. Lunch pail, first one in, last one.
Hard hat.
High motor. I mean, every coach's son, everything about, they are the stereotype of it.
Telling their bosses, we got a deal.
He's the leader of the blue collar boys.
Bullshit. It's not even a question. It's bullshit.
All right. I believe the story happened.
Thank you.
I believe he said, we're done. I believe he said, we're done.
Oh, you think Tom would lie to me?
I don't know
if
he.
My source lied to me?
I don't know if he. Did you do it? What I did to Aaron Rodgers? I do believe that he said, we're good. And they potentially said, no, I can get you more, I can get you more. No, we're good. But the way that tweet read was that he did his celebratory kick to the agents, walked by them, over them maybe, walked in and said, let's fucking go. And then, I'm going to go work out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that. What if?
Yes.
That is how that read.
That sounds like TJ Watt.
And maybe that did happen. Just like that MCDC tweet about, I'll tell you what, man, I like the fact that people think we potentially got killers.
You want to see this guy in the A-gap, man? He's fucking killed somebody before.
So the fact that was potentially true is why it went. Schefter tweeting this, we all go, Watt would do that.
Yeah.
Except for the guy who has MCDC as his head coach up there. He doesn't believe in fairy tales. He doesn't believe in hard work. He doesn't believe in a guy wanting to be a part of something bigger than himself, no matter how much money he can get. Correct. That's Evan Fox in Boston College.
Yeah, what if it comes out that the entire Steelers team was in the weight room and Art Rooney was like, hey, why don't you get your fucking ass back with your team?
Art went to that.
Art went to, not AR2, dude.
No.
All right, we're back in 4 minutes with Bradley Pinion. Ooh. And I assume Monday he's probably going to be around Ryan Suckup. I just assume, I'm not 100% sure. So, who's this? It's off. So I assume we're going to have a great conversation with the specialist who absolutely dominated last night. Bradley Pinion. I mean, he made me jump up and down and yell at my house. 65-yard ball out at the 2, first punt of the NFL season. We're back, baby. Perfect. All right, we're back in 4 minutes with those guys. Hope you have a great Friday. Hope you're feeling good. We're giving away $50,000 if you got your at PMS Superb Al predictions in. There was a lot of them. That was trending for a long time. I can't thank you all enough for watching. We'll see you in 4 minutes. Cheers. Smarter than you, I'm better than you. No. I'm a better person than you are.
No. I fed the birds this morning, so I'm a better person than you are.
Yeah, but you don't care about the ozone as much as I do. So do you even like to breathe? That means you don't even like the birds. You don't want the birds to be able to breathe or fly because you want the ozone to be ruined because you're a fucking asshole.
Is that right? Then how come I rollerblade to the supermarket every Saturday and Sunday?
Oh, did that make you feel good? Rollerblading, flattening the earth a little bit closer to the center so it can get hotter so then the heat comes from the ozone because you're pressing down the earth with your little rollerblades?
Well, yeah, but
I'm a better person than you are.
No, because on Wednesdays I'm planting trees and I'm trying to bring the earth back to what it was.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you're cutting up other trees' roots, though. What a fucking asshole. You Why can't you just let earth be the way it's be? You got to take your shovel and dig into it? Wow. I'm a better person than you are.
I know. I make my own manure. I make my own soil. I'm not chopping up any other roots.
So you don't like cows. You don't like cows pooping.
I hate farmers.
Unbelievable. You hate farmers. Oh, you don't like a head of cows. You don't like burgers?
Then how come I'm in the Farmers Association of America and I'm going to help?
Oh, you're a lifetime member of the FFA. Hey,
that's right.
That's what I make. I'm a better person than you are.
No, you're not. I'm a better person than you are.
That's politics, baby. That's what we just did right there. Let's get to the phones. Once again, I think we batted 1,000.
Boom.
In politics with what we just did right there.
How about that?
I do believe after that argument, though, people would say I was a better person than fucking you are, dude.
No, because everyone I just read on Twitter was like, oh my God, this guy rollerblades. I need to start doing that too.
No, that's because you mute all the other people that are actually on my side. They're telling you you're not the right person.
No, I refuse to mute anybody because I love everybody.
Oh, you're like freedom of speech. How come then you're not going to listen to everybody?
Wow. I do love freedom of speech. That's why I'm not muting anybody.
I'm better than you are.
I'm better than you are.
Everybody's saying it.
No.
Yeah, everybody's saying I'm a better person than you are.
I heard it.
We just did, by the way, still batting 1,000 on politics. I feel so good about it. We even got into the reaction to the punditry.
Yes.
We're batting a fucking 1,000 out there.
Every side.
The people say we're not well-rounded. We don't have depth. Did you hear what we just fucking did? Come on. Wow. Let's go to the phones, man. He walks all the way up.
Holy
Sleep! This is not the one that I saw.
Oh, good.
Oh, my God. Can we go back to the beginning, please? Listen, go back to the beginning. This guy, pause. That guy was sitting one section over in this blue polo shirt-wearing son of a bitch who's here with his friend, by the way. Right here. They're just having a good old day at the ballpark. Old buddy in the glasses back here. Oh, this has been fun. Look at this guy up here with the wife is maybe, the wife and the guy up there. They're kind of intrigued to see what's going on. Padres guy said, hey, listen, I've been locked in my fucking house for 13 months. I'm going to come to a ball game, and you're going to say dumb shit? I don't think so, pal. He walks over, 45 yards, casually, eyes ready to go, not fists ready to go, though. Just outside, no, calm. What you got a fucking problem, pal? People smiling down here. They know something's about to happen. We got a camera out. We would like to see the alternate angle from this particular person. But what a moment here. We beat COVID. We are back. Old buddy here needs to watch out for right hooks. Bow! Buckled. What, bitch? He said. What? And then he gets tackled by everybody else, backpedals. Everybody watches this happen. What a Jeez. What? He says. What, dude? What? What? Damn. Oh, my. What was said by who? Hey, as we get back into society, let's remember, people will punch you in the fucking mouth.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
Welcome back to that show. Can't thank you enough for joining us on this beautiful day. This song is by the Wave Junkies called Stooge McDuck.
Oh,
Okay.
Is that a shot?
I think so. I don't know if it's about me. I think so. Sounds like it.
I thought it was possibly about Duck.
Hodges?
Register to vote.
Raise your vote.
He texted me last night after our next guest first punt.
Really?
Said he was all excited. Joining us now. Oh, it's ringing. That was a good tie. Joining us right now. A man who put on for the brand of kickers, punters, and long snappers last night so fucking hard, dude.
Hell yeah.
First punt of the season. And all anybody used to talk about, by the way, with punters and kickers is when they messed up. All right?
Yeah.
It was never even talked about. The greatness was never discussed. It was normally hey, go take a leak. There's a kick happening. You know, that was kind of how it was chatted about for a long time. And as the football community has grown to appreciate and respect the full game of football, I think the punting game, the kicking game, and long snappers is kind of slowly behind. I think it's going to come at some point. They just got to vote for the Pro Bowl, but nobody really knows who the fucking best long snapper in the game. I mean, that is a very difficult thing to figure out. I'm going to be honest. I don't even know who the best long snapper is in the NFL unless I was to watch every fucking snap, and nobody's doing that. But with that being said, last night, a guy who absolutely slaughtered footballs with pinpoint precision could have landed a punt in a keyhole last night. Super Bowl champion punter of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Bradley Pinch.
What's up? How's everybody doing?
Hey, did you know going into the season, like, hey, you were on? You felt good all training camp? Like, you knew that first ball for me was always a nightmare. That first punt of the year was always a nightmare for me because I never really knew, like, okay, hopefully everything from the preseason is going to transition. Even into, like, year 7, year 8 for me, I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's hope this is still going. That ball, as soon as you dropped it and made contact, that had to feel so good. Is this the best you've felt hitting balls, Bradley?
Absolutely. I put a lot of work in this offseason to just kind of go after it, and I want all Pro Bowl this year. That's what I'm going for. So I put a bunch of work in with Dan Orner, my kicking coach, in the offseason, and we got a great special teams unit around me, great long snapper, and Zach. He might be the best in the league. There's your answer for you.
Okay. Thank you for that, so I don't have to watch all the film. Very nice.
Yeah, and it's just I knew when I hit it, it was going to be good, but I didn't know it was going to be that good.
Yeah, you kind of got to hope too, right? I mean, you're talking about in the game, you guys all know from Coffin cornering there, you got to hope that it's in real life that the thing turns over maybe a little bit. It was beautiful. I like the fact that you said you want to go all Pro Bowl because I think that decision is one that you have to actively make, actively pursue, and you're going to be in a lot of primetime games this year. And you started off, I don't think you could have had a better, I mean, that ball could have been at the 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I know. I have a strength and conditioning coach that always gives me a hard time. He was like, only the 2, bro? Like, come on. And I'm like, yeah, I could have done a little better.
You hit some kickoffs out of the back of the end zone. I mean, you are bombing the ball right now. What are you, size and weight?
6'6", 250.
God damn.
Think about Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah.
Okay, think about Dan Orlovsky just the other day during the game saying, can't get tackled by the punter or the kicker. Think about some slapdick on the internet saying, these non-athletes come out here, 6'6", 250, okay? You are an absolute monster, Bradley. Going into the game winner there, Sakapet been hitting the ball very clean, by the way.
This guy?
Hey! What up, dude? Congrats.
What's up, man? I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Pat, I got to tell you, I appreciate you having me on, but I really shouldn't be on here, man, because I gotta get this off my chest before we start, man. No. You made my life pretty. The AFC South connection, right? We played you guys home and away every year, all those years in Indy and Tennessee. You made my life pretty miserable for all those years, man, because every time you played us, it was like fake punt, onside kick, down and balls inside the 5, kind of hitting the ball like Penn did last night.
Yeah, best games I've ever had. Yeah,
you know how those coaches get. They get a little uptight every time we go play number 1 up in Indy. So I really should be on your show because you made my life miserable for 2 weeks a year every year. So I want to get that off my chest.
Well, I appreciate that. That's very nice of you. And also, he was very nice enough, him and Brett Kern, to sign jerseys for me and Vinatieri.
Oh.
And it wasn't immediately after the game because the exchange is like, it's worth money. It's a fucking nightmare. So it was a late send or whatever. And I will say, Adam Vinatieri and I completely forgot to say that. We are bad people. We are big fans of yours, Ryan. Always have been. You're Mr. Irrelevant, same class as me. You go to Kansas City. Your career is just absolutely beautiful. You always have that draw on the ball. It felt like last night you were hitting that thing cleaner than ever. Same mindset as Bradley? Are you guys coming into this thing this season like, hey, we're hitting the ball really well. We're on a great team. Let's enjoy this thing, Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, you know how important snapper and holder, all that stuff is, man. Those guys make my job so easy. So, man, when I'm working with those guys, it's pretty easy to go out there and just trust them and put a good swing on the ball. So I'm really grateful to have those guys in my corner, man.
What was the game winner, 36 last night?
Yeah, I think so, 36.
Where were you good from, you think, if you had to? Nothing last night really stretched you, but how are you feeling? Because you're old, man. You're an old-ass dude now. You're old now, bro.
I'm telling you, man. It's been kind of fun. That's one of the things I've enjoyed is trying to figure out new ways to keep improving and keep improving with your body. And, there's a guy that plays quarterback here that's done a pretty good job of that. So I try to just kind of watch what he does and you can learn little things along the way. So that's kind of a blessing to be in the same locker room with that guy.
Hey, Bradley, you and Suckup eating avocado ice cream down there, boys?
It's more like the avocado tequila,
Congratulations, boys. Hell of a start. Thank you for the time, and enjoy the hell out of your day, all right?
Appreciate you having us on.
Thanks for having us on, Pat. All the best, man.
Hey, Suckup, it's very difficult to find a jersey of mine these days, but I'm going to find one, and I'm going to send a couple down there. I appreciate you guys so much. Hell of a show last night. Thank you, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, kicker and punter.
What you doing, buddy?
Hey, you got it. Kicker and punter for the Super Bowl champ, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Game winners last night, bombing balls all over the place. Can't wait to watch them for 16 more games, by the way. Bradley Pinion and Ryan Suckup. Good dudes.
Great dudes.
Oh, yeah.
Good dudes.
That accent was
6'6",
Yeah.
250.
That's absurd.
He's fucking huge.
Cam Newton.
I did not know he was 6'6", 250. Bradley and I have never really, I don't think I've ever.
Cross paths?
Yeah, like he's been somewhere and they're like, he was here last week, and I always do like, hey, tell him I said I'm a fan, because he kicks off too.
Mm-hmm.
So he kicks off and he punts. So I am a big fan of any punter that does that, because that means like, okay, so this motion's good and this motion's good. I'm not saying everybody else can't do it. I'm just saying like that. Mm-hmm. In my eyes, that's like, okay, probably a good soccer player if I had to guess back in the day a little bit. 6'6", 250. He dwarfs me as a human.
Yeah.
He dwarfs a lot of humans as humans. He dwarfs Nick as a human. And Nick is our biggest guy, just like Zito dwarfs Nick every single.
Wow.
Nick, why are you getting alphaed? Why are you just absolutely getting dominated by a man who's a foot and a half shorter than you on a daily basis?
Yesterday, Connor was nice enough to give me a chair, and he said, "Here you go, buddy. Look, nice, comfortable seat for you. You're going to be sitting here a couple hours. It's going to be a strain on your back." I said, "Oh, thank you, Connor. That's very nice of you." I sat down. Guy set me up like Siciliano.
Yeah.
Hey, can't be doing that.
Hey, we are not the NFL Network. We do not set our people up for failure. But Nick has looked like a tiny little weeble wobble over there. I mean, he's looked like an Oompa Loompa down there next to Zito. I mean, it's just a small little corner over there.
I gave Nick that was perfect size chair, just like this one. It's not my fault that he's doing this and he's dropping down.
No. We're not doing it.
He did it to himself.
That's 11:49 on Friday.
I know. That's what I mean. Feel good Friday. Raise your chair.
Seat up.
Oh, now?
Please, we cannot get into Siciliano. Has got a big weekend.
He does.
Huge weekend.
He's going to be behind the desk finally on Sunday for Red Zone.
Standing at a podium.
And he's all by himself, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't have to sit down like that other guy.
You need to.
He might be stand up too. I'm not sure.
He stands up too.
Hey, Diggs has started a war with football Twitter.
Man.
Yeah.
Tony.
Actually, I was doing the right thing, Pat.
Okay, so last night with the NFL season coming back, especially with the emergence of incredible information and intelligence from all aspects of life now with the NFL, we're getting a chance to see things, from people and learn more about the game than we ever have in the past. That is real, by the way. There is more people talking about the NFL, us included, everywhere. There's different angles of conversations about the NFL now, numbers, analytics, this breakdown, that breakdown. This X player is allowing us into their brains to see what they were thinking or they would be thinking. I mean, it is a beautiful time to be a football fan because we can learn and see and do more and more. Diggs hates it.
Tony.
Diggs hates it. By the end of the year, Diggs is going to have at least 14 to 15 little battles, I think, in this whole thing. But last night, Diggs, I think, was accurate. I don't know the play call. I don't know what defense they were in. I don't know what Michael was supposed to do. But Diggs took offense to a lot of people taking shots at old Micah Parsons last night.
A rookie playing his first game in the NFL on Thursday night against the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. There was a play that they highlighted last night where he comes up and plays the play action, as you have to do every single time as the linebacker, and then he opens his hip, looks at the number 2 wide receiver.
Number 2 receiver means?
So farthest to the sideline will be the number 1. Next guy in, number 2. As the linebacker, normally in that responsibility, you look to number 2. If he's not doing anything, you then fucking open your hips, get your head around, look for a crosser coming around, which Micah Parsons did. He hesitated a little bit, and the crosser was not coming very shallow. It was kind of more vertical, which was harder too. And there was a guy who invented football a few years ago who put out a tweet that Micah Parsons needed a map and looked lost. And then another organization who is by far the best at grading kickers and punters.
And snappers.
And snappers, but that it may stop at that, though. Put out that Micah Parsons needed a map. And it's just like if you have that many hundreds of thousands of followers and this poor kid who just is playing his first game in the NFL, and you're making him...
Poor kid. He's very wealthy.
Well,
he has great confidence, by the way.
Not money-wise, I'm saying. But, like, you're making all these people on the internet think that Micah Parsons is doing this terrible job, and, like, people believe you because of who you are.
Because of what you've proven to know in the past. So you've built your platform up off of things that you have proven to be... By the way, he's come on our show. I follow him. I still get some nuggets from Warren Sharp and Pro Football Focus is who they're talking about. But what you're saying is they're potentially misleading people into believing that this kid had a terrible...
It bothered me.
Yeah. The narrative. You think the narrative shouldn't be painted on this. This is an unfair narrative.
Like, if you are going to put someone in a spot like there and say that they're lost and they have no fucking clue what they're doing, you better be 100% correct.
Well, and also, for future reference, we will say a lot of very stupid things.
Correct.
Sure. As we go forward. But nobody looks at us as the authority.
Correct.
You know, nobody looks at us as the authority on things. Whenever the smart people say things, it's like, I even go like, okay, they got to have a point here. I assume when Orlovsky says something, I'm like, okay, Orlovsky has watched every single piece of film here. Yeah. Warren Sharp, I believe, has watched literally every single piece of film. He has broken down blah, blah. I believe it from the things he says.
Did you see how he said he watched the game last night, or how you have to watch the game? 2 TVs right next to each other, one of them 15 seconds behind, and then one of them real time. So the one that's 15 seconds behind, if you have to go back and clip something, boom, it's right there. You don't need to be finding stuff.
Brilliant, by the way. That's color commentator TV booth.
Yeah.
That is, because you'll hear, like, Herb Street is great at it. Herb Street has this ability before the TV gets to replay, as the play immediately ends, he's watching the play back once again, and somehow has the ability to watch the game, then quickly what the TV people are seeing, then also the 7-second, I believe is what Warren Sharp said, delay, and then also being able to, because then he sounds, I don't say he sounds smart, but look at the right guard, because it all happens so quick. It's like, how does he know exactly, while watching all 22 players, that this right guard potentially chopped or maybe went past the nose, reached the linebacker and held? Like, how does he know that so quick? It's because of that delay. I think that's a good piece of information, by the way.
Yeah, if only there was an app and you didn't have to, record a TV like it's a video camera in 1990.
Oh, so the entire office is turned? That's what it sounds like. Because Ty, you just took a shot.
No.
Gump from the back row there. And he hasn't said anything all day at Bubba Gump. He's like, oh, what are we talking about? I'll go ahead and get involved there. And then obviously Diggs. I didn't know the entire... I don't think just because of one maybe misleading post about Micah Parsons, we should turn completely on old Warren Sharp.
I agree. He's just on notice.
The general.
Yeah, I ain't turning yet, but I will say the $29 book that he's pawning off that Tony got in the mail, that was the first straw for me. I'll let him say what he wants about the game, but shit, you can't be selling that bullshit.
What? Why are you what are you talking about? This book is like 7,000 pages.
Yeah, and I believe there's about 6,999 pages of bullshit in there.
So you said that's the first drop. It sounds like you have all
first off the bucket. Hey, bucket's not full.
Sounds like the final straw.
Bucket ain't full.
Warren Sharp does not deserve this. I am a pro Warren Sharp guy, but after watching what you said and watching the playback again, and also, sending it to some people that potentially are in the know. I believe you are right in getting angry for a Dallas Cowboy, by the way.
Which I have no loyalty or don't care about that team at all.
Although you are the COVID Cowboy.
True.
You do hate the Dallas Cowboys.
Sure.
You were being called the cover boys last night, only losing by 2 somehow. Unbelievable. We're back for hour 2 on the other side. AJ Hawk and Coach Jay Brown.
Yes!
Yeah, it should be fun. We'll see you then. All the hard work throughout my entire life, whether it was driving me to practice, to go to work, the coaches that invested hours in me, everything I have done to get to this point. I got a whole town, a community, a family, a tribe of people watching me potentially live out my dreams that we all thought was going to happen. And when I get to Rock, I get a chance to carry 8 motherfuckers that are playing for a team that is in the city that I went to college in. I carry 8 people, have the biggest moment in my football career, maybe make a team, if not with the coach somewhere else. Hey, that guy's got juice, let's do it. Change the entire direction in the course of my family's life. I can't be excited though.
No.
Don't even think
Don't
about it.
you fucking dare.
Are you kidding me? All that just happened and everything I just said there and more is potentially happening in that one play? Don't even fucking think it. Get your fucking ass back in the huddle. You know Barry Sanders? Hey, Barry Sanders, he'd score a touchdown and he would just hand it to the ref and then he was gone. Why don't I? Well, Barry Sanders also won the Heisman, right?
Yeah.
It was also like the all-time leading scorer in this whole thing. Barry Sanders was unbelievable, worked his ass off. Let's not get crazy. And Barry Sanders had the ability to act like he had been there before because Barry Sanders, by the way, had fucking been there before. And maybe Barry Sanders, the way he goes about business isn't how everybody goes about business. Maybe there's a lot of different stories, a lot of different situations, a lot of different life events that lead to somebody acting differently than somebody that just acted, almost robotic while being one of the most exciting and electric players in the history. Got nothing but love for Barry Sanders. Let's not get crazy. But there's a lot of people tweeting, act like you've been there before. It's like, you think this motherfucker's been there before? This dude just carried 8 people and maybe changed the entire life. He can't be excited. Aren't we a game of emotion? Aren't we a game of excitement? Why is this a fucking penalty? Hey, Goodell! Hey, eating your M&Ms, sitting on the chair, being cool. You became my commissioner. You weren't my commissioner when, hey, you dance, you're fucking out. Your socks slide, you're fucking out. We don't want anything. We want robots, no emotion. Everybody hated you then, Raj. All right, everybody hated you. And nobody understood why you're trying to take the fun out of the game. You're doing it because you wanted to be able to just pluck and play. You didn't want to have players be brand names because then you could replace them easily. Okay, I understand the business side of it, but we all agreed, the tribe has spoken, that the game's better when people are excited. Some things are too much. All right, some things are way too much. There were some dances that happened that looked a little bit more like basketball, where we're all like, there's no way that can happen with a full line dance. We get it, there was some. But it added to the game. The excitement added to everything. Now taking away this and making it a point of emphasis. And I'm not saying that there should be egregious, if something egregious happens, they should penalize them. Yes, please. It's not for the good of our game, not for the good of the league, not good for fans, not good for anybody. I understand that's going to happen, but a point of emphasis means, hey, we're cracking down on this because we don't want it to happen anymore. And why are we targeting that as opposed to targeting something else I'll never understand? My commissioner, Roger Goodell, is going to get to the bottom of this if Sam Acho doesn't do it first.
Yeah. That opening kickoff in that Super Bowl you're referring to with the Colts, Hester takes to the crib. You having a little bit of a heart attack there?
Very bad decision, Pat, on my part. All week up in Indy, we're practicing, and we know he's their number one threat. They don't have a lot of offensive weaponry. They win with defense and special team. So for the whole week, we're in Indy. We're not going to let him touch the ball. We practice squibbing to the corners, bouncing the ball, high kick, pop-up kickoff, punt it out of bounds, everything to not let him touch the ball. We have a chapel service, and the chaplain talks about David and Goliath, and he says, hey, the reason David beat Goliath, he wasn't afraid. Everybody else was afraid. David ran right at him, threw it right between the eyes, and it was over. And I started thinking, we're acting like we're afraid of Devin Hester. So I told the team on Saturday night, I hope we lose the toss. We're going to kick off. We're going to kick it right down the middle. When we pound him, they'll know we mean business. David and Goliath, it's going to be over. We kicked it to him. 12 seconds later, he's in the other end zone. Sideline, he's looking at me saying, "What idiot decided to kick the ball to Devin Hester?" But fortunately, the last 59 minutes, the team made up for it.
Wait until they see the tone we set on the opening kickoff.
Yeah, that was it.
I bet you Vinatieri was sitting there.
I don't know if that's such a good idea.
How are ya? I'm Roman, a men's health brand that can dance very well and make you the best you possible. Are you suffering from male pattern baldness? Dahn, we got something for that. Herpes. See ya. Premature ejaculation gone. No more coming too quick. Allergies as well. And that's not all. We have clinically tested supplements for everything, including erectile dysfunction. Come on. Bye-bye. GetRoman.com/Pat. Be the best you possible.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about. Yes,
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Feel Good Friday, September 10th, 2021. Let's go. Yeah! Shout out to you listening on Sirius XM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio and at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, almost, he is fucking around with his internet. Joining us here in about a couple moments will be a Super Bowl champion and a college football national champion, AJ Hawk. Sirius, we've been live for an hour on YouTube. We will definitely talk about what happened last night, which was a magical game to kick off the NFL regular season in the 2021 year. Ed Sheeran came out and played songs that none of us knew, but were kind of bangers. Some of the 10s were maybe a little bit different than we had imagined or wished for and hoped for. But then the rain stopped. It became a beautiful night. Banner ceremony, sign display thing, kind of underwhelming. I mean, I guess that whole thing. But Tom Brady put on an absolute show. Dak Prescott put on a show. There was a lot of unexpected things that happened, mostly because we thought that was going to be a double-digit game. The fact that it was only a 2-point game. I mean, the Buccaneers are -3 in the turnover margin. You only have like an 8% chance of winning when you're -3 in the turnover margin since the merger. So a lot of mistakes were made, but that's because the Dallas Cowboys played a lot better, I think, than any of us could have expected. Congrats to the Buccaneers. We got a chance to chat with Bradley Pinion, the punter that was dominant last night for the Buccaneers, and Ryan Suckup in the first hour, who kicked the game winners last night. They seem to be in a great headspace.
Oh, yeah.
And Connor said this during the break, and it's a real thing. Tom Brady gets to your team, all of a sudden the accountability's high. Bradley Pinion said he went to work this offseason, and he said, I want to be all-pro, I want to be Pro Bowl. Fuck it. I'm 6'6", 250, I can hammer balls. I want to get my consistency to a level where I can be considered the greatest in the game. He started out in a great way to say that. I can't wait to watch him. And then Suckup's hitting the ball better, I think, than I've ever seen him hit. He was at the Chiefs for a while. He was at the Titans in the AFC South. He got drafted the same year as me. He was Mr. Irrelevant. He got a parade. He was like 10 picks after me or whatever. He got a parade. I got sent to Indianapolis, obviously. It was beautiful. It was a great time. But I'm so happy for both of them. What a game to start this whole thing. Join us now, ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk. AJ, haven't gotten a chance to hear your thoughts on the game last night, man. What a start to the NFL season. We lost money, okay? A lot of people are tweeting me, obviously telling me I'm a bum, and my Super Boost, which was the same exact thing as the spread at the end, by the way, so actually pretty good bet. It was actually pretty good Super Boost, even though it didn't hit. I feel bad for that. FanDuel obviously is elated with how that thing turned out, but as a big Mike McCarthy guy, you got to be pumped with how that team looked. They looked great last night, AJ Hawk.
Yeah, there's no moral victories. I think we talked about on the show yesterday. If they make it a game, if it's close, and give Dallas hope, then that's kind of it's not a win, but at least hey, like we're not people aren't completely down on them. Yeah, I think it was a fun game. I mean, the Cowboys could have won that thing. They really could have. I think they played well enough. Dak played much better than I thought, coming off of everything that he's dealing with. So it was an awesome game. Some cool schematic things, like offensively, how they took advantage of different things Tampa Bay did. But I think Diggs also standing up for Micah Parsons. Appreciate you, Diggs. I think that was a nice little thing he did for him.
Was I correct?
Yeah, he's in a tough spot, man. Like early on in the red zone too, they flash play action in front of him. He could be in that little window there. I think the touchdown to Godwin early when they threw, it was one of his first plays he'd been in too, Parsons. Like, and they're flashing run fake in front of you, and it's your rookie year, your first game ever in the NFL. Like, it's tough not to react to that.
Okay, how long do you think that takes for you to get a good grasp on when the run is potentially or when it is play action, especially with Tom? Tom has always been very successful with the play action. He actually talked about having a meeting with Peyton Manning down in Tennessee where they added this play action where the guard would even pull during the play but stay behind the line of scrimmage. Play action would happen. And then he said his exact words were, Gronk has scored like 80 touchdowns on this thing. His play action has always been a problem. For Micah, how long does that take to get a kind of a feel? Is that just a feel thing and you got to kind of live and die with it, or what is it, you think?
It's a feel thing, but you also kind of have to get into the rhythm of the game to get that feel. You're not feeling and watching the quarterback running back exchange. You're feeling the offensive lineman. Are they firing out to block for run, or are they like their center also does a good job of getting? He doesn't go downhill. He doesn't get down the field, but he fires off to go like on his block back towards like the shade or the nose that's over top of him, and it makes it as a linebacker you feel that guy firing off. And like, okay, maybe it's a run. And it's going to make you at least check for the run. So, yeah, it's a tough spot, man. It really is.
Jensen, by the way, savage of a human. First taunting call in the NFL. And by the way,
don't you get thrown out for throwing a punch, though?
Yeah.
Don't you normally get thrown out?
That was a clear punch to the face. Now, by the way, I like that. It feels as if the refs almost read the moment, right?
Yeah.
That
he did. He had his mic on.
But I'm just saying they read the moment. Instead of kicking him out, whenever he came over, what did he say? Let's just say, like he was so mind blown by what Jensen said to the person, and then the ref who heard there was a punch, and he was like, but he did say, okay, they offset. Let's just fucking go. If that's how it's going to work out forever, I appreciate that. But that's what Jensen's known for, by the way. And Jensen's becoming a vet here now, right? Like a real. He got paid. He's becoming older. Those are tricks that centers know. Like, okay, even if this is a play action, if I can at least make it appear as if I'm coming off to go get somebody or get to the second level, they have to respect it. They have to trust it more. Play action isn't just a quarterback thing. It's an entire offense thing is what you're saying.
It's everybody. Yeah, you have to. The O-line has to give the impression that it's a run. They have to fire out of their stance and not sit back like it's pass. And that's what all the linebackers, the safeties, everybody's feeling. Like you're looking through the lineman into the backfield. But, yeah, you have to feel it. And the Bucs do a very good job of disguising it.
Yeah, and it did feel like Warren Sharp and PFF, who, by the way, I am a fan of. Okay, I'm Pro Football Focus. There's a punter of the decade.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
It's pretty easy to judge punts and kicks.
Sure.
Okay, you know what's potentially supposed to happen. But I think the knock on Pro Football Focus has always been like, you don't know what the coverage is. You don't know what their job is. So how can you judge every single play when they say we go through every single play? A lot of it used to be former NFL scouts though, right? So a lot of former NFL scouts that started up there with Chris Collinsworth, it was like they could get a good guess on what the coverage or the call was, even though disguising is something that a lot of these guys are incredible at doing, so they don't even know what the call is. But so that's always been called into question. But whenever Pro Football Focus and when Warren Sharp, another person who is a authority on football, like, hey, I watch all the film, I see everything, I do everything, and he's put up a great reputation, and I'm a fan. But whenever they both say, like, oh, this guy's a fucking idiot, it's immediately, like, in your head, it's hard not to think, like, okay, is this guy wrong? If you're not somebody that understands, like, oh, there might be a little bit more to this thing than just needing a map in this entire game.
Yeah, I mean, that's
what Diggs was saying, by the way. Hero Diggs, by the way.
Had a baby Diggs.
You are, but think about your first NFL game. You know, Micah Parsons is an energetic guy too. Like he can roll, he can fly. So the Bucs, credit to them for probably recognizing he was in. Hey, we got a young, eager guy. Let's flash a play action in front of him and try to get a window behind him.
We're about to have and start a segment. And before we get to Coach JB, I would like to say the Ravens. I am so sorry.
Yeah.
I am so sorry to the Ravens organization, the Ravens players. the Ravens fan base, and obviously the players that have gotten hurt. I am sorry that this has happened, but these are key players getting hurt for the Baltimore Ravens just days before the season starts. Obviously, J.K. Dobbins in the last preseason game, stud stallion. No worries. They have Gus Edwards. Old Gussie's a fucking electric factory. Gus Edwards torn ACL. He's also out. Then Marcus Peters, a man who immediately upon joining the Baltimore Ravens defense from the Los Angeles Rams, game changer, difference maker, big stud for them, torn ACL. And allegedly Gus Edwards and Marcus Peters in practice, that was one play after another. Torn ACL, and Harbaugh was like, everybody get off the fucking field. They signed Latavius Murray, they signed Devontae Freeman, and they signed Le'Veon Bell. Let's assume Latavius Murray's going to be their starter. Let's assume that Le'Veon Bell still has some in the tank. We don't know. Devontae Freeman, so maybe they'll be able to pick up where they left off. Marcus Peters is going to be a massive loss on the defensive side. Before we get to Coach JB, your thoughts on what's going on with the Ravens? This stinks. Like, injuries happen, but this stinks for them right now.
Especially injuries that happen in practice too. Like that hurts even worse because like, oh, I guess this is kind of avoidable, but yeah, it's especially when it's great players like that too. Marcus Peters, I think that's a huge loss. That dude is like the lifeblood of that secondary for sure.
He was the pick immediately right to the logo, not even thinking. Hey, I remember what y'all fuckers did 8 weeks ago. You think we forgot? No. Pick to win it right to the logo, and that was perfect shit talk.
Unbelievable.
That was exactly how it's supposed to go. You know, that's exactly what's supposed to happen in that whole thing with what obviously the Titans did when they went to Baltimore, which caused us to think who would win in a fight between Vrabel and Harbaugh, and everybody on this show went quickly to, Vrabel would beat the fuck out of that guy. And not that Harbaugh's not a tough guy, it's just Vrabel will literally eat a pack of cigarettes, chug a case of beer, and then go run sprints and win a Super Bowl, and he has that mustache, and he's still fighting NFL players on a daily basis. Another coach that I feel like, if he ever makes it to the NFL, which, by the way, who says no?
Who says no?
Me.
Champion. Coach, superstar of Last Chance U, and a man who will be joining us every Feel Good Friday, founder of Slapdick Whiskey. Ladies and gentlemen, the real Coach JB, Jason Brown.
Yeah! What up? You guys hear me all right?
Yeah, you sound great. How you doing, dude?
Hey, I'm hanging in there, brother. You?
Hey, not too shabby. I appreciate you joining us. We are very excited for this. And I said this to everybody that was listening yesterday. Like, I have no idea how the crowd is going to feel and the audience is going to feel about Coach JB every single week. Every time you've come on, it's been good reaction, but I have no idea. This is strictly for us. We are massive fans of yours, Coach. We can't thank you enough. Let's get right into it. Did you watch the NFL game last night? How many guys do you know out there, and what were your thoughts on how that whole thing unfolded?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it, man. I was actually speaking to a college team, man, out here in L.A., and I got to get after that. I took one of the quarterbacks that I'm kind of mentoring and took him over to the bar. Well, not to the bar, but I drank and he sat behind me. And so kind of watched the game and kind of helped him learn the game, actually. So that's why I took him because they got a game tomorrow. But, man, you know, I broke it down like this, man. I think that was Dak Prescott's best game ever, and it was just fucking negated by the greatest of all time. I mean, that's just people that don't know the sport really don't understand. He threw for 400 and it was like 70% completion percentage. And that game will never even be remembered. Who gives a fuck? You lost.
Hey, and Coach JB, and he took a bunch of shots too. Like Dak was eating
shots,
D lineman right in his body.
No doubt. Taking big shots and making throws, man. I was trying to tell the quarterback it's all about your feet and shit, how you point your lead foot. And he was just like, damn. And he just taking shot after shot. And you gave fucking Brady 1 minute too much.
Whenever you watch elite football players, and you've been around a lot of them, right? You've been around a lot of them, Coach JB, and I don't think a lot of people understand truly how big the JUCO system is into the feeder system, into D1, and then obviously into the NFL. What was the percentage of NFLer guys that were JUCO guys?
I think like 28 or something at one point.
That's huge. That is massive, obviously, especially with the way the public education system is. I mean, we can get into all that shit if we really want to, and you know, everything, communities, and we can get into all that conversation. But the JUCO thing's a big deal. Whenever you see an elite talent that could potentially make it to the NFL, what is the first thing you got to tell them? Like, what is your first thing you're teaching these 18-year-old kids that probably have had zero authority, not because they chose for that, just kind of how their life has been? What do you tell these guys, and how do you get them to buy in?
Man, I had a conversation last night. People were asking me, like, how'd you get so many good players? I'm like, look, first of all, I was different at JUCO because I recruited NFL players, not Division I players. They're like, what do you mean? I said, well, I've been a personnel guy my whole life. I kind of been a good judge of character and evaluation of talent. And I'm like, Jermaine Johnson, who just got ACC Player of the Week against Notre Dame, DN for Florida State, played at Georgia for the last 2 years. He was at Indy on the show with me. But I said, he's an NFL player. I said, he's not just a Division I guy. I said, so you got to understand there's a difference, and I try to let people understand that, and I don't think people get it. And so I tell them, I kind of tell those kids, I said, listen, man, you got to go be different. It's easy to be fucking average. You got to go fucking be different. And I'm like, you got to go do the things that others don't do. And I'm like, whatever that is. And I'm like, and don't act hurt. Raheem Boyd, my running back, who was leading the SEC in rushing at Arkansas, who don't win a fucking league game for 2 years. Basically, I'm like, dude, the Lions cut you because you were hurt, and you're an undrafted free agent rookie. And I sent him a picture of the legs of what's his name, the running back for the Giants.
Saquon.
Who just came from surgery. Saquon, right? I'm showing him a picture of his legs. I go, look at this fucker's legs. I go, this is the difference. And look at your body. I'm like, and I said, no knock on you. I want you to go get in the league, bro. But I said, you got to be different in the weight room. You got to do the things that a lot of cats can't do. You think they living off talent. I said, do this. A D2 kid is going to try to take your job that got an unshot too. And I'm like, you got to understand that. They don't give a fuck if you played at Arkansas or wherever you played. So got to go be different, man. Everyone's average. It's easy to be average. That's how I kind of look at it. But
hey, when you say you're recruiting like NFL type talent, like how can you separate the difference between a D1 player and someone that has potential to actually play in the NFL?
Man, you know how it is when you played, brother. You know how kind of when you see a guy, you're like, well, that motherfucker's different. You know what I mean? This guy's at Ohio State with me, but this guy's different. Like he's gonna do this guy's gonna be an All-American here at Ohio State. May never play a snap on Sundays. It's fine line, and it's really a thin line, and people don't really grasp that. Like, man, this dude's an All-American and never played in the NFL. Like, dude, there's a huge difference. Like, just for instance, last night you see this game. 2-minute drill looks like they've been doing it 15 weeks already in the NFL, right? These guys are professionals. There's a huge difference. You know how better than me. And if you watch a college game, watch some of these college games today and tomorrow. Watch Kansas versus Coastal Carolina tonight. Watch their 2-minute drill week 2. Like it's gonna look like a clusterfuck, right? You're always gonna know what the fuck to do. Cats are gonna run it and stay in bounds and shit and run the clock. Like these dudes are like professionals. Click, 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 and it's like it's different. Like these guys are different. And I try to tell people all the time, but to answer your question, it's like, you know how it is, long, rangy. I have dudes, I do a thing called hands down, hips down. So I want to see your heels on the ground with your palms on the ground. And people think I'm just being an asshole doing it. And I'm like, no, that's actually evaluating talent. If you can't bend at 6'8" and touch your heels and your palms at the same time, you're probably not going to make it. And I'm like, I got dudes that do that. I got 6'8" dudes, 360 that can do that shit. I'm like, well, that motherfucker's a knuckle dragger. He's a freak. So, those are kind of just evaluation of that. And I knew where he was going to, people that were recruiting him, obviously, okay, this guy's been recruited by Alabama, Georgia. I'm like, all right, well, he ain't going to make it. I'm going to get ahead of the game on that academically. I know he ain't making it. And then I say, fuck the kid. I don't even recruit the kid. I go straight to the fucking mama.
Smart. I think that is the move by a lot of college coaches. And let's dive into the college football weekend. You just said a Kansas team. I don't know if it was Kansas State or Kansas. And obviously you had great success in Kansas.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you became a superstar in Kansas. You won a championship in Kansas. But you still have dreams, aspirations to be big-time coach, right? That is not by big-time, obviously, no shot, but I'm talking big-time school, bigger place. You still have dreams and aspirations for that, right? That's not something that you've given up on?
Man, I haven't given up on it, but it's not a burning desire like it once was because of just how fucking soft and enabled we've become. But I don't know. I just don't want to I don't want to recruit your kid, sign your kid, get your kid, and then you give me a fucking decommit letter on Twitter. Like, I don't want to see that shit. That's what I'm going to avoid. And I've never had that happen. The kid's never left me after I've signed him, which is a little different, I think, than most. But this world's different, especially during COVID, man. I'm watching these guys coach yesterday, and I'm just like, how the fuck do you do it when you got every single swinging dick excuse out there? Every kid's coming late, fucking this. COVID. COVID's the excuse. And it's like, fuck, man, I don't know if I could do it, but I talked to a personnel guy at the CFL yesterday. So like professional football may be an avenue.
Oh,
there we go.
Hey, let's go, JB.
Maybe better. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. I mean, this is what people don't get, man. Strong minds suffer without complaining, and fucking weak minds complain without suffering. That shit happens all the time. That's the world we're living in right now.
Ooh. Yeah. Hey, that's deep. That was deep right there. Uh-huh. Hey, let's go, Coach.
That is. Hey, we had James Harrison on. Coach James Harrison was saying some of kind of similar things about that. Like, do you see that with whatever the mindset is, and you're saying, guys, like, yeah, you got to make sure you're available, you're durable, you're there, and you're not complaining. Like, is it going to switch back, or is there going to always be like, is that going to grow in that movement of, hey, like, yeah, maybe a little softer than it was?
Man, that's a good ass question, man. That's a debate that people are going to have. But it's like I see these people on social media saying, well, Coach, I know you talk about everyone's soft all the time, but look who's raising us. And I'm like, well, look who's raising you, motherfucker. It ain't me. and then I'm like, your dad, you're saying your daddy's my age? No, he's not. Your daddy ain't my fucking age. And if he's allowing that shit, he sure ain't coaching it. And that's the old adage. You coach it or you allow it. And I don't know, to be honest, AJ, shit, man, that's like a good question, because when are we gonna break the damn generational curse or whatever you may call it? Because I don't know, man. That's the reason that probably not coaching right now either. And like, is there a ploy behind that shit? Like, are we getting hard coaches out of the business? Like, look at the business that's starting to be so-called quote unquote progressive. Like, look at we're hiring people that we've never hired before in the profession. And so people are like, well, shit, we can have different debates about that too. And it's just like, well, I don't know, man. Are we ever going to break the softness? But it's such a 7-on-7 personal trainer, fucking soft mentality nowadays that it's like AAU basketball, which is, really not really a collision sport like football. It's a contact sport, even though it's not. It's a big pussy sport. But, the bottom line is you got these 7-on-7 trainer cats that wear these soft helmets now, soft shoulder pads. Like, remember when we played 7-on-7? Well, first of all, we played in the fucking street with the street lights and the headlights were the touchdown. And dude, I had dudes getting their temples hit on curbs and being fucking catatonic. They're out. And I'm like, and we're like, get the fuck up. Let's go. Like nowadays you go to jail and fucking everybody like will be there like, oh fuck, you're a criminal. I'm like, holy fuck, man, we're just playing turkey ball on Thanksgiving. I don't know, AJ. That's a good question, dude. I don't know. It's going to take some older cats, I think, to break the curse and try to put it back down on people. But
Coach, when we would go telephone pole to telephone pole, obviously, and I was the only kid that could go telephone pole to telephone pole at the youngest age, so I was almost all-time quarterback on offense. But defense was so reckless. It was so fucking reckless what was going on out there. You would be the worst parent of the year. If I let him, like, no, you gotta go play on the street. Yeah, you guys don't have a field. Who gives a fuck? Telephone pole to telephone pole. How are we supposed to do this? Well, I mean, I guess you could do two-hand tag, but you guys are going to hit each other. If I had to guess, it's going to get in there. Like, you would go to jail for that now. And I think that Foxy has this take, and you're not going to love this because you're from sunny Compton, California or whatever. Foxy says that if you grow up in a state that has winter, like, you naturally have some grit. Because you have to open the door in the middle of January and February, and literally pneumonia is hitting you in the face. I mean, you're getting frozen there. There's just some sort of buildup that happens, like something that happens whenever you have to deal with that every single day. I think the same thing in sports and with what you have to go through, but now with science and knowledge of what that could potentially lead to and what's the worst case that has ever happened in this particular situation, I think it's going to be very difficult to change. I think everybody knows that they're just going to have to kind of ride the wave through it. You know what I mean, Coach?
Nah, I hear you, man. I got a quick story, man. I had a go-kart. My dad built me a go-kart, man, with like a Briggs & Stratton fucking motor, a lawnmower motor on the back, like 8 horsepower, whatever. And I'm driving around our little apartment complex, like damn near the projects, right? I'm the only white kid on it. I'm driving around this thing and the brakes go out. I literally see the brake spring come out, float in the air, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm going like 60 miles an hour. And there's a brick wall, at the end of my block. And I'm like, there's no way out of this. So I can't get out of it. And fuck, dude, I try to turn it. I smack the wall, fucking side. I break like 3 ribs. I don't know what I didn't know I did. So I get up, my side's bleeding. I'm fucking like can't walk. I'm like literally, I know I can't cry. Dude, I didn't give a fuck about any of that. I was so scared to tell my dad I wrecked that motherfucker.
Yeah.
I took the go-kart in the garage, put a towel over it. The axle was bent. Everything was fucked up. And, you know, the moral of the story is I told my mom like an hour later because she told me to go drop these VHS videotapes off at the fucking video store. And I had to walk like a mile, and I'm literally the most pain I've ever been in. I get back, and I'm like 11, dude. I'm like, fuck, I can't walk no more. And she's like, what the fuck? So I tell her, right? She's a nurse, by the way. The nurturing mother tells, don't tell dad. I won't tell your dad right now. Da-da-da-da-da. And that's the world we're living in right now. Everybody's a nurturing mother. We have no dad that is willing to put the fear of God in you in a nurturing way too, though. My dad wasn't going to beat me or kill me or fucking take me out back and fucking throw me into the fucking wolves den. He was going to, but I had that respect fear that was like,
yeah,
all right, I fucked you because you gave me this thing. Yeah. And now I feel I let you down.
Hey.
But motherfuckers don't have that no more. People are sitting there telling me yesterday at practice, telling the head coach, nah, coach, I'm going to do this. I almost like, I'm just out there helping and talking. I was like, motherfucker, I'll choke the shit out of you. Have you paid mortgage, motherfucker? Have you paid a light bill or anything? And it's funny. It's crazy, man, how people are just allowing that shit, though. Nobody checked them. Nobody corrected them because he don't know what he don't know. And it's like the mom at the grocery store with this kid, and the kid's telling her what the fuck to buy for dinner. Like, motherfucker, you're going to eat shit and liver. That don't happen no more. They don't go down no more. It's like we've allowed all this shit and enabled it, and somebody's got to put their foot down.
Hey, I think the big thing here is there's no hate me now, love me later. It's love me now, love me forever. You know what I mean?
You're right about that. That's true.
Go ahead, AJ. I'm sorry, bub.
Hey, Coach, what about, I think NFL could be a great route for you. You could even break in maybe like with you, like you said, you're a great talent evaluator, maybe like with the scouting department. Do you have any ins with any NFL teams?
I do, man. I was actually a good friend of mine, the O-line coach for Tomlin, sorry.
Whoa.
At the Steelers. So Adrian Clem, good friend of mine. We grew up together. He was at UCLA forever, but, Mike made him the O-line coach, man, which was huge because he was an assistant last year. And not only that, hiring a black coach on that staff where a lot of cats bash Mike Tomlin because of the lack of black coaches he has. People don't talk about people in the black community are, call him McCoon and call him this and Uncle Tom. And they're like, well, wait up. So when he hired Adrian, it was between the circles that I'm in, even at the D1 level of black coaches.
Am I supposed to tell you can't say that? Am I supposed to be the one because I feel like, honestly, you're the one who grew up as the only white person in your community. You have a much better. Am I supposed to say, like, hey, there's no way you're allowed to say what you just fucking said right there? Am I supposed to say that to you right there?
Nah, nobody's ever going to say nothing to you. Don't worry about it. They know.
I'll never say
it's real. These motherfuckers know the deal. This is the bottom line. Adrian Clem's there now, was one of the highest paid O-line coaches in America. Good dude. Grew up together. He's now there. He's going to try to see if he can get me in with Mike as like on an interim level or like for OTAs next year or something. COVID kind of fucked it up with the NFL not allowing a lot of visitors in and stuff. So not the minority, even though I should be a minority coach, I should get that shit because white privilege never fucking affected me. But at the same time, maybe I can get into one of those type of internship deals, and like the minority internships that the NFL does, the Bill Walsh stuff and all those things. Maybe that can happen. Fuck, they got the Rooney Rule, which really is a fucking slap in the face anyway. But nobody wants to talk about that shit. Right?
Thank you, Coach. Okay, we're gonna. Hey, I have no idea what the fallout's going to be from this year, but JB, you are one of one, pal. One of one forever. Go ahead, Ty.
Coach JB, when you're looking around at some of these college teams, like I know on Twitter you were bashing Oklahoma because it's the same deal. They didn't look good against Tulane, but they're going to end up going to the playoff. Or you look at Kansas or Washington, who is supposed to be good and gets beat by Montana. Is there one place where you can like look at and point and be like, shit, if I went in there tomorrow, I would be able to turn this thing around that day?
Yeah, fucking Akron, Toledo. It don't matter. To me, this is how I look at shit. Alabama is cream de la creme, right? Like I say it all the time. They're the ones that he's deserving of the money, if you can argue that. And then I think Dabo's this next one, and now maybe Kirby can get up there if he wins one. But the thing about it is nobody's taking guys from going to those three places. So they're getting the same top echelon talent every year. Somebody needs to get one of those 5 stars at Tulane or at this other place, because that's what's going to stop it and break it and start. And somebody's going to have to be different and get some. It's all about the blood. The blood life of your program is recruiting. It doesn't mean you control the talent level in your program, period. We control it as a coach. And I think coaches really think they're going to go out here and fucking out-scheme Nick Saban. Lane Kiffin out-schemed Nick Saban last year and lost 50-48. So, you got to understand, it's Jimmys and Joes. It ain't X's and O's. The better players win the games at the end, and you got to go get those dudes. And I just think it'll be give me any polo, man. I don't care. Give me if I get Pat McAfee polo, I'll have some fucking freaks walking around Indiana.
Yeah, Coach, you just mentioned Saban. I'm not sure if you saw his press conference earlier in the week about trying to kind of keep his team motivated, especially while the media is telling them that, they're going to win by 50 every game. As someone who did coach a team with studs everywhere, how hard is it to keep your team, kind of humble and just keeping them locked in on a day-to-day basis?
Man, my next degree, I'm going to get into psychology. I truly believe I'm a psychologist. Fuck coaching, fuck kinesiology, fuck PE, health. It's psychology. You have to be a fucking psychology major to fuck with these shitbirds. Because I'm just telling you, your best players are going to be shitbirds. Just so we're clear. The best motherfucker on your team is shitbird. And you got to get that dude to buy into your whole philosophy and get all these other fucksticks to follow, right? And then you got some good slapdicks who are just going to be kind of, the guys that are going to keep your fucking GPA high and keep your fucking API scores right. So Coach Saban gets another $100,000 fucking bonus because his APIs are fucking off the chain. And people don't look at all that shit. And, I did see what he was saying, and that's great stuff for the bulletin board and all that. But at the end of the day, he's got to have to still do it hands-on, because this is a hands-on experience-based life we live, man. He's going to have to get those kids to buy in. Fuck the press conference with the Coca-Cola and all that shit. They don't care no more. He's doing that Aflac commercials with Dahn. They know it's all about money. Those kids ain't stupid. You know what I mean? People call them dumb and all this shit. They're not stupid, though. So that's the difference in it. And, I don't know. That's just kind of how I looked at it. But it's good stuff. But, he's doing other things that you don't see on camera that is getting his team ready. And that's what he does better than anybody, in my opinion. My good friend Sark was his OC the last few years. Obviously, he's at Texas now. And, he told me he's similar to Pete Carroll in that regard, as far as just being different, figuring out ways to get your guys to push the right buttons at the right time. 22 of them at the same time going the same direction is the hard part.
They have 70 guys, to your point, and that was a great, what you said earlier is something that is not being talked about by anybody. Everybody just assumes that there's going to be 5 stars, five depth on the depth chart, 5 deep, at every position in Alabama, and you coming out and saying, well, until somebody can we not just automatically assume that every good player is going to go to Alabama? It feels like that's the case. If you're a good player, you go to Alabama, you're going to win national championship. Your practices are going to make you so much better because the players that you're going to have in there, you're going to compete against the greats. You're going to have NFL practices for 4 or 5 years probably, and then that's ultimately the dream in the end. And it's almost like a foregone conclusion at this point. He just signed for another 8 years or something like that. He just signed for another 8 years, JB. Is that just what everybody's going to have to stare down if they don't inevitably try to change that?
Yeah, man. It's what do you got to do? Turn over rock, think out the box, be innovative. You're going to have to do something. I mean, this is the thing that people don't understand. Who was Nick Saban in Alabama when Pete Carroll was at USC? Can anyone fucking answer that question to me? That's the thing about it. Nobody wants to talk about that shit. USC was going into the SEC and beating the best top 2 teams. Auburn, they beat them 55-7. They beat Arkansas with a loaded McFadden and all them 55 to fucking nothing or something. Pete Carroll at his height, there was no talk of Alabama. LSU won 1, right? I think Oklahoma may have won 1. That was right when Pete started getting it going. But SC was the Alabama, obviously, and he did everything you need to do. He had Snoop Dogg at practice and fucking Debo and Ice Cube, and you used Hollywood, right? I don't understand how SC and UCLA are this fucking average. Like, it doesn't make sense. The top 4 Heisman candidates are from LA. I'm like, dude, hold up. The best quarterbacks in the country are from LA, Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama's. Like, they're all from right here in my fucking backyard. And we're shitty at SC and UCLA? Like, that's ignorance. Like, you're shitty. You're either lazy as shit, and that just tells you how shitty LSU is, because you should have never fucking came in here and lost to UCLA. So, and it's like, how about this one? I got a spin for your crowd.
Here you go. What
if Ed Ogeron's son beats his daddy this week at McNeese State?
Do you think that's going to happen?
Going to fucking erupt the whole college football landscape and get his daddy fired. Is it going to get his daddy fired so he don't get enough? So this kid has to look at it too. Like Cody Ogeron, who I'm good friends with Ed. I'm like, Cody, you understand if you beat your daddy, you ain't getting the big body fucking Benz or the crib, the nice ass. You better be careful and shit if you go beat your daddy, because LSU may have a letdown game, dog. And let's be real. And if McNeese hangs around, his daddy has a lot of fucking stress on him right now, sleeping at night. I'll tell you that.
I'm excited to see how that game plays out, by the way, for our next chat. Tone Diggs with the last question here. I can't thank you enough for your time, Coach JB. Go ahead.
Coach, there was a lot of upsets from smaller schools versus D1 schools in the first weekend. Do you think, is there a reason for that it happens in week 1?
Hell yeah, it's a reason. It's college basketball. It's one and done now. College football has become college basketball and one and done. And I've been saying it for 3 years. Some LA Times beat writer said it, and some guy retweeted it and said, Coach JB been saying that shit for years. And then the guy's like, well, I put it on LA Times. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about your LA Times. Go back and look at my tweet or my fucking podcast from 3 years ago. So what I'm saying is the transfer portal has created not only these soft asses, right, that create hard heads, but it has allowed so you can look at it 2 ways. You got to view whatever your viewpoint may be. Is it a watered down system, or is it allowing people like they say Jalen Hurts to leave in Alabama, go to Oklahoma, get drafted? I argue, just so everybody's clear, Jalen Hurts was getting fucking drafted regardless if he went to Oklahoma, dumb fucks. He played at Alabama. He won a natty. He was getting drafted. So yes, did it raise his stock? Possibly. Did he become a better passer maybe at Oklahoma with Riley? Maybe. Who knows? But it wasn't going to affect his draft status. He was going to get picked up maybe a round later. I don't know. But it has watered it down in my estimation, because I hate soft shit. It's watered it down. Just so we're clear, there's 3,000 kids in the portal. There's 27 Division I schools. Those kids ain't going all to those D1s. So now what it's done, it's affected junior college recruiting. And if you're a legitimate D2 coach, like if you want to make a name for yourself, D2 coaches out there, you should get these kids to your place and rip it at a D2, because a lot of D2 kids are in the NFL too. Danny Woodheads of the world and a bunch of different dudes. You can make a name for yourself by getting some of these D1 kids that are in this portal to your D2 and sell them on a 4-year school instead of the JUCO coach beating you out like I would have done, saying come to my place and get re-recruited to go back to a 4-year. But a lot of these cats are so soft now, they don't want to go through that struggle, so they'll just go 4-year now. And it's kind of hurt JUCO recruiting the last few years. But it is leveled the playing field, in my opinion, more so than giving you an opportunity. It's now college basketball. Florida Gulf Coast, Gonzaga, they can win it any year now. Back in the day, it was UCLA, Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina, UConn. There wasn't nobody else getting in there. Gonzaga wasn't getting in there and winning that shit. You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, Montana, should they fucking ever beat Washington? No, not in this world. I don't give a fuck. That is my tight end is at Washington from Indy. That's a pandemic to me. Like, that's a fucking epidemic. Like, how the fuck is Washington lose to Montana? Like, I don't know. Northern Iowa almost beat fucking Iowa State. Like, I mean, that's what I'm trying to tell people. It's level now.
Hey, so is the transfer portal, in your opinion, good for college football? Because also now coaches, when it comes to recruiting, that's a whole nother avenue that they have to. I mean, look at Michigan State. I know Mel Tucker got some transfer portal guys, and they win their first game. Everyone's excited.
Congrats. Hey, go green.
Go white.
Yeah, that was the most racist thing said on this show today. He said go white, JB. Did you hear that?
Oh, yeah, I heard that shit. After what I said, you had to say that, so that's a good comeback. AJ, I don't know. Look at this, AJ. Look at it this way. And, perception's reality. Terrible. Look at all the transfer portal kids that helped their teams win this week. A shitload. Notre Dame's quarterback. Fucking Jermaine at Florida State, transfer from Georgia. The Georgia quarterback from SC. Look at all these transfers that helped their teams win, in my opinion. To me, I look at it as, see, I'm a different cat. Like, I wouldn't take JT Daniels to Georgia. Like, that's just me. Like, I don't believe he's going to win a natty there. And you are other people's trash. I don't want other people's trash. I want my own recruits from my own fucking blood, sweat, and tears. I want to go get my own dude and make him my own legacy. I don't want your fucking trash. And you couldn't play at SC. How the fuck can you play here for me? That's how I look at it. And I got that different mentality. And I hate the transfer portal personally, but the soft generation loves it because now it's an out for me to go tweet a decommit letter and go to any other school. And now all these coaches are like, oh, fuck it. I won't have to go through recruiting the high school kid. I'll just go get a kid that's already been in a 4-year program. And it's hurting JUCO, I'm just telling you. And it's, in my opinion, it's made it worse. Now, people can argue and say, well, it's giving people opportunities and shit. Well, you shouldn't have chose that school then, is my argument. Because if you couldn't play there, you're shitty or you're soft. You don't want to compete, and you just want it out now and go wherever. And in my opinion, it's hurting because if you would have, back in the day, let's take the portal out right now in 2021, you put a decommit letter out there. Guess where you have to go? JUCO. Come over here and get your skin toughened, motherfucker. And now you might make it at Alabama the next time around. But now you're going where? Coastal Carolina. And now you're going to go there. And now you're just absorbed inside of another program. And you're not getting your skin toughened. You're not going through no hardships and fucking shitty dorms and shitty cafe and football jail. You're not going through football jail. So you're going to do the same shit over and over and expect a different result. And that's fucking insanity.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm excited for the insanity to continue every single Friday with you, Coach JB. I have no idea what the fallout's going to be for today, but I'm excited for it. Thankful for you stopping by, okay? Thankful for you stopping by in the conversation. Can't wait to get your reaction to this this upcoming weekend of college football next week. This was presented by Slapdick Whiskey. Hey,
hell yeah.
Slapdick Whiskey's good. So are the Stogies. I appreciate the hell out of you, Coach.
I appreciate you guys, brother. Nice meeting you, AJ. Good looking.
You too, JB. Thanks, man. Looking forward to Fridays with you.
All right.
No doubt, brother. Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Brown.
Yeah!
What a guy, dude.
Man, that was awesome.
Hey. I don't think, normally, I do not believe that. I don't want whites to hear what JB says and think that they can just speak the same way JB is coach. Okay, I think that was the first time in the history of the show where I've gone, wait a minute. I think I'm supposed to, there's no way. And then he goes, I ain't gonna say shit to me, pal. JB, literally the only white dude on his block in Compton, California, right? Yes. I think he does. The reason why he says that he'll be able to recruit and crush it is because he literally has relationships, I think, in every single hood. Yeah. And he's good everywhere, and I'm so thankful. Mm-hmm. He's a big fan of the show. Yeah. Right? So he's a big fan of our show. Getting a chance to chat with him and set this up, I'm excited to learn more and more. We have to get to a break. And when we get back on the other side, we're going to answer some phone calls on 5 Hour Energy phone line, 1-833-4-McAfee. Let's hear from you about the NFL kickoff game last night. Ed Sheeran, Coach JB, what's going on this weekend, all that shit and more. Back in 4 minutes. Can't thank you enough for listening and watching. Cheers. The NFL is implementing the Hawkeye replay system, which has the smart technology, which is synchronized multi-angle replay technology, which allows the ref to view all of the shots and angles of a certain play at the same damn time, as opposed to what they've been doing all along, which is TV producers deciding what replays they see when. Are you kidding me?
Unbelievable.
Now, we know a lot about these TV producers, okay? Yeah. I couldn't see Joey Josh Chestnut eat his 76th fucking hot dog, all right?
Bullshit.
on 4th of July to break his own record because of a production. We've seen a lot of other rather terrible decisions made in television, in broadcasting of games made. Those same people now, I'm learning, were the people that were deciding what angles the 95-year-old refs in the NFL were getting to see. This is absurd. Thankful that the XFL, who had the Hawkeye smart technology, synchronized multi-angle replay technology, either created, invented, or used from other places, like tennis has this, I believe. I like that we're expediting the replay system. I like that we're getting up with the times. Replay should be an asset to the NFL as opposed to what it is, which seems to be a burden. The pass interference replay thing, because of how terrible they botched the execution of that, it probably will never be brought up or, thought about again, because fans will be able to say, oh, remember when they did that last time? It's like, no, remember how they executed that last time. The replay system is run by people who have not a lot of experience with maybe quick, slow-mo, fast forward, maybe just content being in their face all day, every day. I like that we're making this better. It's better for the game. It's better for everybody. There's a lot of money on the line. Let's not let an opportunity pass where we can utilize technology to make sure the right shit gets done. Let's just do it in a much more efficient fashion. I've always felt that way, AJ.
Well, it's much more efficient, but it makes me question, how did we go this long to where a TV producer is controlling what replays, what angles you're going to see, for the referee, that kind of blows my mind when you think about it.
Yeah, I read it yesterday and I almost axled my pants.
Yeah.
I didn't because I'm an adult, but you get it.
Right. I don't know. I bet you have in the last 5 years.
No, I haven't, but there was that one time where I thought it was going to be a sound, and it was actually action.
Yeah, a little close. That's a different story, though.
Yeah, but it wasn't a full axle, I don't think.
Yeah, no, sharding is not pooping.
Step in it.
Whoa, I have a little couth on for the goddamn good of the show. But speaking of that, I was quite alarmed whenever I read that TV producer. I'm like, the same people that are making a lot of the decisions that we get a chance to witness every single week are the same people that are deciding whether or not a play that I have a lot of money riding on potentially is overturned or not. I am not about that. I assume Raj had to walk in there and do a full, you know what I mean?
Yeah, curtsy.
Hey, we're bringing a big sports stooge thing over here. Is that okay? Yep, deal. Perfect. Let's get some tea. Let's get the fuck out of here. How do you think that went between Raj and the Queen? You think she liked them?
Yeah. I bet she liked them. She probably knows a lot. What if she's sitting there and then all of a sudden she's like, so what about the Sean Watson situation? What about the Sean Watson situation? What about the Sean Watson situation? That was spot on accent.
Hit that one out of the park.
What if she's really dialed in to the NFL?
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
If you hadn't noticed, football is here, and since it's been a while since we've experienced a proper game day, it's important to prepare yourself for the challenges ahead. And one of the best things you can do to prepare yourself is drink plenty of water. But don't settle for just any old boring water. Kick that shit up a notch with brand new CBD drink mix from CBDMD. CBD drink mix combines CBD and vitamin C into one very convenient, easy-to-use product. Just pour, shake, and go. Drink mix is available in 4 amazing flavors: peach, lemonade, kiwi, strawberry, and fruit punch, which means enjoying the benefits of CBD has never been tastier. And to make it even easier to try drink mix and everything else CBDMD has to offer, they're giving you 25% off your next order and use promo code McAfee at checkout. Once again, that's CBDMD, promo code McAfee for 25% off. Shout out to them.
Shout out.
Welcome back to the show. AJ, I hear you have to run for 30 minutes in 7 minutes or so. So let's go ahead and make the most of this here as we got AJ Hawk.
Hell yeah.
The Buccaneers going to win a Super Bowl?
Are they? No, you know my pick for the Super Bowl.
After what you watched last night, they were -3 in the turnover margin. Only win 8% of the time whenever that happens since the merger of the NFL and the AFL. Are you telling me you didn't see that team last night and say, you know what? If Rojo doesn't have that fumble immediately after the missed kick. That could have been a momentum swinger. I mean, that could have been a complete. And then on the next drive, off of Lenny Fournette's hands, that thing could have become. That thing could have got, because it looked like that offense was rolling. You didn't have any fear there, or is it because the secondary on the defensive side of the ball? Anything change your prediction of the Chiefs and the Packers?
I mean, maybe the secondary a little bit, and the injury. How long is the corner out?
4 weeks is what they're saying with modern medicine.
Did Winfield get hurt last night too, I believe?
Whitehead.
Oh, Jordan Whitehead did.
Yeah. I was about to say, I knew there was a couple injuries there, but there was a couple things that were happening that I was like, what the fuck's going on with the secondary?
Yeah. Big time.
And maybe that was because I expected the Dallas Cowboys offense to not be as proficient as they were early, Like, I thought it was going to take them a bit. Dak hadn't played in forever. Then he comes out there. He looks so comfortable. There was a couple comments by Collinsworth. By the way, great to see how Mike was in Collinsworth.
Oh, yeah. Sliding's back.
He didn't really.
No?
Everybody said it was a slide-in. He kind of just like moved his body almost. It wasn't an actual slide-in, I don't think.
Week 1, he should have came from 50 feet away.
Well, I think Tampa's booth.
It's their fault.
A little small.
I think it's a little tight. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. They're all set up kind of differently, but I love hearing them call a game. Yeah. Chris Collinsworth also commented on my video yesterday and said, hey, let's go. I completely forgot they were calling. I thought it was Fox last night. Mm-hmm. Should have got Chris on yesterday. I think we could have. That's on me. That's bad booking by me. I saw him in the comments. That was a hello, I think. So I should have. Hey, you want to stop by? We talk about Pro Football Focus saying Mike Parsons is in the middle of nowhere all of a sudden, and how great you are calling games. I love them out there. It was just that Dallas Cowboys offense. None of us could have expected to be that that prolific. Are they going to throw 58 times a game, AJ? Is that what's going to happen down there with Big Mike McCarthy? That's his thing, right?
I mean, I don't think he wants that to become his thing. No, you can do it. It's nice to have that ability when you need to, but I'm sure he wants to establish Zeke a little bit more when he can, but hey, that's a tough defense to run against.
Let's go to the 5-Hour Energy phone line. Let's go to Chandler in Iowa. What's going on, Chandler?
Hello, Pat and the boys. How's this Feel Good Friday going?
Hey, fantastic, Chandler. Sounds like you're having a good time as well. What do you want to talk about, pal?
I have a question for AJ and a question for Ty. First, AJ. You were college teammates with Maurice Clarett, and I've never really heard you talk about him, and he was kind of like a guy. So I just wonder if you have any cool stories about him shitting on you in practice or anything. And then also, Ty, I would like to know how you feel about Iowa getting shit on in Ames this weekend.
Knew that Slapdick was an Iowa State fan right when he called in, stumbled over his words, coming in and everything. I knew I could pinpoint exactly where he was from. Yep, he's a Cyclone fan.
Were you teammates with Maurice Clarett? How many years? Just one there, too?
Yeah, well, Maurice and I were in the same recruiting class, so yeah, I came in with him. He hit he was like National Gatorade Player of the Year coming in, so he had all this hype, and he absolutely lived up to it. I remember I came to a spring practice when I was a senior in high school to watch Ohio State practice. When I was committed, I was going to be there in a couple months. Maurice graduated early. He was practicing with the team. And all I remember is all the vets being like, hey, man, do not go up against that dude. Like Maurice was running, he was doing scout team punt block and just killing dudes. His head is gigantic. His legs are super powerful, an absolute monster. But, yeah, it's a shame it only lasted for a little over a year, really.
Yeah, he got caught up, obviously. We had a chance to interview him live in front of a Columbus crowd and chatting with him where he was, where he is now, the things he is doing to help people. I love Maurice Clarett. And so does Columbus, by the way.
Yeah.
Whenever he came out in Columbus, Ohio for our surprise guest that night, the whole theater popped for him big. I mean, it was very, very cool to see, especially with how everything's gone. That was a wild time, especially after that, 30 for 30?
Yeah. The
Youngstown boys or whatever.
What's the deal with that athletic director you guys got over there? Fucking kick his ass out of there.
He's gone. He's been gone for a while.
He was hanging out over there at Wexner's, wasn't he? That AD.
Yeah. No, I don't know what he was doing, but yeah, Andy Geiger, he's been gone for a while.
Okay, let's go one more phone call here. Let's go to Dylan in New Jersey. Dylan, what's going on, pal, on the 5-Hour Energy phone line? Remember, go to 5hourenergy.com. Use promo code McAfee. You'll get 10% off your order. That's only good till the end of the month. So let's go ahead and get our energy shots, the best energy shots in the game at 5hourenergy.com. Promo code McAfee to receive 10% off. Dylan in New Jersey, I'm about to be flying to your state here in a little bit. What's going on, pal?
That's awesome, Pat. Pat and the boys. Ty, love the hat. Connor, you're a stooge.
I felt that one.
Hey, I apologize before I get to my point, but strong minds suffer without complaining.
Weak minds complain without suffering. Is Coach JB Feel Good Fridays about to give Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays a run for his money?
Oh, you're talking about like meditation and deep thinking quotes? I mean, there is a chance, I guess. Hey, he's a psychologist. You got to be a fucking psychologist to deal with these fuck sticks or shitbirds. Yep. Whatever it is. Yeah. You got about 30 seconds here, brother. What do you want to ask about?
Gotcha. So about last night, Tampa Bay not covering the spread. Does FanDuel and these companies just have the insiders of all insiders that rap sheet look like stooges?
So I didn't trust the spread.
I know, Dylan. That's a great question. We listen. Let's not. We can't overreact. Okay? There's 271 more regular season games. Okay. There's 271 more regular season games. Although we did lose last night, we could have won. We saw it. The old gamblers will say we were on the right side and everything like that. FanDuel has to be fucking thrilled though, because we pushed that thing to the moon. That was probably going to be a few $100 million loss that you have to assume went the other way. Don't worry, we're still going to fucking get them. Hell yeah! Hammer down today after this show ends will be fantastic and see how we can get our money. AJ has to leave for 35 minutes or so. That's a shame. I'm going to go put on a black tank top because this one's chafing me a little bit. Head coach Brandon Staley of the Los Angeles Chargers on the other side of the break. Cheers to you all. I fucking love you. I'll see you on SmackDown tonight. Like, actually. Bye. Every Tuesday this football season, joining us, Aaron Rodgers. Every Tuesday. With that doesn't get you going for a game? Are you kidding me?
No, but I have a funny Creed story. So, in 2007, we're playing the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday night. We're 10-1. I have long hair, and I'm a backup. And before the game, we walked down the field, and I don't know if it was on purpose, but our intro song was Creed with Arms Wide Open. I looked to my buddy Nate Weir, and we both said, this is going to be a good night. And that was the night I came in off the bench and changed the narrative about me from, possible draft bust to, hey, this guy might be able to play, maybe.
Thank you, Creed. Yeah!
Why am I having so much fun?
Bingo.
I have just a new and increased love of life. And I've made decisions and changes and habits that put me in a lot better headspace. And there's just a lot of things that have come together in my life over the last few months. And it starts with love. And then surround yourself with people that you really enjoy. To get sentimental, this show is just another step in that.
What is the longest you've ever thrown? Do you even know that number or do you not care?
Yeah, somewhere between 68 and 70, Pat. I don't know, right in that sweet spot.
69 yards is how far you threw it. Nice, congrats. Yeah.
I sometimes laugh when people talk about, down years for me, because a lot of times down years for me are career years for most quarterbacks.
That was awesome! You said in the interview that you would add an extra finger to your scotch drink or whatever?
It was a long night. We didn't get home. I didn't get home till like 11:40.
Look at how much scotch that is. Is that what you did?
It's not that much.
That's 4 fingers, dude. You said you normally do 3. That's 4 right there.
But you have those fat sausages.
Why is football the greatest sport on earth?
One main reason. It is a true team sport. The love is not just about our sport. It's about competition. I think there's nothing in the world for me that fills that need and that hole I have like competition. Yeah, they wouldn't show it because I play for the Packers, but I had a pretty sweet no-looker to Devontae on the last drive that kind of set up for a few plays.
I'm so thankful Patrick Mahomes brought that into the NFL.
I know.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Good for him.
Yeah, I know. It's just none of us have been doing it for a while. A guy who probably doesn't get anywhere near the credit for doing shit like that all the time. He wears number 9 and plays in Detroit.
There's a massive water pipe out there with vitamins, and I've been going pretty ham at that. Maybe that is the problem.
Hey guys, it's a plant, bro.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. That's it. A couple people, one college kid, took a shot at my swag.
We know. We know. We don't like that kid.
Swag is just like clothes I wear or whatever. No. A swag is a mentality. Yeah. Swag is a mindset. Swagger isn't that you have a Supreme backpack on. True swag is owning your inner essence. It's a mindset. A lot of you guys are just posers. I am very thankful for you guys, for this show, for the opportunity to have this Tuesday. I'm not going to say that it's the reason why we've played so well and I've had a good season, but I can definitely say that it's been a positive contributor the entire year, and I do have a lot of thanks and gratitude for that.
Aaron, Thank you, Aaron.
Thank
no,
you.
Don't you thank
no.
us. Thank you, Aaron. Okay, thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate you on here. I feel like I've learned so much about not only you, but life and football. Do you have any hilarious interactions with fans? Anybody ever say something just absolutely despicable to you?
There's been a bunch over the years. I think the rowdiest and the biggest trash talkers and the funniest trash talkers are in Philly.
Oh, yeah, me too.
You know, one of my idols growing up was Alex Trebek. They're doing some guest hosting spots, and it's going to be released here pretty soon, but I have the opportunity to do one of those.
Let's go! I am so thankful you joined us, man. The mustache looks incredible, and the fact you're wearing that shirt, I am eternally grateful for, pal.
Well, yeah, we might as well drop some bombs on this show. You know? There's no scrubs out there.
Have you watched the film on the game yet? Will you watch the film?
Yeah, I think like 4:20 on Saturday, probably p.m. Central Time.
Were you at all surprised to see the wild speculation out there after your post-game comments?
I don't feel like I said anything that I hadn't said before. It was more a realization, I think. Ultimately, my future is not necessarily in my control. Now, obviously, after the season that I had and, potentially win an MVP, we obviously made it another good run. I don't think that there's any reason why I wouldn't be back. I don't think people are used to hearing the truth from athletes. So when they hear the truth, it's so surprising at times. That's why this show, I think, has been so different. There's times where you let your mind go to maybe, I'm going to be a Packer for life. I'm going to be like a Tim Duncan or a Jeter or a Kobe and play with one team my entire career. I think naturally you dream about that.
I think I've realized this year with the conversations, you do seem to be a rather normal human.
And you guys know, we've talked about this off air, but there wasn't like some agenda doing this. It was like, fucking talk to Pat and AJ every week? Yeah. Sounds pretty awesome. But what it's allowed me to do is, I think, silence all the douchebags out there who were, talking for me.
You know what? I'll say it. What? Aaron Rodgers Tuesday is happening.
Couple people, one college kid, took a shot at my swag.
Oh, yeah.
We noticed.
We know. We don't like that.
I don't think a lot of people understand what swag is.
Things we could talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is an absolute delight to chat with, I think. I think that would be a good way to describe him. We've only had him on the show one time, I believe, but I've watched him talk. You're talking about incredibly articulate. It's his first year being a head coach in the NFL, but he's a quarterback who sees the game through the eyes of a defensive coordinator. With the Chargers, who have an incredible team, just got done with his first training camp, going into his first weekend as an NFL head coach. They got the Washington football team on the road. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Brandon Staley. Yeah! Coach, what's up?
Guys, thanks for having me. Great to be with you. Appreciate the intro as always.
No, you deserve it, man. You are, it seems like every player that's ever played for you, and every interview I've ever seen of you, every conversation we've gotten to have with you, whether it's off air or on air, you're the same guy all the time. I bet this team is loving you, huh? How is the team? How's your relationship? How do you feel after your first training camp as the big dog?
Well, I just got off the practice field with the guys for a really good walkthrough, so that's making me feel good right now. Our guys, I feel like, are in a good place, Pat, because I think they know our standard of performance around here, and I think they're comfortable with that. And I think our relationships are really good right now. As you know, there's a lot of tough things to talk about in the NFL in an NFL week. I joke with the guys, there's just every week I say the same thing. Like, there's so much that goes into an NFL week, and there's so many things to cover, and it requires you being close so that you can work through things together. And I think that we're in a good spot in all three phases of understanding how we play and what we want to do and who we want to do it with. So I think training camp, it went by in a blur, but I felt like, we were able to really measure ourselves and find out about our team. And I felt like, the month just flew by, and that's normally a sign that, things are going well. And I think our guys are really into what we're doing, and now we get to go compete and play for real. So
I want to talk to you about your game coming up, obviously, and the football. But I think I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you that every single coaching friend of mine that goes on to become a head coach, okay, they always say off air, they're like, hey, the amount of bullshit that ends up adding to your life that you don't know or expect. And by bullshit, I don't think they meant it in a negative term. They're just talking like a lot more gets chatted about when you're the head coach as opposed to just football. Have you experienced that? How has that been? Has Tom Telesco been a great tag team partner for you over there? What has it been like in the big chair now where you got to deal with shit off the field as well, not just the football players in your meeting room?
Yeah, Pat, I think it's such an important point because the role does change. I've been a defensive coordinator before, and so I've done that job. And, I feel like as a head coach, I think what you can't minimize is that there's a lot that's happening to you for the first time. And so to have a guy like Tom Telesco who has over, 30 years of NFL experience, who's been with Hall of Fame, coaches like Tony Dungy and Jim Caldwell and, Bill Polian, a Hall of Fame general manager, being around Marv Levy, there's so much wisdom there. And then on our coaching staff, there's so many people I can learn from. We got Ronaldo Hill, who played 10 years in the NFL. Mike Wilhoit, who's on my staff, was a 7-year linebacker. And then Joe Lombardi, was Sean Payton, one of the best coaches in the game, Drew Brees. And so I've been able to lean on a lot of other people, with their experiences. And I think more than anything, guys, like anytime you're doing something for the first time, you just got to get into rhythm. I think that's the big thing, is just finding your rhythm and your routine. And I think that I'm working on that every day. There's so much to do. And those people that say all that, they're right. But I look at it always, as a competitor. I think it brings out the best of me. Every time you're doing something new, it just challenges you. And that's the way I look at it. And every day there's a list of things I know that I should have done better. But I just wake up and I try to do those things better the next day and keep it moving.
Coach, I feel like we just kind of want to run through a wall for you.
Yeah.
Like the way you frame things is like such an optimistic, hard work. Like the way you frame things naturally, I'd assume, is why I think even when you were playing quarterback at Dayton, people were like, hey, you're going to be a great coach. Like the way, not only your football knowledge, but the way you frame things. Now that you're the head coach, running your own team, I want to let you know, although we just met you, proud of you, bub.
Hell yeah.
Hey, proud of you, man. It's cool stuff. And let's talk about your team. Hey, that team last year, a lot of games that were like this close. If there was some better situational awareness, I assume you guys had to address that. You probably saw that in the film as well, 4-minute drill, 2-minute drill. We talked about a lot of that stuff. But with Herbert, with how good he looked and the way the team responded to the whole situation of Herbert becoming the starter, it feels like your team's pretty fucking close. You feel pretty good about the squad and everything that Herbert's got going on as well?
Yeah, I like the way that we attacked the offseason from a player acquisition standpoint. I thought free agency and the draft, we were able to really add a lot of key components to our football team. I think we kind of were able to remake our offensive line, starting with Corey Lindsley, who we feel like is one of the elite players in the league, Matt Filer, Ode Abushi, and then we certainly drafted Rashawn in the first round at tackle. So I like what we did on the offensive line. And then I felt like, I think one of the big things that we wanted to establish here was a deep team. And we're not there yet, but just a deep team that's a complete team in all three phases. And then, the side of the football that doesn't get talked enough about is the kicking game. And so
Ty's a stud.
Had a lot of key pieces in the kicking game, core 4 special teams guys that are going to, we feel like, make a difference for us. And we feel like we've got a really good punter. We added a deep snapper, Matt Overton, who you probably know a lot about. He's a veteran guy he's added a lot from a command standpoint, just an operational standpoint. He's a leader. He's a general. And, we've got a young kicker, Tristan Vizcaíno, who's really talented. And so we're really trying to reshape our kicking game and get a lot of impact players so that we can be a complete team in that phase. And so we're working towards it. We're going to find out, starting this Sunday. But that was our big goal, is just to become a team of teams where all 3 phases know exactly how we play, why we do all that. And, we'll see where it goes this season.
This is Matt Overton's hat, I love that dude.
That looks like a hat that he would wear.
Yeah, it is. By the way, he only sells these hats, by the way. It's basically like Matt Overton's like, I want to kind of get into the game. I got a brand here. What do I want to sell? Well, what do I wear every day? Oh, these fucking flat bill hats. That's the way, and he sells them, but we have them. I love that you bring them over there, and the way you chat about like the command and the comfort level, that's a big deal to make everybody else. Your punter Ty's a stud, dude. I love watching that dude play football. I appreciate the way you just talked about the special teams, though, because I think anybody that goes on to win this whole thing, people will realize, like, hey, their kicking game's probably pretty solid. Like, they're not giving, they don't have 3 people covering. For instance, the Packers last year, their punt team was getting killed. They had people covering, and there was 4 people in a straight line. It's like, that's not going to win you. That's going to lose you games right there. That is going to lose you games there. I like your attention to detail, Coach. I love everything you're about. Go ahead, Ty.
Coach, I think the first time we talked to you was right after you got named head coach. I'm just curious, like, now that you've actually got to meet him and spend time around him, are there any things about Justin Herbert, like maybe some preconceived notions that you had that have been dispelled? It's like, oh, actually, this guy's much better at doing this than I thought he was, or this is something that I think he can work on to really take that next step this year. Are there any things like that you've noticed about him now that you're with him every day?
I think probably just not knowing him personally, but a lot of the pre-draft stuff about some of his, like the leadership style and things like that. Like, I just smile because, he was just, almost a unanimous captain, like, and our guys just love him so much. So it's hard for me to believe that anyone ever said that about him, because he's just got such a refreshing way about him, and he's such a hard worker, and he just has the respect of everybody here. And that's so hard when you're a young guy to earn that type of respect, and not respect because of how talented he is. He has the respect of people because of how humble and hardworking he is. So I think he's just been really refreshing to be around. He's kind of got a wicked sense of humor. Don't let him shucks you. He's got a really wicked sense of humor.
Oh, he's Ohio. He's deep. Yeah.
You're going to have to hold him to that. He's just sneaky funny. I was with Keenan yesterday before Routes on air, and me and Keenan were talking about something, and he's like, hey, can we get on with it? Like, are you guys done yet? Like, sort of, giving us a, I was like, you just said that so gently, like you were so gentle with that. But he's just got a really refreshing way about him, and he's been fun to work with because he's such a hard worker. He's the last one on the practice field every day. He's the first one in, all those things that you would hope. But then I just really think his leadership style really fits our team, and I love working with him. I'm excited about his progress, and excited to see him play this season for us.
I'm pumped to hear that, because these mic'd ups that they put out of him, he's not talking because he hates being on camera, I guess. I guess that's like the thing. He doesn't like being on camera. It's almost like a game between he and the social media department on whether or not they can catch him. They actually released a video of them hiding, trying to get him, and him running around them like, basically, no, I ain't doing this whole thing. So I didn't know what it meant, especially with those preconceived notions. But whenever you say anonymous captain, and then you haven't even got a chance to really experience him like in a game, because you're not going to have him in practice running people over. I think that was when the respect was earned for him. That first drive. Yeah, he's an animal. He's a bigger.
So what people don't, because of how he carries himself, like he's 240. Okay, but he looks like he's like 220, But I mean, this guy's a 240-pound guy with 8.8% body fat. I mean, this guy's like a lot bigger person than you think, and a lot faster person than you think, a lot stronger person than you think, and it's because of how hard he works at his game. I mean, this guy is he's a gym rat, and in all the right ways, and I think so physically he's impressive. But like I said, I think what's rare about the guy is that when people like on our team, like and around our team, talk about him, that's not the first thing that they talk about. They talk about his intangibles first, and that's obviously a good sign.
Yeah, good for you. Now, if he's terrible, I know a lot of eyes are going to go at you. I mean, that is just the head coaching job now, and also the potential play caller. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Coach, because you're coming from the Rams, will you leave notes around the stadium talking shit to McVay about how it's Chargers country now and LA's your city, or is it pretty amicable between you two?
Definitely not. I don't know how to respond to that.
Sorry about that. Sorry. Discount.
That happens a lot.
I'm obviously rooting for all those guys, because without them I wouldn't be here. And Sean specifically, because 1 year ago, fellas, nobody knew who I was. But Sean did. And so the reason why I'm here today is because he believed in me, supported me, and allowed me to be as good as I could be. So I'm rooting for those guys. Those players and coaches mean a lot to me. So, I'm excited to watch those guys play this year.
That's awesome. You give the right answer every single time. It's amazing. And I think you naturally do it. Like, it seems to be like just your natural response is like, hey, like, No, actually, I'm very grateful. Like, it is incredible to hear that, because that is.
It's just easier to tell the truth, Like it's just easier to tell.
How old are you?
38.
Golly, 38, and then McVay's young too over there in LA. You guys both have great teams right now. It must be good to live out in the place where there's no rain, right? Is life good out there? Chargers fans, do you get to feel them at all? Have you had it opened to the fans at training camp, and how has it been?
Yeah, training camp was awesome. They were able to come to watch us play, and then we were able to scrimmage in the stadium. We had 2 preseason games there, one against the Rams, one against the Niners, and so I feel like our brand, the Chargers, I think, the branding war, I know that the brand is a big deal on your show.
There we go.
Our brand is exciting. And I feel like we have an awesome digital media team here, guys. Like, there's so much that goes into being a great team, but like our digital and social team they're incredible. Like this group of people, just how creative, hardworking, they're amazing. And so I feel like they've done such a good job with our team and engaging our fans and getting our fans to understand the people, underneath the shoulder pads and helmets inside the building, giving the fans access to what we do and how we do it, because that's what fans want and that's what they deserve, is to like, hey, if I'm rooting for something, I want to know what I'm rooting for. And so we've tried to give fans that type of access, so that they can kind of know the personal stories around our players and what's important to them and what's important to our ownership and their, the Spanos family, stuff like that. So it's just been a cool partnership and then we're just at the beginning, but I'm excited. I'm excited, about where this thing can go.
Hey, that's I assume you were asked on what can be released, what can't be released. That's just good. That's smart, by the way, to allow your social media team to do this type of thing. And that's like thinking ahead as opposed to an archaic thought that some teams will remain to have. And inevitably, all teams are going to end up doing this. I think it's also might be a reason why Hard Knocks has kind of lost its luster, because of how talented social media teams are about giving us behind the scenes stuff. And your team up there, not only the jerseys are fresh, I mean, those things are incredible every single time. It feels like any throwback, anything you guys do. Social media team understands the internet, and that is very difficult to do. A lot of places, businesses, teams try to do it. You guys hit a home run. I think it's smart, though, for the entire operation to be like, yeah, we should want people to do this. The Colts are also, in this city, very good at it, but there are some teams that are terrible. I love the Chargers because of what you guys got running. Smart decision to let them do it, the coach. Go ahead, Diggs.
Coach, I don't know if you know this or you've been told this, but you are the odds-on favorite to win Coach of the Year. Does that add any pressure? Are you flattered? Does that add any pressure? How do you feel about that?
Again, one of those questions. I don't know if I have a great reaction to that question, guys. I'm just how I live. Just I'm so in the moment, guys. I feel like I'm just so day to day. My wife gets upset about that, because I'm not super long-term thinker. First day of school today for the kids, that was a huge day for the Staleys, but up for the Staley boys. I'm just so excited about today. We've got a practice today, red area, maroon zone, first, second, third down review. Like that's where my mind is, and our team. That's just where my focus is as a competitor, and I'm going to try and do my best today to compete and teach and lead the best I can, and then that's all I know how to do. As for the other stuff, I know that if we work hard enough, then good things will happen for all of us. So we've got a really special group of guys here that I really love coaching and that I love coaching with, love working with, and that's just the truth. That's just not me talking. It's just I really feel that way, and now we get to stop talking, we get to start playing.
I think because of your answer right there is why you're the odds-on favorite. By the way, I think because of what you just said is why you're the odds-on favorite, and we are honored to chat with you. Last question here from me. We're talking to head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers, Brandon Staley. You said in your answer there the maroon zone. Is that because you're playing against a team that has maroon, or is that what you guys call the red zone? And what are your thoughts going to Washington? That's a damn good football team. Hey.
Maroon is just the higher part of the red, 30 to the 16 for us. Red is 15 to the 4. So just that higher part of the red.
We're breaking down. Hey, we're separating the red zone now. We are going, hey, this is the high red, low red. Let's go. Is this the future, I guess? And am I behind on this?
But I got a lot of respect for this city, number one, where so much happens in the United States is in D.C. And I think that this team has got such great history. And as us growing up, I mean, this was an incredible franchise with the Hogs and all that, and a bunch of Super Bowls with Joe Gibbs and that group. And so I have so much respect for this organization. And then with Ron Rivera, with him being there, NFL Coach of the Year, coming there in a COVID year through a cancer journey, just remarkable leadership. And they've got a really good young team. And they got a quarterback that they acquired that I think is going to help make them even better. Because I defended them last year, and just feel like this team's going to be tough to play against, and we're going to really find out a lot about our team this weekend.
How are you not going to overreact after week one? I mean, I guess it sounds like you're like the most level-headed human of all time, but fans are going to overreact after week one, and we all know that how you are week one is indicative of nothing in the future of the NFL. Teams can change so much, especially in this COVID world. Last question. Can I ask you about the COVID thing real quick?
Sure. Yeah.
It's going to happen, huh? Everybody's just going to have to. It's going to happen, and that's just how you have to view it. Is like it's going to happen inevitably.
I think, Pat, like all of us, you, everybody, like we're learning so much every day. I know, just speaking from my position, our position as a team, like this thing is moving, right? I mean, it's moving so much. Since I got hired in January alone, this thing has moved and changed so much, and so I think that's what we're learning is you got to stay current with it. I know how serious it is. Our players know how serious it is. All we can try and do is build an ecosystem that's safe, follow the rules to the best of our ability. But then you also know the reality is that these things are happening. And then, okay, if they do happen, we got to keep it moving. We got to learn from it and keep going. And not letting, if something does happen, not let that, set us back. Let it catapult us forward so we learn from it and move on. And so I think all of us in the NFL are just trying to do the best we can. I know as a country, as a nation, we're all in it together, man. We're all in it together. We're trying to do the best we can to keep everybody safe.
It is kind of like an equalizer amongst like coaches. You're coming into the NFL as a head coach in one of the most difficult times in the history of the NFL because of protocols and social distancing and everything like that. It might actually benefit a lot of things are going to benefit you because of the conversation we just had, and what we've learned about you is you're going to be benefited by a lot of things. But in this modern world with technology and getting creative and having to do things, it seems like you're, I don't want to say greatly suited for it, but it is like almost an equalizer for everybody. And I can't wait to see how you handle it. Your team goes. You're a legend, man. I can't wait to see what you end up doing out there. And we can't thank you enough for your time.
Thanks a lot for having me, guys. Big fans, and I appreciate you guys having us on.
Nah, you're the best, dude. Good luck this weekend and this season. Ladies and gentlemen, head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers, Brandon Staley.
Yeah!
He's good, man.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Genius.
Just every answer is naturally the right answer. Mm-hmm. It's like whenever, and these are two very different personalities, but similar outcomes. Like when Tebow would give an answer, it was always the absolute right answer in the Tebow way. And there was no thinking. It was just like immediately, boom. No matter what you ask, he didn't have to frame it. He didn't have to change it in his head from what he actually wanted to say to actually saying like, oh, this is what I should say in this moment. He's like the same way with coach speak, it seems like.
Yeah.
It seems like literally his first response, his actual reaction, his genuine reaction seems to be, with everything we just fucking asked him, the exact right way you would want your head coach to do. 38 years old. I mean, the thought of McVay and him out there, both in their 30s as head coaches with good teams right now.
Yeah.
Good for Los Angeles and good for the Chargers. That guy's a stud, man.
Yeah, tough to not want to root for them and see him succeed and do well. Like, it really is. I mean, I don't give a shit about the Chargers really, but like we talked to him and it's like, oh yeah, like I'd like to see them be good this year.
And by the way, the reason why is because we know him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's like him talking about his social media team being a weapon.
Yeah.
So smart. And I wish, everybody would just understand that. Like, hey, and there's some people that maybe get social media degrees, but they're not. Social media degrees mean nothing because social media is changing 1 week from now as opposed to it is right the fuck now. You just got to have somebody that gets it. And by the way, to get somebody that gets it is going to probably cost money because guess what? Social media is where it's a modern day gold rush. It's where all of the money is right now because it's where all the people are and it's the most intimate thing. It's one-on-one, it's close, it's personal. And the fact that he knows that that's a good thing like makes me feel very good. Like if they were to potentially have somebody that was just shit at social media, a lot of places have no idea. A lot of like they got things going on. It's like, oh, they got a degree to do this, but we all see as people that live on the internet. I'm not talking about me as like I know the internet. There's people that are much smarter than me in this. I'm not saying anything, but we as an internet community see a lot of things and we're like, oh, that's god awful. That is not how you do internet right there, right? And normally the people that are hiring those people have no idea because they don't know how to do the internet. Yeah. The degree is or the age is necessarily telling. I think he is so detail oriented and gets it. Like if it wasn't good, I think Telesco and everybody would be like, hey, maybe we need to change and spice, or maybe they just hit a home run with one person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which could have happened. I mean, we did it with fucking Foxy. I did it with Foxy, just an absolute home run with his incredible talent. There's a lot of people that are like that. And obviously there's others in here. I don't want to go through that, but I'm just saying, like, if I didn't get a Foxy, it was just, I don't think I would have known. Right? Like, I don't think I would have known for some time. And then I couldn't even imagine if you're an NFL franchise that you don't even, because you got to allow for the freedom. You got to allow for the creativity. Yeah. And to do that, is it like, okay, you got to let them kind of learn their thing, but they're also learning it in a Ferrari. And there's a lot of people looking at them. Yeah. So it's a fascinating thing. And their team crushes it. I mean, they absolutely crush it. But I like the fact that for him and for them, it's a real thought because that social media account, to your point, that is the representative of your team for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I tried to tell the Colts that. I told Pete Ward that back whenever, like way back in the day, and they were not taking it serious. I was like, hey, for a lot of people, their only interaction with the Indianapolis Colts, if we're not on a primetime game, is the Twitter account. Like that is what they view of the Indianapolis Colts, actually. And I think Pete Ward, who's a very intelligent businessman, he was like, okay, I'm gonna start looking into this. And I think they have like fully evolved into like, hey, we are gonna invest in this. It's a smart idea because I am also a Chargers fan. Because of talking to him. Now, Telesco got me in the NFL. He's the GM. But, like, the way they do it, like, I think I just have an appreciation for him. And once you get to know these people, it's like, oh, I hope they do well over there. Now, I'm not saying they're in the fucking Chiefs division. All right? That's going to be a long road. They're a very good team. But I'm just saying, like, I would like to see the Chargers do well because I like their people, and it's because of the way they are presented on the internet.
And it's like you see it with the Washington football team now. Like they're using that to actually get a little bit of a read on, you know, the team names and basically how to kind of keep going with their team moving forward. Social media is such a weapon now.
How do you feel about that whole situation, by the way?
Oh, with him not talking shit to McVay?
I mean, I was past that.
I was just say you two may know who Brandon Staley is, but he told Connor and I, we're pieces of shit. We're not answering your question.
Oh, so you don't like Brandon Staley because of what happened to him?
No, I love Brandon Staley. All I'm saying is
anytime you hit that.
He saw Connor and I for who we are.
Well, I shouldn't have worn the jersey. You know, I knew, hey, look, there's a new number 10 in town, and his name ain't Justin Herbert. So I could see that was a little bit of a problem for him. But, hey, respectfully,
I don't even know how to answer that. By the way,
I thought it was a good question.
By the way, in my eyes, the right answer I'd like to hear from the head coach of my team.
I was gonna say, and he ended up giving an incredible answer after that.
Yeah,
actually, you know, no one knew who I was a year ago. Sean McVay did, but no one else did.
That's crazy. And then I didn't know he was until you asked your question. I didn't know he's the odds-on favorite for Coach of the Year.
Basically, I believe that a lot of people think that the previous coach wasn't great, and he's going to do much better things with his team.
Whoa,
Derwin James.
Just like last year with Stefanski.
Is that what people are saying, or you are saying?
Well, it's the recipe now. Stefanski comes in, does that with the Browns. They think the same thing. Staley could come in, and the Chargers have a similar result with the Chargers.
And by the way, just like I told him, you guys probably watched film on this, situational awareness was terrible last year on that Chargers team.
Yeah.
And I know because I bet on him a lot, and there was a lot of situations, stay in bounds. So what are you doing? Why are we throwing the ball right now? Can't have that. All right, just can't have that happen right there. There was like 4 or 5 of those situations that happened through the season that lost them 5 games.
Mm-hmm. At least.
And I assume there's a lot of people, Chargers fans included, that see that. And Staley probably he said, I'd heard about him, but once I watched their film, I was like, are we at 12-4 team? What are we doing here with an entire rehaul, basically? Mm-hmm. And that doesn't happen with those types of rosters. I enjoy the comparison to Freddie Kitchens. Okay, I'm not sure Anthony Lynn will, but I think they probably have some conversation. Anthony Lynn did say, though, and this was my biggest gripe with him, when they weren't mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, he gave a speech to his team saying, That's going to be it for us, boys. And like you can't. I think even like Nick Saban, the most miserable non-player coach, or Belichick. And by the way, I'm not saying Saban is. I saw him with the hat smiling. Okay,
That's right.
But Belichick or whatever. I think even those coaches, if there is still a 2% chance, a 1% chance, it's like that's what they're coaching up. So I think whenever I heard that Anthony Lynn potentially said that, and we don't know if it's true or not, but the fact that he potentially said that when there was no chances, me as a person that used to sit in those team meeting rooms and listen to what they were saying, because I enjoy listening to speakers and how they decide to get their messages across. Like I thoroughly enjoy that. And I think that's why I'm a pretty good listener, is because I enjoy how people decide to say shit or whatever. If my coach said that and I knew we had a chance to make it still, what the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
What are we even? And on the way out, it would be like, Coach, what was that all about? Like, hey, it could happen, right? They could shit the bed, right? Could that? COVID year, too. I mean, literally anything. Or I think it was before COVID year or whatever. But no,
it was in the COVID year.
Yeah, like anything could happen. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I think Anthony Lynn is an incredible guy. I saw him on Hard Knocks. I love them.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, hell of a football player. Like, a big fan of that. But you're right, Diggs. I think a lot of people around the league and sports books are like, there seemed to be some, and maybe Anthony Lynn was teaching all this and it just, for whatever reason, didn't connect. Maybe that is what happened. We don't know. We're not there. But if you can get some of those situations right with another year under the belt for a lot of the players, it's like that team could be a problem. But once again, in their time that they got to play in the NFL, the division, there is a big bad wolf sitting there.
Couple of them.
For some time, too, somehow. They have they have salary cap manipulated that to be for like 10 years or whatever. Yeah. So that's probably the other side of that whole thing. When people said, like, do you want the Chargers job? It's in Los Angeles. Yes, okay. There probably could have been 11-5, 10-6, 12-4, maybe, even if a couple different things go wrong. And they have a young star quarterback. Okay, yes, I want to do that. Patrick Mahomes is paid $500 million for the next 10 years to be their quarterback, and they've somehow managed to keep every good player they have on their team. And Andy Reid is going to be eating cheeseburgers and celebrating for the next 10 years there, it seems like. Okay, so that's the one drawback, I guess. But Brandon Staley's like the Uber guy. I just want to compete with him. Like, I want to get in there and scrap with him. That ultimate competitor, ultimate optimist mindset is the one you need to have whenever there's somebody like that in your division. And man, I think they hit a home run with that guy.
Yeah, the maroon zone. Are you kidding me? It feels like they're already they got these new things that other teams might not be doing that they might take advantage of, especially with Herbert, Keenan Allen, like that team healthy, Derwin James coming back. They really could be a legitimate contender.
So as the space on the field gets smaller, you hear everybody say this, as the space gets smaller, it's obviously harder to create space and get people open. So I think that's why we are learning a lot now about like the actual preparation that some coaches have and the forethought of good coaches that are like, hey, we need trick plays on third downs and we need trick plays in red zones. Back in the day, just a few years ago, teams run a trick play. It's like once a year, like, oh my God, like they did an end around or a throwback or a double reverse or a halfback or a
jet sweep pass or something.
Anything, or a
reverse
handoff, pitch back.
Flea flicker.
Flea flicker. Like flea flickers happen. Like these things happen, and as coaches realize, I think the younger coaches realize, like, hey, if we got to be able to create space, and this is Orlovsky's big thing. Orlovsky's big thing is if the offensive coordinator is not utilizing the current rules and the ability and the knowledge that we have for offenses to create space with motions and moves and everything like that, like the coach is doing a disservice to the offense. That is when you get maroon zone. Yeah. It's like, hey, we don't have to probably start doing stuff until this is our cutoff point. This is where we got this, like that type of shit. And then there's obviously the alumni section, which is in between the 40s or 30s, I believe, or there's certain things. So, I mean, it just feels like that constant thinking is what makes like the newer model good. Like Andy Reid will. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady has been on teams that have done trick plays forever. Like Bill Belichick, greatest coach and GM of all time, he'll do trick gimmick shit on a very regular basis. He'll bring players onto the team because of it.
In the playoffs.
In big moments, he'll do it. It's like, I never understood why people don't do it more often, but I'm also a punter that wanted to run like a fake punt every single game.
Well, and that's because you get a first down. But it's like last year in the playoffs, the Bears run a trick play. The week after, the Saints steal the same exact play and then run it against the Bucs with Jimmy Winston. It's wild.
Trick plays are just becoming a place now.
Yeah.
with the way offenses are,
Yeah.
and as people continue to get more talented. And I don't know if that's why they're doing the maroon zone, but Herbert can move, and they got some great athletes on that team. I can't wait to see what they do. All right, we have to get to a break. Can't thank that man enough for joining us.
Yeah. Weapon.
I mean, middle of the
It's playing.
Is it playing?
Yep.
Thank you, Nick. Middle of the most busy time he's probably had in his whole entire life.
Yeah.
Important, too.
In between a walkthrough and a practice there. Okay? Thank you for taking the time. We very much appreciate it. Good luck this weekend, Coach. Good luck to everybody, by the way.
Yeah. Hey, let's go Pats.
All right.
You said it.
Can't cover.
Oh, they're going to.
Can't cover. Can't wear that jersey.
You will be.
Get that number 2 ready, pal.
That's what I'm talking about. It's right outside.
Hell yeah.
Carl Wentz jersey's going to look damn good right there at that seat right there.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see for sure. And Big Q being back isn't great, but we'll see.
Okay, well, Big Q was never going to miss. We all know that. Did you hear what his caption was? Fuck that. I'll be back.
Yep.
Whatever. That's what Quentin Nelson is.
True.
He's back. And you're going to be wearing Carson Wentz jersey on Monday.
Nah.
That's what's going to happen. I cannot wait to get back on the air with all of you on Monday. I am off to Madison Square Garden in New York City for tonight's SmackDown on Fox, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Standard Time.
Daylight.
Daylight time. Yeah. I want to let you know tonight's show is going to be a good one. Yes. I mean, it's the eve of the 20th anniversary of September 11th in New York. This is going to be a big deal. There's people associated with the company that lost family, friends, and I mean, it is. I'm very excited and honored to be a part of it tonight. Brock Lesnar is going to be there to get to see the alpha male of our species. And obviously, we got full college football tomorrow. We got full NFL on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
I am so thankful to be alive. I can't thank you all enough for this incredible week. Thank you to all of our guests for their time. AJ Hawk and the boys will continue on the other side of this break on this Feel Good Friday, right in the middle, in the beginning of kickoff to the NFL regular season. You all are the best. They're back in 4 minutes. I'll see you on Monday. Hopefully you get a chance to check out SmackDown tonight. It should be a beautiful thing. Cheers. We'll see you in 4. We are moments before going out onto the field and kicking some field goals to raise a crap ton of money for the kids. And I'm about to become an old man. Said I do this, then I do this, then I do this. Oh, Cuzzy. Oh my God. You want a little bit of that grandpa. Hey, you see, you go, and then, I'm just so excited we can raise your money because that's what we're here for. What's going on? Hey, hey. It is hard to see down. Cool, Grandpa. There's no way I lived this long in real life.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our contestant and cheer him on as he attempts to raise $70,000 for cancer research. On your mark, get set, go!
I've been a fan of the Colts since the Mayflower came from Baltimore.
I don't know, sir. You sound a little familiar.
This is the greatest city on earth. And ladies and gentlemen, it was my honor to raise $70,000 for cancer research. Sorry, I missed a couple. I'm an old man. Let's go. Let's
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Pat McAfee. $70,000 towards cancer research. Go Colts!
And the ball's leaning back. Couldn't see. It's a lot more difficult seeing. Hi! Old man's got a hammer. Those plane rides home from an
Shady Rays saw last night's game and said, hey, we can't have sunglasses being so expensive out of here. So they set out to change that. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company, so they do things their way, something that is a very rare thing in their industry. Shady Rays are premium polarized shades at a fraction of the price of the big name brands. Stop overpaying for sunglasses that you're too afraid to get dirty. Save your dollars and gain peace of mind with the best and most affordable shades for the outdoors. The best part about Shady Rays, you asked, Ty?
Yeah, what's that?
They have the craziest warranty in all of eyewear. Lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your shades on day one, they told us that they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Wow. You drop them in a lake, what? Drop them in an ocean, what? Drop them in anything, what? They'll replace them. Change the way you wear sunglasses and give Shady Rays a risk-free shot. Exclusively for our viewers, Shady Rays is running their deepest deal of the season. Use code McAfee for 50% off 2 or more pairs at shadyrays.com. That's a BOGO, people.
50%.
Yeah. Good. Buy one, get one free. That means you can get 2 pairs for $48. Just go to shadyrays.com and use the promo code McAfee.
You done?
I'm done, Tony.
Thank you, Shady Rays.
Thank you, Shady Rays.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. I am Tone Diggs. Pat is on his way to Madison Square Garden for Smack Dahn tonight. So I will be steering this beautiful, majestic ship for the next hour and 18 minutes.
Let's go.
Until we are done with Channel 82 Mad Dog Radio. Still joining us back after an incredible interview, NCAA champion, Super Bowl champion, current coach of the Columbus County Clemson Tigers, AJ Hawk.
Yeah! What's up, guys? Hey, you guys, why are you wearing different clothes than you were with Staley?
Hey, shut up, dude.
Just a quick change. You know how it
You're
goes.
sweating. All right,
It's hot.
Peek
Andy.
behind the curtain. We did record that yesterday.
What?
No, you don't say.
No way.
How did you feel about the interview?
It was good. I know he's a young up and comer. Like, yeah, everyone that coaches with McVay has like a little McVay/Gruden to him. They sound a little bit like him. Like that whole tree. It's weird how that all plans out. But yeah, they're all over the league now.
So you didn't think? Did you think Connor and I's questions deserved the fuck did you two ask me that for?
I mean, I don't feel like they were crazy questions, were they? Like, what did you ask him?
Well, I just
about being
asked,
coach of the year, right?
I asked about being coach of the year because he's the favorite, and Connor said, "Hey, you know, you and McVay should be friends. You coach together. You're gonna leave little notes around the stadium."
Yeah, talk a little shit. You know, I don't know, but he's such a nice guy, and you know, he's just always locked into just football. I like what he said about the day to day. Did you have any coaches, AJ, that were offensive guys, but then switched to the defensive front when they became a coach?
No, that doesn't really happen a whole lot. Usually if a guy, I don't know. Like it depends. I guess a coach probably has to make a decision. Usually they're coaching either on offense or on defense. I've seen coaches switch around like, okay, he's a tight end coach. at this point, and then a couple years later, he's a D-line coach. That happens. But from being like a college quarterback and then being a defensive coordinator, now you're a head coach. Like, yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Age, we did not talk about it yet on today's show, but it did come out this morning. Cam Newton did a sit-down with his father, correct?
Yeah, it was Cecil Newton at his high school midfield. It was pretty
His
sweet.
production crew is legit.
Very.
Cam has a very high production value in everything he does, I feel like.
So did you get to listen to the whole thing? Did you have any thoughts after listening to it?
I didn't get to listen to the whole thing. I saw some clips, and then I read some of the stuff that he said. Yeah, I mean, not too surprised. I guess it's not the most surprising thing, but yeah, how complicated the Patriots offense is and what Cam was. I know it's getting some hype that he's saying you got to identify the mic and then identify D linemen and where they make there's a lot on the plate of the quarterback. It sounds like.
See, right? I was taken back a little bit by that because I figured every single NFL quarterback that was in their job description to identify those things. Is that like when you were lining up, was it normal that the quarterback was pointing at you or the center was pointing at you?
Everybody's different. Like some teams, the center does it, calls out the mic every time. Sometimes the quarterback does it. I think it depends on who your coordinator is or who your head coach is, and also who your quarterback is. If it's something that the quarterback isn't real comfortable with, then yeah. Or you feel really good about your center, then yeah, you'll have your center do it.
How often do you think that happens with like a veteran guy though? Like it would maybe make sense if like a rookie just coming into the league, but like did Brett Favre, like was he identifying the mic or was the center at the time?
I don't know at the time. Old Scotty Wells was playing center a lot when Brett was there during my time. I'm not sure exactly if Brett or the center was identifying, but I mean Brett had plenty to do at the line of scrimmage. He had a lot of responsibility. I know Aaron does as well. It all just I'm sure coaches would like to maybe put it all on the quarterback, but if you do have a center that's a vet and you trust him a lot, then yeah, you let your center at least identify the mic to start where the protection is going to be.
New England, Connor, what were your takeaways from the...
Nice, Tony. Well, first of all, it's kind of impressive just to think that Cam wasn't doing that for most of his career and he won an MVP and was that successful in Carolina. But also, I think he played with Khalil in Carolina, who's a pretty distinguished center, if I remember correctly. Ryan Khalil, yeah. And then also in New England, David Andrews is pretty damn good as well. He said Mac Jones didn't beat him out and that they knew the perception he would have had if the success didn't come for Mac early. So I kind of understand that. Michael Lombardi mentioned that as well. It's like it's hard to take a 4-star general and make him a corporal and put him behind a rookie QB too. And to his point about like Mac Jones didn't beat him out, those 5 days that he wasn't there, I would say was kind of the turning point. And he played very well in the preseason. He took all the first reps in camp. So I think there is some weight to that where it was like he didn't lose the job per se, but it was just kind of time to hand it over to Mac because he was a first-round pick because of the fact that he kind of over-exceeded expectations, which Cecil Newton also mentioned. Like he was very impressed by Cam. I was surprised.
Cecil.
Cecil, he made a good impression on me. I never really heard him before. But I was surprised about him talking about his little trip to Atlanta that resulted in the 5 days for him to be out of the building because they did end up giving him clearance. I believe he said he was kind of bamboozled by the whole thing because he was going to get a checkup on his foot because he had an old Liz Frank injury. Yeah. So he was getting another set of eyes. And he said in this 43-minute little interview that, he would rather have, not that he didn't trust the Patriots training staff and the personnel they have, but he would rather have, 2 sets of eyes on it, 2 opinions on it. But that didn't really make sense because it wasn't really bothering him. He said it wasn't really a problem at the point. He was just going to get a checkup. So it almost seemed a little unnecessary, but it did surprise me that the New England Patriots told him it was okay because that was a question we had. Like, did he tell them he was doing one thing? Did the Patriots think that if he got tested somewhere that he'd be fine, and then it turns out he wasn't? That was kind of a little bit of a.
Well, Connor, didn't the Patriots even come out and say a while ago like Cam didn't do anything wrong? This is not on Cam.
Yeah, and he actually talked about his meeting with Patricia and Belichick when he got called in.
Yeah, I saw that.
He didn't think he was getting cut. They were telling him like, "Hey, we're going with Mac. We're going to team over to him, and he was basically like, okay, cool. Like, I would definitely be the backup, which he also said in this. Like, he was very comfortable in being the backup, but to his point that, it wouldn't, Mac Jones wouldn't be, comfortable with that, I believe is not his exact words, but kind of the message. So it was kind of stunning, the whole entire thing. He definitely was blindsided by it, which, kind of stinks. But when you spend a first-round pick on a quarterback and the quarterback comes in basically ready to go and learns the offense, that's pretty good. He also made a point, Mac Jones has had 5 months or 4 or 5 months since April kind of to learn this offense. And I don't think I kind of took this into consideration really last year. Like, he came in with 5 weeks to basically get ready for the season, which is wild when you think about everything that the New England offense has and how complex it is. But it seemed like it was pretty amicable. His dad was kind of, not happy with the fact, obviously, that his son wasn't playing for the Patriots anymore, and he kind of felt slighted by it, I would say. But I don't think there was any sort of, fuck New England from Cam Newton at all. It seemed as though, everything was fine there. And also, he said again, I'm still... 32 guys aren't better than me, so it does seem like he hopefully will get a chance at some point and be able to be a starter somewhere. And I think depending on injuries this year, it'll probably make much more sense for him to go into a system that he might be familiar with if a starting guy goes down, and then he can just jump right in.
Well, when does that happen, though? When do you think a team jumps out and actually signs Cam?
Does it take...
It could be in months.
Is it going to take an injury?
Probably.
That's my assumption. And to your point, AJ, it could be months. It could never happen. What happens if for some reason this year there just aren't as many injuries at the quarterback position, or, teams have good backups? I don't know. Right away, everyone thinks about Washington because of the Rivera connection, but it seems like they're pretty comfortable with Heineke too, especially after paying him. Dallas is another place that I heard a lot of people talking about immediately after Cam getting released, but all signs are pointing to Dak and that old line basically having it together. So it's going to be interesting to see. I really don't know if he'll get a shot this year, but even if he doesn't this year, it seems as though he still has that chip on his shoulder, wants to prove that he can still play. So maybe it won't be until next year. Who knows?
Well, I can't wait to hear. I don't know if we ever will hear, though, the Patriots side of all of this. Do you think they'll ever come out and at least even talk about his whole COVID situation and giving him the green light to go do that? Will we ever hear their side?
I don't think
Probably
so.
not. I mean, why would you now after this? Cam did this, this long interview where I'm sure a lot of people thought it was going to be a fuck New England, some sort of tell-all, and he didn't do that. He left kind of things in a good spot. So any rebuttal to this would almost seem like they're trying to get their story. I mean, it just seems like it just leads to a worse place than where it's at right now.
Yeah, and they did bury Ninkovich for a little bit because obviously it was not true that Mac was helping Cam learn the playbook. But I think Ninkovich, what he might have been alluding to is the whole mic in front read as far as, pre-snap checks, essentially. Maybe that's what he was getting at. Maybe he was just making the whole goddamn thing up, which is what they were kind of alluding to, because Cam does say, what could Mac Jones teach me? I've been an NFL quarterback for a while. I've been to the Super Bowl. I've been an MVP. But also learning that he never really had been in an offense where you got to, read the mic, read the front, which Mac was doing at Bama. Maybe that is something that he was kind of not learning from Mac, but kind of understanding it better while watching him, perhaps. Maybe that is some sort of, there's some notes to that, but it doesn't seem like the whole Mac was helping him learn the playbook was valid whatsoever.
What does that even mean, though? What if you're saying someone's trying to teach him the playbook? It could easily be Cam sitting there. He's like, "Oh wait, I thought it was 4 down. Was that 5 down, Mac?" And Mac's like, "Yeah, I was standing back here watching your rep. There was 5 down." It could easily be something like that.
Yeah, and just blitz reads and anything like that. I don't. Obviously, I don't understand how to do that shit either. I'm not an NFL quarterback, but I'm sure it's pretty goddamn complicated. Mac's a cerebral player. That's his whole entire thing. And Cam saying that he's never been in an offense where you got to read the mic or the front, he's obviously a read and react, and he's very fucking good at it. So maybe that's kind of what it is, but shit, I don't know. I hope he gets another chance. I really do. But we'll see.
Well, actually, Mac's girlfriend is the one who's teaching him the playbook.
That's right.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Ipso facto. AJ, did you ever do that where you they had note cards and then they took off an article of clothing for every blitz package that you got correctly?
Oh yeah, that's why I got married young, man, so I could do that. The Packers playbook. Yeah.
I figured you and General Bob were just sitting together doing it, hanging dong.
No, we were not doing that.
AJ, you got it wrong. Take it off, AJ. You're telling me Bobby wasn't doing that to you, Hawk?
He was not. I regret to tell you that was not happening when I was in college playing with General Bob, but I wouldn't put anything past Bob. Maybe he did that with teammates in the NFL.
He did spend some time in New England. Who knows?
That's right. You're right. Did you hear from him at all? He was tweeting up a storm last night. I mean, I assume he was on his 18th old fashioned by the time the game started yesterday.
So every Friday morning I call into Bob's show. It's like I have a little segment that I do with him. So I got to talk to him this morning. They mentioned his co-host listens to the show and watches everything pretty much. So he asked about the old fashions. He's like, "Oh, do you have 3 or 4 old fashions before you went on the show yesterday?" I'm like, "Nah, man. Bob just had one. I didn't have any, unfortunately."
Hey, how is coaching going, by the way?
Yeah, how the Tigers looking?
Tigers a big game this weekend, Sunday. We
Against
have one,
who?
but
Georgia?
We're playing Notre Dame.
Oh, shit. Kelly and the boys looking good.
I just found out too that I'm
will
coaching
massacre your team.
I'm coaching my young kids, my 5 and 4-year-olds flag team now too. So I
Head
realized
coach?
that. Head coach of that flag team. Yeah.
Double duty.
You're gonna have
It's
no
really
time.
though. Hey, but listen, they don't even. My kids, my 2 sons that are playing 5 and 4 years old, like you can give them the ball, they'll run. They played last year. It's 5-on-5 flag football. They're so young, but you give them the ball, and my kids they would run 300 yards out of bounds all the way around the stadium just because they don't want someone to pull their flag. Like they don't really understand the end zone situation and out of bounds.
I can't wait to see your playbook.
Man, dynamic. Like Sark's offense.
Pre-snap motion.
We'll jump into AJ's playbook after the break for hour 3 here on Mad Dog Radio 82. We'll also dive into every single NFL game this weekend, see if AJ likes anything around there.
You guys should listen to me yesterday.
Join us on the other side. Pat McAfee Show, Sirius XM, Channel 82.
Let me tell you a little story about these statistics. Troy Polamalu, okay? Fucking Troy Polamalu. So we had a fake for the Pittsburgh Steelers that was a 100%er. We didn't even have a cancel the goddamn play because it was a 100%er. If we ever end up in this situation, inside the 7-yard line on the left hash, it is a 100%er that the C gap will be wide open and we will just part the C to the left. It'll be a touchdown. 100%er. We're playing in Pittsburgh, the city I grew up in. I grew up in Pittsburgh. I won the punt, pass, and kick. National championship, AJ. National championship, AJ.
Congrats.
AJ, did you ever win the national championship, punt, pass, and kick?
I think I got 3rd or 4th out of 4 at the Nationals.
I'm proud of you, man. Anyways, so we're there in that stadium, okay? A lot of McAfee's in there. A lot of McAfee's in Pittsburgh. I'm going to score my first fucking touchdown, night game, Sunday Night Football, I believe it was, right here, touchdown. We get into that situation, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is really going to happen. We're like on the 6 on the left hash. It's 4th and goal now. Field goal team's jogging on. I'm like, well, fuck, it's about to, I'm ready. I am ready for this to happen. So I get out there. I get down. Vinny's like happy for me. Vinny's like very excited. He's like, let's fucking go. Like Vinny's excited for me at this moment. I'm like, here we go. So I make the call. I forget what it was. So I start saying it, right? And everybody's looking at me like, okay, bright eyes. Here we go. Let's get after it. Offensive linemen are dead ass tired. They do not want to be in the middle of a field goal anyways. So they're just like, all right, I don't give a fuck if you die here, but this should work. Let's get some points. And all of a sudden, I go through my cadence, I call it, I get down, and Troy Polamalu's fucking ass goes ahead for however long his career was at this point. I think it was like 9 years or 8 years at this point. Not a once has he ever gone to this side of the field over here to the left and stood right in the C gap. Never. He lined up exactly where he had lined in film 100% of the time. And then as soon as I got to like the second cadence right before set, he just bounced his little ass right over to the C gap. And I like stopped everything I was doing and I literally just looked at him. And I gave him like a, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, why are you there right now? And then I stood up and said, we are kicking it. We have to kick it. We are kicking this. And then I get down, and Vinatieri kicks it, and I jog off the field. And Chuck Pagano comes running up next to me. He's like, hey, good job. What you see? I said, what did I see? Palamalu just fucking went right into the goddamn C gap. What did I see? What did I see? And he goes, okay, sounds good. Good call then. And good call then. And then Vinatieri's like, hey, way to go, buddy. I'm like, way to go? Are we not going to talk about how big of a fucking asshole Troy Polamalu is for what just happened right there? So that's...
I saw the angel of death waiting for me in the C gap.
It's unbelievable. What, you thought I was going to run him over? No way. He's probably going to strip me and score a touchdown the other fucking... That's Palamalu, bro. That ain't just your backyard football with your son. These are professional fucking athletes. He'd probably jump over the lineman, pick me up, and run me into the other fucking end zone if he wanted to. That's what he would have done.
The hard-hitting safety of his generation, too. I mean, Ed Reed, great cover safety. I don't know that you would have feared him, but...
Ed Reed, I would have feared Ed Reed. Yeah, if I saw Ed Reed in that C gap, absolutely. E.D. Reed, boy, the best safety you ever seen, boy. I ain't doing shit to Ed Reed.
No, Ed Reed would have made the tackle. I'm saying that Polamalu would have shaved years off your life.
Oh, my God. How did you know Red 18 was coming?
Pat, I mean, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you telling that story and just growing the legend. That was about the 18th time I tried it. I was 17 going into that. And, when it doesn't hit, you just keep walking. And nobody ever really tells you about it. So when it hit, I was as surprised as you were. And the reaction from some of the good old folks there in the casino that night was pretty special.
Well, I appreciate you doing that. You made me and those folks in the casino a bunch of money. Congrats on the Hall of Fame nod. Thank you for spending time. Enjoy yourself at the game, Peyton.
Pat, thanks, pal. I appreciate you.
The Sheriff, Hall of Famer, Peyton Manning. Hey, as we get back into society, let's remember... people will punch you in the fucking mouth.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Shot an error is its second.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. I am Tone Diggs, joined by AJ Huck.
Maybe AJ.
That one.
Yeah, and a baby Tony.
Well, as I said, welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. I am Tone Diggs. That's AJ Huck.
There it is.
All the boys are here.
How we doing?
Also got attachment. And because it is Friday, Pat is on his way to MSG for Smack Dahn. This last hour of the Pat McAfee Show, 4th hour today on YouTube, 3rd hour on Sirius XM Channel 82 Mad Dog Radio, is brought to you by Hammer Down. We're going to be rolling through all the games, see if anybody has any opinions on them, making their picks and stuff like that. Excuse me, what?
The lines are ready whenever you want them.
Thank you. The lines are ready. 81833 for McAfee.
Those lines as well.
That's not what he meant.
Both lines.
The
gambling lines, Tony.
Oh,
are now available.
See,
Tony
what we were talking about during the break. You missed a lot, AJ.
You guys doing cocaine over there?
Yeah, that's really
Potentially, and because it is the Hammer Dahn hour.
Watch your heart, man. I know your heart's bad. Well, don't do it.
It's actually been pretty good lately. Give
it a shot then. Get a few lines in.
Thank you. We are joined by the Canadian sensation, the bearded wonder, Bubba Gumpino himself.
Good day. Boys.
AJ, do you have any questions for Gumpy about his COVID stay?
Well, I know he was in his cave for a long time. Like, did you? I know Pat talks about it a lot. Did that isolation? Did that get to you, Gumpy, at some point?
I think a little bit. I mean, I'm in like a 1-bedroom apartment too, so there's not too much, many places I can go, AJ. So
what'd you do the whole time?
I mean, I just sat there and watched sports, bet, and
crack stick.
Yeah. Fucking read some emails, went through the internet. You know how it goes, AJ.
We can't do that. Pat would not want me to do that right now. Let's get to the phone lines to kick this hour
Steelers
off.
shirt, so.
Oh, bopping.
That has what
Big Benny saying.
Yeah. That's a different subject from what Gumpy was talking about.
Oh, your team. I didn't know. I thought I saw the Steelers pop up against the Bills, right? The first line.
That is the very first line. So we can talk about that first. What we didn't talk about with you, though, Foxy's a scumbag. You know what? Connor kind of is, too. Because I don't know if you saw the tweet from Schefter that basically laid out how TJ Watt put his agents in a locker and said, hey, fucking nerds, suit nerds, you get out of my way. Marched into AR2's office and said, hey, I'll play for whatever you want. And then the Steelers said, you know what? We'll make you the highest paid player and we'll give you $80 million guaranteed. And TJ was like, you know what? That's awesome with me too. Let's go win a fucking championship this year.
And then he said before he left.
And then after that he said, and now I'm going to go fucking work out.
So I heard Pat talk about this. I 100% believe that TJ Watt worked out afterwards.
Because you did.
I'm sure he did. But where did Shefty get this exact info from? Was it like, I don't know if TJ would want this out. I know it makes him look like, oh, this is awesome. But when I saw this tweet, I instantly thought of all of you guys. That's all I thought about. Honestly, like, oh, how are they going to take this?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like, I knew that you guys
take it for the truth that it
is.
is. And how did Shefty get it? You ever seen that cartoon where the guy like slides underneath doorways and like up walls and he's secret and he's like sliding around rooms? That's what Shefty is in NFL buildings.
This is as big of bullshit as JJ Watt tackling a guy at a Zach Brown Band concert on stage. I mean, I'm just telling you, this is complete, absolute buffoonery. There's no way this is real. He probably did work out because he is a hard-working player, and he's one of the best in the league. But I just don't see him kicking in the door of the owner's office like, yeah, I don't know what these guys are talking about. This is perfect for me.
I want to play football.
Well, first and foremost, he wouldn't have to kick in the door because that goddamn organization has an open door policy.
Oh, okay. Fair.
No closed doors in this organization. AJ, I assume some of it's slightly fabricated,
maybe just exaggerated a bit. But hey, it's not. TJ didn't do it. TJ didn't put that quote out and say, "Hey, this is what I did."
No. In any of your contract negotiations, did it ever get to a point where you had to be like, "Hey guys, like this is enough. I'm good with this contract," or did you always just leave it up to the agent?
I mean, my agent did most all of it, and I spoke with him throughout anything. But I never did this. Never had to kick down a door or anything like that. Unfortunately, didn't come to that. But I also wasn't becoming the highest paid defensive player in the league either. So
well, they gave you that
TJ.
$150 million contract when you were a rookie.
Correct.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, how big's your house got to be, Hawk? You know, you couldn't just go to your agents. Hey guys, I've done plenty. You know, I'm here for the people. Green Bay now.
Thank you.
That's a good point.
Yeah, well, that's why I signed when I was a rookie. I know Andrew Brandt tells the story I was sweating or something, but yeah, it's because you have morning workouts and you go and they ask you to come upstairs and you sign something. I know Andrew said like, oh, I was all sweaty from working out. Yeah, because I had a 6 a.m. workout that day.
And you're AJ Hawk, okay? Give yourself some credit. That game, though, Steelers are at Bills. The line's 6.5. I'm not going to ask you to pick all the lines because I know you hate doing that.
I don't mind it because, hey, what are you talking about? I said yesterday, I didn't say the Cowboys would win, but I was like, man, 8.5, 9.5 seems like a lot of points to me.
You did.
And, you know.
And it was.
So.
It was.
To be fair.
And it was.
But the Bucks also left, you know,
a lot of points.
Yeah, a lot of points.
That's
out
football,
there.
though, man. That's football. The Cowboys forced those turnovers.
Absolutely.
The Cowboys played well. Dak played unbelievable. I think Amari Cooper was great. I love CD Lamb, and I think the Cowboys O-line held up too, which that may be the toughest D-line they face all year.
I would assume so, especially running the football. Like
Vita Vea. I mean, come on. I see Vita Vea all over Twitter today because yeah, he may not have a ton of stats, but that dude is an absolute game wrecker up the middle.
He was a bull in the china shop. Like that late fourth quarter, like the Cowboys' last drive, 2 plays in a row, he definitely got hold. They called it on the first one. They didn't call it on the second one again. He's an animal. He is a fucking BJ Raji, is that the biggest guy you had in front of you?
Yeah, BJ didn't. I don't think he was as tall as Vita, but BJ, yeah, you talk about just a thick dude who his lower body was so dang powerful. Like, yeah, those guys will help you a lot when you're lined up behind them.
Did you play with the Gravedigger?
I did not play with the Gravedigger, but he was around a little bit. The dude still looks
Gilbert
great.
Brown. Yeah, he weighed like 550 pounds. He was an absolute unit.
With a dark visor, too. Like,
Yeah. All right, we mentioned the game. Do you have any thoughts on the Steelers going to the Bills this weekend?
So I know, aside from all the buildos that may be on the field that may distract the quarterback for the Steelers, I think 6.5 is a lot here too. Like if you're a Steelers fan, I don't know if the Steelers will win, but I don't know. I think it may be closer than 6.5.
Personally, I'm biased. I think that too. Just because of their defense, like their defense has been so good throughout the years. They have playmakers on offense, and I want to see what the offensive line does with two rookies.
Didn't I read something? I know I just saw a headline, but I didn't read it. I thought I saw something that said, like, Big Ben and the Steelers' offense is going to have some growing pains early on. Did they say that?
I would assume so. 2 rookies are starting on the line.
Big Ben came out and said that, AJ. But to your point, especially after last night, 6.5 in the NFL is so much. So I am definitely probably going to take the Steelers here because of the fact that they might have growing pains, but they still do have Big Ben. And we'll see about the offensive line, but Najee already seems to be pretty goddamn good at football. Claypool, Juju, Deontay Johnson, and Freiermuth seems to be a beast as well. And the defense is the defense. And you can't not emphasize enough. That's double negative. You can't emphasize enough how important it is that Mike Tomlin is the head coach of this football team, and the boys are going to be ready to go. We'll see what happens
Also,
with the
on
Bills.
the other side, though, Josh Allen's really, really good.
Very
so
good.
That could happen.
And also, TJ Watt should have some fresh legs just doing like the individual portions of training camp and doing stuff on the side. That dude might feel pretty good coming into this game.
They talked about he might be on a pitch count this weekend because he hasn't done a lot of team.
All outside rushes all the time. That happens.
Yeah, I agree. Pal, you got anything on that one?
Nah, I'm not touching that with a
Just put them in when they throw the ball. Who cares? Be like, TJ, we
I
don't need
agree.
you to stop the run today. Just put them in on passing.
Well, and the best part about it is the Bills didn't really run it all last year. It's really just Josh Allen, and that he's got a great group of receivers too.
And to that point, that they really don't have a rush game as strong as other teams. Josh Allen's plus 105 to score a touchdown. I do
rushing.
rushing.
I was going to say,
touchdown.
what is his rushing over under? Do we know?
I'm not. I assume it's probably like 26 or something.
That might be tasty as well.
Yeah, it might be one rush for Allen.
Well, but the sacks take it away from him, though, right?
I think so.
Sacks take away from your overall rushing yards. Like if your team rushes
28.5.
for 200, your quarterback takes 20 yards of sacks. It's 180.
It does, but it does not take away from his personal, if I remember
it does.
correctly.
Okay, good.
So his over-under is 28.5.
I don't know. If a running back gets tackled behind the line, they take it away.
I know, but I think it. So, and I said this yesterday on the show. I actually like taking quarterbacks' rushing totals over when they're playing a good defensive line, because if they're playing a bad defensive line, they're just going to sit in the pocket all day and throw. But if they're flushed out a bunch, then there's a chance that he will have to run, and he is a great athlete.
Yeah, we see Josh. I mean, Josh Allen. You talk about a superstar. That dude. Every clip I see, he's like doing. He does the old Brett Favre trick where he runs in front of people and acts like there's a ball coming. Ooh, Brett Favre did that every day in practice. I see Josh Allen doing that, like, and getting guys too, and see him dance with his teammates. Like, he seems like they absolutely found their guy in Buffalo.
Honestly, so the Bills kind of remind me of the Steelers when Ben came into the league, because when Ben came into the league, they had a great defense. And then they kind of let Ben grow, and he got better and better, obviously. Josh Allen kind of a very, very similar thing. Like, he came in, the Bills had a great defense, and now he's just continuing to grow as a quarterback. The next game is Jets at Panthers. Jets are plus 3.5, Panthers minus 3.5, over under 44.5. I said that I'm going to need to see these teams play football before I do anything here, AJ.
I mean, 2 new starting quarterbacks for both teams. I saw Crowder is out for the Jets,
Yeah.
so that's one less weapon for Zach Wilson to throw to. This game's a toss-up for me. I don't know. I have no idea what the Panthers are. And the Jets should be better, but how much? I don't know.
They were dead last in the league in offense last year. So you would think
better than that.
You would think with the floor coming in, They might be a little bit better there, but I'm going to need to see these two teams play.
Yeah, I'm taking the Panthers strictly off the revenge game and the fact that it's Matt Rule's second season, and also Robbie Anderson. Bobby Anderson revenge game plus 170 to score a touchdown. So I like the Panthers.
Is C.J. Mosley playing for the Jets?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's going to help, but still, you look at like their secondary.
Yeah, they got like 6 rounders in their secondary. McCaffrey's back, Rule's second year. I know Zach Wilson could be good, but this Jets team is bad.
AJ, are revenge games a thing for players?
I think so, yeah. Players, absolutely. I don't know how much for like Sam Darnold it will be, especially since it's a new staff and everything, or at least coaching staff. It's a thing, yeah, but sometimes it can become a thing to where it's a detriment to players when all they care about, man, I'm gonna prove these guys wrong. Like I'm gonna show them they shouldn't have got rid of me, and then you go out there and you're overthrowing people and doing stuff that you normally don't do.
Yeah, like this year, I think we find out if Sam Darnold is Ryan Tannehill or he's just not a good quarterback because of Adam Gase and going to. I mean, Joe Brady was incredible in college. I assume his offense will translate into the NFL, and it did a little bit last year. So I think we'll find out about Sam Darnold this year.
I'm excited. I want to see Sam. I want to see both those quarterbacks play. That's what makes it an intriguing game. That Jets-Panthers game would normally you wouldn't. If you're not a Jets or Panthers fan, you wouldn't really care to tune in too much. I absolutely want to see this one.
Correct. The next one is actually the most lopsided betting game of the season so far and of the weekend. Jags are -3 going to Houston, over under 45.5. The Jags are getting 80% of the bets, and they have 95% of the money are on the Jags and Urban and Trevor Lawrence this weekend. I thought their preseason performance may prevent this from happening. It has not. The people are just very, very down on the Texans. How do you feel, H?
Well, the quarterback situation, sure. But I guess when you look at what they did, though, in the offseason, they made some good moves. They brought some guys in that they needed to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people may be sleeping on them a little bit just because of everything happening. I'm not saying they're going to be a great team, but I think they could very well beat the Jaguars.
Personally,
I like Houston.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like Houston.
Fucking Money Mitt's back there on Houston money line, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah. Big
Coach,
time Houston money line here.
Tough one, right? Was that a tough one for you last night? You think the Cowboys were going to pull through?
Yeah, I actually got my heart fucking broken when they didn't go for it on that 4th and 6. I just knew you're giving Brady the ball with a minute and change. All he has to do is get a field goal. You're fucked.
Yeah, I think a lot of people felt that way.
King has returned.
Connor, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I'm also going to take Houston just
The king
because,
has returned.
especially because of how much money's coming in on the Jags. This feels like damn near last night. Everyone's
Especially
on one side.
They're on the road with a rookie
quarterback.
On the road.
with a rookie head coach in the NFL.
Houston's got, a pretty rowdy fan base. AJ, I don't know if you can speak on that if you played in Houston. And also,
Do you think they'll still show up?
Tyrod
Probably
Taylor's
week
no
one.
slouch. Yeah, they'll still show up. It's been so long. They haven't been able to go to the stadium. They'll definitely be there. And I don't know if you saw this, AJ, but there were a few people who ranked coaches on the hottest seats. In his first game ever, people were putting Coach Dave as the hottest seat in the NFL, him already fighting for his life as a head coach in the NFL. So I will take the Texans. And, I probably will be sitting here on Monday saying, hey, I was wrong. I should have stayed away. But we'll see. Coach Dave might have those boys buzzing.
Mark Ingram, too. Who knows? I mean, it just feels like Mark Ingram might have 120 rush yards on
stable.
Sunday.
David Johnson still there.
Yeah.
Fucking, what's his name?
Has anyone ever stepped into a tougher job than Coach Dave with the Houston Texans this year?
Tough.
Well, after they hired him, they told him that he was just keeping the seat warm for Josh McCown, too. That probably didn't help.
Yeah, I would say nobody has ever been in a worse situation than Coach
I guess, though,
Dave.
it's expectations, managing expectations. No one expects anything. People don't, like you said, they're saying he's on the hot seat and he hasn't coached a game yet. Okay, I'd say that you win a few games, you may open some eyeballs.
I think the best part for him is a lot of people just blame Easterby and
McNair.
So
the bad thing too is if you polled 1 million Americans, how many of them could tell you the head coach of the Houston Texans right now?
37.
Yeah, maybe. And you just
a lot of them talk about Easterby though.
Yes,
exactly.
I know.
And you just said, AJ, like if they win a couple games, like who knows? But like, what is a successful season? Would you say for the Texans, like 4?
That's
like
what their
4
over
wins?
under is.
4?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say 6, but you have a hard time feeling good about 6 wins. Maybe if you knock off a few really good teams late in the year, then you can at least take some of that momentum into the offseason. But yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle for those guys.
It is. Poor Tyrod too.
Yeah, poor Tyrod.
Well, he's gonna get the start.
He's going to get a start.
His team.
Interesting game. Very, very interesting game. Cardinals at Titans. Titans are -3 at home. Obviously, they had Julio. They lose their offensive coordinator to Atlanta. Can't think of his name.
Artie Jones.
Artie Smith.
Friend of the show.
As you said last year, AJ, their defense was not good at all. Cardinals added some pieces. Does that make a difference? J.J. Watt, A.J. Green, it would have made a huge difference 5 years ago. I don't know if it does now. Any opinion on that one?
Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals, adding Julio will be interesting to see. I guess it depends how well Kyler plays and if Tennessee's defense is better. Are they going to be improved from last year? I think Tennessee's offense, we know, like they're going to pound it with Derrick Henry and let Tannehill open up a little bit and play action. Hopefully take some shots down the field to Julio, get the crowd base, get everyone going a little bit early. But I don't know, like that's another game. Like there's a lot of intriguing matchups. Usually there's matchups week one, like whatever. Like I'll check the score later. Like you don't care.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of these games, like I really want to see them.
Yeah, I mean, everyone keeps talking about Julio Jones. People forget that A.J. Brown's going to be on the other side of him.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be a problem.
Good luck. Yeah, good luck for your DB, especially if you have, like, one of your starting DBs go down, like Tampa had last night. One of your starting corners goes out. Like, good luck, man.
I know Gumpy has an opinion on this one.
Yeah, I love Tennessee. I just don't know what Kyler Murray in Arizona is. If they are good, let's see what you got. I think Tennessee is better than they were last year. Like I said, Dupree, that defense gets better. I think they win this by at least a touchdown.
You all right, pal? You sound a little stuffy.
I think I'm with you. I'm with you, Gump, on this.
Thanks, AJ. I'm recovering from COVID. Tony.
Come on, Tony.
You don't have long COVID, do you?
Let's hope not.
Did you say long COVID?
Yeah, and long COVID where it affects you like way down the line.
Is it like long cut, like skull?
Might be some still trapped in the beard. Breathing in those particles.
Nah.
I'm surprised you didn't have to shave that, Gump. Like a doctor didn't call you, Dr. Oz or someone didn't call you and say cut that off.
Yeah, unfortunately, Dr. Oz doesn't have my phone number.
The Canadian Dr. Oz didn't call you?
Did we have him on?
Yeah, we did. He also has some thoughts on COVID, but
we had Dr. Oz on the show?
Yeah, you remember. You were there.
him, didn't you?
Dr. Oz.
Dude, this was during COVID. Like,
You're talking Dr.
Drew.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think we had
Never had
Dr.
Dr.
Oz.
Oz.
Did we?
No.
No.
Which I know had some thoughts. That was my booking, by the way, too. Dr. Drew.
Yeah.
Real
We
nice.
know.
Back to football.
Shout out Tom Segura for helping me out.
Julio Jones, nice. Julio Jones, humble brag, plus 120 to score a touchdown. I like that a lot. I think I'll definitely take that. Hopkins is minus 110. If anything, I see points. So I also like the over 53.5. To Guppy's point, the Cardinals, you really don't know who they are on a week-to-week basis, but you got to think Cliff Kingsbury has some sort of, thought about these plays if he is an offensive guru. So we'll see, but I like the over, especially because you really don't know if the Titans are just going to come out and absolutely dog wash these guys.
I believe the Titans were the best over team in the league last year because obviously their offense is great, defense stunk.
Yeah, and now with adding Julio, I don't see that really changing. So those are kind of the three picks I'm looking at right now.
We'll do two more games, then we'll go to a break, and then we'll finish after that. Eagles are in Atlanta, -3 for the Falcons, over under 48.5. We have Sirianni versus Artie Jones, so it's going to be an interesting rookie head coach matchup.
Hell yeah.
We've talked about this, how some of these, like, I have of all the games, like, this might be the game where I have no fucking clue what these teams are going to be like, Age.
I mean, I just wonder what Sirianni's going to say to the team the night before the game.
He might be here,
Team meeting. What would he say?
Listen, okay, you guys have put in the work to be in this situation that we find ourselves in. You guys are going to go out tomorrow. You're going to compete. You're going to play hard. You're going to be physical, and you're going to have fun. But I think there is a very good chance that the Atlanta Falcons come out and beat the living fucking piss out of us. I hope that's not the case, but there's a possibility. Just go out and compete. Compete one time for me. I like the Falcons. I think the Falcons.
Me too.
I'm going to take the Falcons.
After hearing that, I like the Falcons.
Like that one, though, I'm excited to see what Jalen Hurts does. I'm excited to see what Kyle Pitts does. I'm excited to see what Ridley does without Julio there. Like,
I think the Falcons are going to be better than a lot of people expect
absolutely.
this year, too.
I say that.
Yeah.
People sleep on the Falcons, man. I think their defense can definitely improve, and I think Matt Ryan can still play, and Pitts should add another element to that offense.
We also say every single year, we say, oh, people are sleeping on the Falcons. This is the year. And then every year they just get their shit pushed in.
You say that because you're a Falcons alumni, Age, or?
It might be, yeah. I'm a little biased. I spent about 22 days.
Yeah, exactly. I knew it. Mike Davis minus 115 to score a touchdown.
Mike Davis had a really
lot.
good season last year when McCaffrey went down for the Panthers. I believe he had 1,000 yards, so he'll actually get a chance as the go-to running back in Atlanta. And you know that Artie Jones loves to run the football, so that'll be awesome.
Hey, you remember Tolbert? Remember when Tolbert was in Carolina?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, he's fun to tackle. That dude's lower body weighs about 230. Like, he was so stout and just
he was
what a meathead.
He was 5'5" by 5'5", AJ. Like,
I know. Those are the toughest guys to tackle. Hey, you got to go low. Okay, cool. When I go low, my neck breaks and he bounces off of me. What do I do now?
Tony.
Yo.
How do we feel about Jalen Hurts passing prop?
What is it?
236.5.
Under.
236. I like that over.
Does the total not seem low at 48.5? Like, these defenses aren't great.
I don't know. So, like, Sirianni comes from the Colts. You would think that, and Frank Reich, like, they like to run the ball. I think they're going to run the ball a lot. I don't fucking know, dude.
You have no idea what Sirianni's going to do. He didn't call plays for the Colts. Like, what the fuck?
Who's calling? Is he calling the plays for Philly?
I have no idea.
We got to see who their OC is. Who is their OC?
It's a good question. I honestly have no idea.
Not positive. I'd probably take the Hurts throwing prop, though, if anything, because if they go down early, then they're going to have to sling the ball to get back. And with Artie Smith, Artie Jones, because of the fact that you haven't heard much from them this offseason, I feel like that's a really good thing, especially in comparison with MCDC and the Sirianni noise. I think Staley also falls into that category. It's just all kind of quiet on those fronts, which is good news. So I think the Falcons probably at 3 is the number to look for, especially with what Lombardi said earlier in the month, or I guess that was in August, but about the depth with the Eagles. Like, if someone goes down like Scantling did last night for the Bucs in the secondary, or really anywhere,
well, also dudes getting tired in the week one.
Exactly.
Do you see how much they were sweating last night before the game?
Those dudes some guys were cramping up. Everything. It seemed pretty humid down there. Well, it rained all day, right?
Yeah.
All right. Last game, then we'll take a break.
By the way, Eagles OC is the old Chargers one. He used to call plays back in the day. Shane Stitchen.
So I wonder if he's calling the plays or is Sirianni. We'll see.
I've never heard of him.
Gonna find out.
Chargers, who we just had on, head coach today, Brandon Staley. Great guy. Answered all the good questions. Chargers at football team. Football team was a 1-point underdog. They are now a 1.5-point favorite at home. I actually have a pick in this one. I'm going to take the first half under 23.
Wow.
4 new starters on the Chargers O-line. They didn't play at all in the preseason.
But one new one is Corey Linsley at center, who's an all-pro stud too. So I wouldn't count him as like a newbie.
I know. I'm just saying, like, continuity, like them playing together.
That's very important. You're right.
Versus a team we saw last night, and then the football team's D-line, potentially the best D-line in the entire NFL. So they're going to have to deal with that early. So I didn't want to take it full game because I think Herbert Chargers may find their stride in the second half. So I wanted to go to first half. Washington football team was 31st in the league in offense last year. Obviously, they bring in Fitzpatrick and they bring in some weapons and they get Antonio Gibson back.
Curtis Samuel is out.
Curtis Samuels went to the IR today. So I just think it's going to be a lower scoring first half. So I went first half under the 23. And for that reason, I may also take the Washington football team in the first half too, just to
Who
see
do you think is going to win the game, though?
I don't know.
Washington. It's got to be Washington.
I think it's going to be very close, to be honest.
It's another prove it. Like the Chargers, everyone said it was the coaching, it was this, it was that. Prove that it was. Washington, we know their defense is great. Their offense should be better with Fitzmagic. I think Washington wins this game here.
What do you think, Age?
Yeah, it definitely feels like Washington. Maybe for some reason, I think Herbert's going to find a way. He may get some pressure early, but I feel like they're going to have to, with Staley and what they're doing, they know they're going to have to get rid of the ball quick, most likely, especially in the first half. I think the Chargers find a way to win, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, I am also with Age on this one. Derwin James coming back, Bosa healthy. If anything, might be the most healthy they'll ever be.
Those are another good reasons why I'm taking the first half under.
Yeah, and with what you've heard about Rashawn Slater, it sure sounds like he's no slouch either because he's been standing up Bosa in practice pretty consistently. So I think with Herbert figuring it out, Keenan Allen and the boys, they lost Hunter Henry, but I think that's it. No Eckler. I don't think, but
No.
that hasn't
No,
been updated yet. Hasn't been confirmed at least.
Rap
So-
said he thought he might go.
Yeah, so I'm going to ride with Herbert in the healthy Chargers defense.
Anything here?
Nah, I don't know. I like your the under bet in the first half for sure.
Well, it's
I do
also
like that.
23, and the total for the game is 44.5. So if you go 23 and 23, that should be 46. You're getting a little value there on the first half under. When we come back, we're going to go through the rest of the games on the weekend. There's some good ones.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
some good ones.
Still,
We're getting
I
some
mean-
good ones. We'll also take your phone calls. Quit fucking smirking at me, AJ, you motherfucker.
I'm not smirking, man.
We'll be back. Pat McAfee Show, Sirius XM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Radio. Come on back.
A former Celebrity Jeopardy champion, ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, I've missed you guys.
We've missed you too, man. Where are you? Are you out in the woods somewhere right now? Where are you?
Yeah, I'm in a log cabin out here.
Have you been doing this since the end of the season? How'd the Jeopardy thing come? How'd you film it? How'd it go? And is that your first time you were kind of back in cell service?
Yeah, pretty much. I did some quarantine during the off season, early parts. The missus was filming up in Montreal, so I was, Quebec has some strict quarantine rules, so I was in quarantine for a few weeks, and then went out to LA and filmed the 2 weeks of Jeopardy, had a blast, and then back for some more quarantine. And now, the off season feels like it's just beginning now.
Okay, good. Well, congratulations on everything happening. Let's talk about the Jeopardy job. Did you watch the other hosts as well, what they were doing potentially that you would want to do differently? How did the whole film study go?
I haven't watched an episode since Alex. Okay. I didn't really want to be influenced at all by the other guest hosts.
Smart.
And how they did things. For me, it was taking a lot of notes and figuring out, exactly what Alex did and wanting to do him justice, his memory justice by being as prepared as possible when I got on the show.
The hair, though, was there a thought potentially, Jeopardy, for you to cut it? Did anybody say, hey, maybe we cutting the hair? Was that conversation? Because I'll tell you, whenever I was going to have to go to court after the public intoxication, a lot of talk about me potentially cutting hair. Didn't do it. I would assume for you, potential same thing with Jeopardy, being Jeopardy and all that.
I thought about it. I also thought about shaving to a mustache to honor Alex, but my hair wasn't long enough that I couldn't do something with it. I felt like we had a nice little comb over going, and I just decided to go with kind of my usual, a little bit of some stubble going and not the neck beard. Sorry, Andrew Luck, but I decided to kind of clean that up a little bit. But there was conversation. I think there might have been some people that wanted me to shave to the skin. I don't do that a whole lot. If that was a prereq to get the full-time gig, no problem with it at all. No problem at all. And
Whoa. Did you just campaign potentially for the full-time gig right there? You loved doing it, didn't you? You enjoyed the hell out of your time doing Jeopardy? Hold on, you lost service in the middle of the woods wherever the hell you are, whether it's in Canada, here, or in America, on the films. You would love to do Jeopardy more, you say?
I would love to be the host of Jeopardy, yes.
And I hope you get it, dude.
Give it to him.
The guy wants it.
Come
He's
on.
good at everything. He'll shave his face.
Come on. Thanks, buddy. Miss you guys. Love you guys.
Hey, miss you, love you, man.
Love you
Aaron
too.
Rodgers.
Say football for me.
Football. 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 Football.
I play football. I play football. I play football. I play football.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. I am Tone Diggs. I do not know how to play a bumper, so there's none of that going on right now. AJ, I saw you right there. Were you just sucking up all the ash off your desk?
Yeah,
or
scrambling.
I figured Zito would cut to me. I vacuum up my little ashes that I drop on my little desk all the time.
Do you have an ashtray up there? You just spit on the floor and fucking piss on the floor?
Yeah.
All that.
No, I am not disgusting like that. I try to keep things very tidy.
Do you have like a big ashtray, or like you keep it
like a bucket?
Or here, it's a bucket.
Oh, wow! Is that like an award you won at some point, and you're just like, I'll just use it as an ashtray?
No, it's a real ashtray, man. That's the good thing. When people know you smoke cigars, that's all you get for gifts, for Christmas, for birthdays, everything.
That stinks.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for the ashtray.
I'd
Merry
say
Christmas.
it's probably all you want, though.
Yeah, hey, I'm like, hey, this is something I consistently do. Thank you very much.
Is that a Ghostbusters t-shirt?
Oh, it's an eagle and a flag, dude.
Oh, well, I couldn't see the eye. I couldn't see the eye. Well, that's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I know. Not in the air tomorrow. Look at Ty. I see Ty looks like as a New York firefighter right now.
That's the goal.
Respect, honor, especially with that stash. I mean, jeez.
That's his number one hat. His number two hat, he has the fucking old school RCA hat, which is just absolutely.
I'll be wearing that on Monday. I only wear this once a year.
Respect.
Mm-hmm. So it kind of stinks that I won't be able
Have
to
you
wear
guys
it
seen that show
tomorrow.
on Netflix? That details 9/11.
My brother-in-law was telling me about it yesterday. He said like the first minute of the show was just too much to handle, so he turned it off.
It's brutal. I've watched like the 1.5 episodes. Man, yeah, it's terrible.
Is it
They
five?
show,
Like 5 episodes?
I think so. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, they show like when people are jumping. Oh, yeah, it's a crazy. Yeah, it's awful to watch, but it's interesting to see all the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, just terrible. Anyways, let's keep moving with the games this weekend. People are loving your takes, AJ. What?
I saw the Lions seem to be a heavy dog, and when you popped that up quickly.
So it was 7.5. It's been 7.5 all week. The Lions have been plus 7.5. I think as soon as that game ended last night, people started paying attention to this weekend's game. And they were like, oh, the Lions stink. The Niners are supposed to be good. Let's start taking the Niners. I am one of those idiots. I think the Lions are terrible. I think so the Niners were top 5 in passing defense and rushing defense last season. And they're only going to get better. They got Bosa back.
Yep.
They got everyone back on their D-line. Like, they're not going to get worse. And Foxy said it earlier, the Lions have almost no weapons. So I think they're going to have a hard time scoring against the Niners. And I think the Niners, with Kittle, Debo, Ayuk, their offensive line, their slate of running backs, I think the Niners are probably going to be all right this week.
And where's this game played?
It's in Detroit.
In Detroit. And I said about the
Which
Bills,
scares
Steelers,
me a little bit.
like, hey, I'm going to stay away from big spreads. I'm going to go up to 13.5 again with the Niners. I get it. And, like, T.J. Hawkinson, unbelievable. They got Fred Warner, who can cover slot receivers. So it feels like the Niners are the obvious pick, and that was with the Bucs last night, and that was very wrong. But I'm going back to the obvious pick with the Niners and Kyle Shanahan after an offseason. Again, should probably have some tricks up his sleeve and a healthy Mostert, Trey Sermon. There's just no way you can justify, for me at least, taking the Detroit Lions at plus 8.5.
Well, and I think the Lions are nothing like the Cowboys, so I actually
Correct.
do like boosting that up to about 13.5 and letting it ride.
At least
and,
last night you knew going in, the Cowboys had incredible weapons on offense.
Yeah.
I
Lions.
think Goff is going to be scared for his life going against that D-line. He's going to look like Foxy in the free weight section of a gym.
That's
Just petrified.
Niners defense does know. AJ, how about this? So, who is the advantage here? Goff going up against the Niners defense that he's gone against twice for the last however many years, or the Niners defense who knows exactly what bothers Goff?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Niners defense has the advantage. I think also playing in Detroit, you're playing on that fast field turf. Nick Bosa, good luck blocking that dude off the edge. That would not be a fun proposition.
How big of a loss is Salah for those guys? Do you think they kind of pick up like where they kind of left off, or does that kind of change a lot not having him on the sideline anymore?
I mean, I think it definitely changes things. They obviously had a ton of trust in him, but D'Amico Ryans is their new D coordinator. He was there with Salah. He played. He was an unbelievable player in the league for a long time. So I don't think it's going to be a huge loss. I mean, the one thing they can't lose there is their head coach, Kyle Shanahan, who calls the plays. That's the most important position right there for that team other than the quarterback position. So as long as Shanahan's there, they're going to be all right.
All right. Next game. Or you got anything on that, pal?
Yeah, Niners. I like Trey Sermon anytime touchdown plus 155.
He looked really good in the.
Yeah, I love Trey Sermon. He was
me up.
awesome at Ohio State. I forgot San Fran even got him, to be honest.
In this city, Seattle is a favorite on the road here. It was announced or confirmed today. Carl Wentz will be the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday. They're 3-point home puppies. I'm going to need to see what the Colts offense. I'm going to need to see what Wentz looks like. Is he Wentz from the last few years, or is he Wentz from 2017? Because that's going to be a big difference.
Yeah, of course. But what is Seattle going to be with all their offseason stuff they had with Russell and line? Like what are they going to look like? How has Seattle gotten better? I guess other than hiring a new offensive coordinator.
They got Carson back. That's about it. I mean,
Jamal Adams was banged up quite a bit last year. He's healthy now.
Defense.
DK Metcalf is 1 year older, bigger, faster, and stronger.
Boom. And to your point, AJ, about the offensive coordinator Shane Waldron, he was coaching at my high school 10 years ago, and they went 5-3 and had one of the worst offenses in the league. So I just want to throw that out there. Take it as it is. Okay.
Hey, you heard JB say though. JB said it's about the Jimmies and Joes, not the X's and the O's, right?
Exactly. That's why I'm taking Seattle -3 because it's Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson always
I
finds
take
a way.
Seattle too, actually.
Yeah.
I'm with you on this one, Connor. I got Seattle too.
Let's roll.
Is it because you don't know about Wentz? I mean, because obviously the Colts have a really good defense.
Yeah, I think we're so up in the air on what Wentz is going to be. How does his foot feel? How comfortable does he feel out there? Quentin Nelson, I'm sure, will be fine no matter how busy you cut his foot off. He'll still have a good game.
No TY.
No TY. Yeah, I mean, there's so much unknown. I guess that's what makes these first couple weeks of the season fun because there's just a lot up in the air that we're not really sure. Even the head coaches of these teams don't know how their teams will respond once they hit a little adversity.
Yeah.
All right. Vikings -3 at the Cincinnati Bengals +3. Cincinnati does have those pesky out-of-context footballs that they're going to have to deal with on Sunday. Both teams had bottom 3 defenses last year. Obviously, the Vikings had a really, really good offense. There's no way Zimmer lets that defense happen 2 years in a row, right?
You would think not, right? Especially it's his old team too. He was DC for Cincinnati for a while, so he wants to go in there. I mean, Zimmer just has been so pissed for the last year. I feel
a lot of dissension in the ranks.
So much frustration.
Yeah, I trust the over more than either of the teams just because, I mean, Zach Taylor threw the ball 60 times with Burrow, like I think 3 games while he was healthy last year. And also Kirk, Dalvin Cook, Thielen, Jefferson. It seems like there'll be points on the board, but, who knows? Because to your point, you really just have no idea what these teams are.
The Bengals do have weapons, though. If Jamar Chase works out, he was a top 5 pick.
I hope he catches a few balls early on for him, for the Bengals, everybody.
They tried doing that in Burrow's one throw in preseason. They tried throwing a quick screen. T. Higgins,
an easy completion early on didn't work out that way. Yeah.
T. Higgins was really, really good his rookie year.
Yep.
Tyler Boyd's always good. They have Joe Mixon. I think there's going to be a lot of points.
Defense.
Bengals
Uzuma at the tight end. You guys aren't counting on.
Bengals were covering machines before Burrow got hurt. That's my only thing here.
I like Dalvin Cook to score 2+ touchdowns +310. I think he's going to have a big.
Who's on the Bengals defense? They brought in Hendrickson. That was a good pickup.
They also brought in Mike Hilton from the Steelers, who was an incredible slot corner.
Safety.
They paid Sam Hubbard too at the end. Gave him a deal.
DJ Reader was a big-time signing last offseason, but didn't get to play because he got hurt in October, so he basically missed the entire season. He'll be back.
And then Jesse Bates is the safety.
Jesse Bates, that's who it is, yeah. So they got some guys.
Let's see what the Bengals are. Let's see how old Joey B looks.
Here's one. Here's a good one. Dolphins at Patriots. Patriots are -3. Mac Jones versus Tua Tagovailoa. Tagovailoa. Is that how?
I believe, yeah.
Tagovailoa.
Oh, okay.
But what about that one guy who wrote
Tonga?
Schefter
Check the
that
letter.
letter?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that guy, so never mind.
Yeah. Hey, you don't have to ask me. I mean, you know where I stand on this, please. I mean,
I think Patriots win, Patriots cover on this one.
Me too, AJ.
Yeah. What do you think, Gump?
I'm intrigued to see what the Dolphins look like. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea.
Hopefully Tua doesn't just lay an egg. Like, they need Tua to have a good game, whether they win or lose. They need some hope out of that position.
So this is the thing. The way they've kind of redesigned their offense is everything's motion. They're moving everything. If Bill, shuts him down, keep that offense going. Like I've said this a million times. Give Tua the year and let's see what the hell we got. You drafted the guy for a reason.
You also went and got Will Fuller, and he's not going to play for the first couple weeks. So you got to wait till he's in the offense too. Where it's
Tua's going to have weapons with Fuller and Devontae Parker.
I mean, Waddle looked awesome. He's flying around like
Gillespie,
Skaskins.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Patriots are going to be way better than they were last year. Patriots defense, they got all their guys back.
Yeah, my biggest thing just with the Patriots is that they're not going to have their starting left tackle, and basically all words out of camp have been about Mac Jones, but when they do talk about the defense, they talk about how it should be a top 5 defensive line, top 5 pass
and the
rushers.
O-line's fucking top 5 probably.
Yeah, O-line's very good.
And
Judon.
this matchup, too, historically, the home team covers and wins.
Yeah.
That's just how this matchup has gone forever.
Yeah,
so.
we lose in Miami. Miami loses in New England. And hopefully that remains the same because I will not be able to sit here in a Carl Wentz jersey on Monday. I will rip it off and I will go toss
is there a bet? You guys have a bet going on?
Yeah, me and Pat
Pat
do. If the Seahawks and Pats cover, he's wearing my Mac Jones jersey. If neither of them do, I'm wearing the Carl Wentz blue, disgusting for the shoe jersey that reeks of puke.
And you know what? To celebrate that and to celebrate the first NFL weekend of the football season, personally, as a show, we should probably give something away.
Oh.
What are you thinking?
I don't know.
Come on, Tony.
What do you got, Tony?
Put your money where your mouth
That's
is.
right, Tony. You can't back out now.
When did I say it was my money?
Well, it was Hammer Don.
Hammer Don's
Hammer
money.
Don's money.
Oh,
The
Hammer
money.
Don's. That's fine if it's Hammer Don's money, not my money.
Well, I was thinking Hammer Don could just, give like a jersey of the team of whoever wins whatever contest you're cooking up in that big brain of yours.
We do a jersey. We could also do
Yeah, say it, Tony.
$10,000.
What?
Oh!
Yeah.
A stack of high society.
A stack of high society.
Oh my gosh.
I have
Christ.
stack of high society.
Okay. Hey, you said it.
Yeah, that's on you.
Zeke, do you have a?
I have a graphic for you.
Put it up.
Go ahead.
Use hashtag PMS Feel Good Friday.
Woo.
Hashtag PMS Feel Good Friday. The winner's going to give away $10K. Now we're going to decide how we pick the winner.
Yeah, how do you win?
You definitely use the hashtag.
Definitely use the hashtag.
Good start.
Maybe a photo of you watching and maybe just like their favorite bet of the weekend and pick one of who.
Favorite bet of the weekend.
We'll just randomly select one that hits.
That hits.
Or should we do like a score? Like you got to get the score close.
That's very hard.
It's 10. It's a stack of high society.
Stack of high society, but it's Feel Good Friday, so we don't want to make it too hard. Just hashtag PMS Feel Good Friday.
Take a picture of yourself feeling good.
Take a picture of yourself feeling good and your favorite bet of the weekend.
Maybe to Gumpy's point, maybe we do 2. Maybe you got to do 2 picks.
Yeah. Two picks.
Yeah, especially because there are 18
Do
games
we have to
this
get them
weekend?
right?
Yeah, you got to get the spreads right, of course.
Okay, against the spread.
2-game parlay.
There it
Two-game
is.
parlay.
Yeah.
Boom.
Hashtag PMS Feel Good Friday.
Has to be the spread. No money lines out there.
No money lines.
No money
No,
line.
no, 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 no.
You call the money line. You do not play the money line.
That's right.
Against the spread.
Hell yeah.
All right, so you pick 2 games against the spread. You win those 2 games, and you use hashtag PMS Feel Good Friday. You will have a chance at winning $10K.
Wow. Wow. This is a feel-good Friday.
How do we know, though? How do we know that you guys just aren't going through and picking your buds that nobody knows and giving them $10,000?
Well, because
Why would
many
we-
times, AJ,
And
we
you're
have
taking part of that profit.
we have shown how we pick this, and Zito puts in the hashtag, and
It's very
fucking
scientific. You're right.
Yeah.
I know.
Also, we don't want to give our buddies
Yeah.
$10,000. We want them to lose.
Yeah, I
pal.
fucking-
But you want to give them 10 though if you have a deal where you get 5 of it.
That's
Well, not
how it
everyone's a
works,
huge sack of
dude.
shit like
That
you,
doesn't
AJ,
even
and is only
cross our
thinking about
mind,
how
you
they
know.
benefit from
How much
this
money do you
discussion.
give
Father's
the,
looking right at me.
Yeah, you're goddamn right.
How much money do you give the refs when you're coaching on the weekends?
Maybe I should try that. Maybe that'll help me out. I
Hey,
should.
let my
They don't-
son put the crown of his helmet through that other fucking kid's jaw, okay?
I'll sign a jersey and
Hey,
give
do
it
you
to
know what
you.
I was thinking with your end zone problem?
Yeah.
With
For my young kids?
with the 4 and 5-year-olds. Do you ever play electronic football where you just turn on the electricity and the football players on the field just fucking buzzes around?
Of course.
Just put dog collars on the kids' necks and an electric fence around the field, and then they won't leave it.
Yeah, by like week 4 or 5 after they've gotten shocked 100 times, they will probably figure it out, right?
It is effective. My dog is currently doing it, and he is getting it. He understands it very well now.
Okay, I'll send that out in the email to all the parents. I'm sure they'll be on board.
Hey, baby, AJ.
All right, before we
Toughen
move on.
him up.
Hold on, I got one question for AJ while we're still on spreads here.
No, go ahead.
What do you think about the Ohio State game tomorrow, AJ? Minus 14.5 against the Oregon Ducks.
Doesn't that seem a bit high for?
It does.
Like, this is supposed to be like a big blockbuster matchup.
Well, they lost the potential number 1 overall pick, D-end. I'm pretty sure he's out with a high ankle, but it still does feel like that's a lot. Because their defense
last one was 13.5, right?
Yeah, against Minnesota, and you would think that Oregon's better than Minnesota, even though it's home versus on the road.
Yeah,
that place is going to be
Minnesota.
rocking.
Thibodeau's not playing, is he?
He's not playing,
so.
and also Fresno State kept it pretty close.
Yeah.
With
Where the Ducks looking ahead.
Yeah. Big noon kickoff is here. It's a big weekend here for Ohio State, the home opener.
Are you going, AJ? You
gives a
got
shit
your
about that game?
coat ready, your Letterman?
My Letterman check. No, I'm actually not going to go to the game. I will be watching, though, most likely.
Okay. 2 readerize. That's not a word.
What's that? What was that?
But it's a good combination of 2 words.
2 readerize, AJ.
I like that.
Use that this weekend when you're coaching.
What is that? Reiterate and prioritize?
Exactly.
That's
Boom.
incredible.
That is good.
You're so efficient.
You know how this brain works. Hashtag PMS Feel Good Friday. Zeke, if you could put that up. Hashtag PMS Feel Good Friday. Use that hashtag.
Yep.
Take a picture. You feeling good?
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Not too good though. We don't need to see any penises.
Jesus. Is that what happens if you feel good? You take penis pictures?
Jesus. And 2
Send them
picks.
on, put them online?
2 spreads.
2 picks against the spread.
Just don't put your face in it.
1 entry. Only 1 entry. That's it.
No, as many.
No.
As
One
many as you
entry.
can, yeah.
One
What about,
entry.
what about your burner accounts?
God, you do this every time, dude. We're running out of time.
What other games we got?
Big one. Browns Chiefs. Chiefs are 5.5 point favorites
Chiefs.
at home.
Yeah, 5.5
Chiefs to
feels
cover.
like the chefs.
Chiefs rushing defense worries me. Browns passing defense.
Is Tyrann Mathieu in or out? We don't know.
They got till 4 o'clock tomorrow to put a negative test up. AJ,
I am going to take the Browns plus 5.5. And if Matthew is out, I know Pat mentioned this yesterday on Hammer Dahn. If Matthew is out, Jarvis Landry touchdown seems to be a good play there. I think it's like plus 160 or something around there. But I'm taking the Brownies plus 5.5. They got the O-line, they got the running game, and again, they got weapons everywhere.
They do. They really do. And I believe their defense got a lot better this year, and that's why I picked them to win the AFC North. But I'm not going to take the Browns. I'm going to just watch this one and enjoy this one.
Tony, to your point earlier, you talked about good D lines and pass rush causing a quarterback to scramble. This is my favorite bet of the weekend. Patrick Mahomes rushing yards over 13.5. He in every game he played last season, he didn't rush for more than 15 yards, only 5 times. So he was on the ground moving a lot. He loves to move around. Even with that rebuilt offensive line, I think he's going to be moving, changing the launch point, scramble for a few extra
So
yards.
you're saying he accomplished this feat, say, 16 out of 21 times-ish?
Yeah. I didn't count playoffs. I just counted regular season.
So
but
you're saying he accomplished this feat 11 out of 16
Bingo.
times. All right. Broncos -3 at the New York Giants. Good luck.
Yeah, man.
Who cares?
Good luck with that. This is one that may have fewer eyeballs than other games, I guess.
Listen to the stat, though, from Gumpy.
Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater, 21-3 against the spread on the road as a starting quarterback. This Broncos team is good, man. I think they are very good. And I don't know what this Giants team is. I think Broncos by a touchdown, I think, here.
Packers at New Orleans. Whoa. See, like a few weeks ago, a month ago, I would have said this is a blowout Packers. But like every single week, I feel like more and more confident about the Saints for some reason. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen here.
I would feel
agree with
safe
that.
taking Packers and the spread.
Raji 9-4 against the spread his last 13 week ones. Raji's going to come out dealing.
See, I thought
this down to -3.5. I mean, I would have taken it when it was -5. I love the Packers.
I thought the Saints lost way too much, especially I'm worried about the Saints receivers.
Well, and there's a lot of people. I mean, like everyone was talking about the Saints' demise, and then you look at it, and a lot of people still like they're over under still what 9.5 wins or 9. Like so, like they're still going to be good. I'm curious to see what the Packers Packers defense is like. It's supposed to be much better this year. Obviously, we know what their offense is going to do. You don't really get too high or too low with Bakhtiari and some of those other guys being out. Like, they'll still produce. Rodgers is going to play incredible, but I think the Saints, I mean, who knows? That their offense could give the Packers defense some trouble.
Yeah, I mean, they've really good O-line and D-line, so that's the only issue
The Saints, the only thing the Saints can do is hopefully they can get a bunch of pressure on Aaron. Like, that's going to have to be their goal, especially with Takatari out of the line.
And run for a bunch of yards with Kamara in the O-line.
Which is what they did last year.
Are the Smith brothers both playing? Ty?
I don't know if Zadarius Smith is. That's been another one of those ones that's like kind of up in the air.
I worry about the Packers defense without Pettin getting the boys buzzing.
True. He's a big dumb dipshit. So
last game
Where's
of
he
the
coaching now?
No,
he's not.
He's with
pushing a broom
he's with
somewhere.
Chan Daly.
He's a consultant.
Last game of the weekend. Bear Dahn at the Rams. 7.5. This one feels similar to Lions. 49ers.
What does that mean?
It does.
The O-line for the Bears.
We're back, baby.
Definitely a concern.
It might be.
Against that D-line. And the Rams had the number one defense in the league last year. Obviously, they lose Staley and a couple of their secondary, but
what do you think the percentages that we potentially see Justin Fields in this game?
None.
0.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
Especially like if it's a bloodbath at halftime.
Yeah, they'll just leave Dalton.
Yeah, no point to put him in. Yeah.
Like I was saying before, they have some packages, but he'll come out for like one play and then
throw a touchdown though. Then what? Then you got to run with him.
Yeah.
What's the over/under on how many balls Dalton one hops into the receiver?
Come on.
Jeez, dude.
Hey, Joe, you're going to let this fucking fly? Your friend, dude.
I mean, it's Nick. It's Nick. Maybe. Hey, you know what? The Red Rocket's going to surprise some people.
Hell yeah. The Red Rifle.
Rams all day though.
Yeah.
They are also minus 140 at 6.5. That's what I'm taking. 7.5.
You
is
could,
a bad number.
you could do some of that. Oh, the music is playing. I lost connection, Zeke. How much time?
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Thank you,
Tony.
boys. I can't see it. AJ, thanks for staying on with us here in this last hour.
Hey, thanks, guys. Good to join you. You gonna watch Pat at MSG tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Smack.
8 p.m. Fox.
This was Hammer. This was also the Pat McAfee Show on SiriusXM Channel 82. We cannot thank everyone enough for listening. Have a great first NFL weekend. We'll be back for Overreaction Monday. Yeah! First of the season. Have a great weekend.
Tweet.
See you then. # PMS Feel Good Friday. I missed it.